fell to the ground. She glared at Lin Xuan and said unhappily, "Why did you come back so suddenly without telling me in advance?" "I forgot." Lin Xuan scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. "That's perfect. You make dinner and I'll take care of the babies." Zhang Xuan handed the spoon in her hand to Lin Xuan, then turned and left the kitchen. So Lin Xuan took the spoon and started busying himself in the kitchen. After a while, Lin Zhenguo came down from the study upstairs. As soon as he reached the stairs, he heard the baby's laughter. An anxious look appeared on his face. He quickened his pace and went downstairs. At a glance, he saw Lin Sissy teasing Dabao and Xiaobo, and the two little guys were laughing very happily. Today is the Dragon Boat Festival, and it happens to be Saturday, so Lin Zhenguo doesn't have to go to work. "Hey, my dear grandson and granddaughter, why did you come back so suddenly?" Lin Zhenguo walked quickly to the sofa in the living room, hugged Xiaobo into his arms, and asked gently, "Do you miss Grandpa?" When Xiaobo saw his grandfather coming, he immediately stretched out his little hands to pinch his cheeks, giggling. "Ha ha ha, it looks like you miss Grandpa." Lin Zhenguo was in a good mood. He sat on the sofa holding Xiaobo and tickled him gently, making Xiaobo laugh. Afterwards, Lin Zhenguo played games with Dabao and Xiaobo, and the living room was filled with laughter. After a while, Lin Xuan had prepared a sumptuous dinner. "It's time to eat." Following Lin Xuan's shout, he brought out 2 large plates of fragrant rice dumplings. One was steamed rice dumplings wrapped with abalone and golden leg, and the other was seafood rice dumplings with scallops and lobster. In addition, there are steaming fish, maw, and chicken soup, attractive Beijing roast duck, tender and delicious steamed grouper, and fragrant stir-fried beef fillet with tea tree mushrooms. The whole family sat together and happily enjoyed this delicious Dragon Boat Festival dinner. After dinner, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao came to the sofa in the living room together. They snuggled together and leisurely watched various interesting short videos on their mobile phones. At this moment, Li Menjiao saw a video about the Grand Dragon Boat Festival party to be held in Yunhai City tonight. She couldn't help but get excited and turned to Lin Xuan and said, "Hubby, let's go to the Dragon Boat Festival Gala too. I heard there will be wonderful Dragon Boat Night viewing, river lantern activities, and a Dragon Boat Festival poetry reading." Lin Xuan looked at Li Menjiao's expectant expression, smiled and nodded. "Okay, let's go." In fact, Lin Xuan had seen these activities many times since he was a child, but he had never brought his wife to experience them. Then Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao prepared to go out to attend this special Dragon Boat Festival party. "Should we ask Sissy to go with us?" Li Menjiao suddenly thought of it. Lin Xuan shook his head gently and replied with a smile, "No, let her review her lessons at home." After saying that, Lin Xuan drove and took Li Menjiao to the Dragon Boat Festival Gala in Yunhai City. Chapter 286 Husband, I Want to Test You. The honky Goya was driving on the streets of Yunhai City. Its gorgeous appearance and unique body lines attracted the attention of countless passers-by. Lin Xuan skillfully controlled the vehicle and drove it into a parking lot near Dongjiang River. When the car stopped, Li Menjiao couldn't wait to unbuckle her seat belt and prepare to get out. "My husband will help you." Before she could unbuckle her seat belt, Lin Xuan suddenly moved closer, helped her unbuckle her seat belt, and kissed her cherry lips, which were lightly painted with lipstick. "No kissing, Li Menjiao's protest was drowned out by Lin Xuan's kiss. After kissing for a while, Lin Xuan released her lips. Li Menjiao pinched Lin Xuan's arm angrily and said coquettishly, "Really? It's like this every time." Then she pulled down the mirror above the passenger's head, took out her lipstick from her bag, and started to reapply it. Lin Xuan considerately turned on the lights in the car. Only then did he realize that Li Menjiao was wearing a pair of exquisite glasses today. "No wonder I felt something touching my forehead when we kissed just now." "Wife, when did you start wearing glasses?" Lin Xuan asked curiously. "I just put on lipstick in the car. It's all your fault. You made me have to put it on again," Li Menjiao said angrily. "Who made my wife so beautiful? How can I not kiss her?" Lin Xuan said with a shameless smile. "HMPH, then I will deliberately dress uglier next time," Li Menjiao muttered. "No, your husband doesn't agree," Lin Xuan quickly objected. "That's not up to you. Okay, let's get off the—" After Li Menjiao put on lipstick, her mood instantly became cheerful. Then the two got out of the car together. Only then did Lin Xuan see clearly that Li Menjiao was wearing glasses. Today she is wearing a light pink top and a white pleated skirt, which perfectly shows off her straight and slender legs. With a pair of pink-rimmed glasses, she looks fresh and sweet. In contrast, Lin Xuan himself was dressed in black, a black polo shirt and black trousers, looking particularly formal and serious. Plus, he got off a hunky car, and those who didn't know him might have thought he was a young leader coming to inspect the work. Li Menjiao affectionately took Lin Xuan's arm and walked towards the venue of the Dragon Boat Festival party together. "Wife, why didn't I know you were nearsighted?" Lin Xuan asked puzzledly. "Stupid husband, haven't you ever heard of plain glasses? They are glasses without prescription," Li Menjiao replied with a mischievous smile. "Oh, so that's how it is. However, my wife really has a different kind of beauty after wearing glasses," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "HMPH, now you only know how to make people happy." Li Menjiao pretended to be angry, but her eyes were full of smiles. "Hubby is just telling the truth. By the way, honey, there is something I need to tell you." Lin Xuan suddenly became serious. "What's the matter?" Li Menjiao looked at him curiously. "Next time when we kiss, can you please not wear glasses? I feel like it will affect our performance a bit," Lin Xuan said with a wicked smile. "You stinky husband, still saying that?" Li Menjiao blushed, let go of Lin Xuan's arm, quickened her pace, and walked in front. "Hey, honey, I was wrong. I was just joking. Please don't be angry." Lin Xuan quickly chased after her and held Li Menjiao's hand. Li Menjiao tried to break free, but Lin Xuan held on tightly. Although they have been married for almost a year, they still play and joke on the roadside like a young couple in love. The night falls over the quiet riverbank, and the moonlight shines like water on the sparkling water. Soon the two came to the river and saw from afar a huge dragon boat quietly docked on the shore. This dragon boat is not used for racing, but is specially used for viewing at night. The dragon boat looked like a mysterious giant beast from ancient legends. It is wrapped in brilliant lights, golden, fiery red, and dark blue, which complement each other as if the dragon boat was covered with a dazzling dress. The bow of the ship is held high, with an exquisitely carved dragon head that appears lifelike. The Longan's eyes are flashing with bright light, like a burning fireball, majestic and mysterious. The dragon's whiskers fluttered in the wind, as if they had life, exuding an irresistible power. The ship is slender and elegant, with colorful light strips winding along the side of the ship like a string of flowing pearls. The stern of the boat is raised high, and the shape of the phoenix tail is gorgeous and flamboyant. The lights at the end of the boat converge into a beam, illuminating the river water behind, forming a sparkling dream scene. "Wow, honey, this dragon boat is so big." Li Menjiao widened her beautiful eyes and shouted excitedly, as if she had discovered a new world. "Well, this huge dragon boat is also a feature of our Yunhai city," Lin Xuan explained with a smile. "Can we get on the boat and swim on the river?" Li Menjiao asked impatiently. "Of course," Lin Xuan replied with a smile. Then he took Li Menjiao's hand and walked towards the boarding entrance together. They bought 2 tickets and boarded the huge dragon boat. As soon as you enter the dragon boat, a strong dragon boat festival atmosphere hits you. The cabin is decorated very exquisitely and is full of a festive atmosphere. There are lively dragon boat festival poetry gatherings, stalls selling steaming hot dragon boat festival rice dumplings, and craftsmen making colorful ropes and sachets on site. Because Li Menjiao had already tasted the delicious rice dumplings tonight, she directly pulled Lin Xuan to the lively dragon boat festival poetry meeting. There are lanterns in the shape of rice dumplings hanging everywhere, but there are no real rice dumplings inside, but riddles of poems. "Welcome, both of you. Are you here to guess the poetry riddle?" At this time, a young lady wearing hanfu came over and asked with a smile. "Yes, how do you play this poetry riddle?" Li Menjiao asked curiously. "It's like this, it's 10 yuan each time, and you will be given 3 random poem riddles. If you answer them correctly, you can get our special Dragon Boat Festival souvenirs this year. If you answer them incorrectly, you won't get any," the young lady in hanfu explained with a smile. "Then let's do it once," Li Menjiao said enthusiastically. "Okay, now please choose a rice dumpling lantern by yourself. There is a poem riddle inside each lantern," the young lady in hanfu said with a smile. Li Menjiao looked at the exquisite rice dumpling lanterns curiously and picked up one at random. She opened the lantern and couldn't help laughing softly when she saw the poem riddle inside. "Wife, what are you laughing at?" Lin Xuan asked curiously. Li Menjiao winked mischievously, tucked her hair behind her ears, and smiled peacefully. "Honey, I want to test you." Chapter 287, You Are My Lin Xuan's Woman. "How difficult is this? Come on, wife," Lin Xuan said confidently. Just as Li Menjiao opened her mouth to read out the riddle, Lin Xuan suddenly smiled evilly. "Let me make it clear first. If my husband gets the answer right, he will give me a reward. We're outside, aren't you ashamed?" Li Menjiao glared at Lin Xuan. Then she opened her thin lips and said, "The riddle is, I don't have the wings of a phoenix to fly together, but our hearts are connected with each other. Please guess a poem that describes the sweetness of love." After hearing this, Lin Xuan smiled and replied, I wish to be a pair of wings in the sky and a pair of branches on the ground. After saying that, he glanced at Li Menjiao smugly, then leaned over and gently kissed her pink left cheek. The latter's cheeks turned red instantly. She lowered her head shyly, raised her hand, and twisted Lin Xuan's familiar waist hard. You got the first question right. You two are so in love. The young lady in Hanfu, standing by, couldn't help but smile when she saw this scene. Then please proceed to the second question, the young lady in Hanfu said to them with a smile. Then Li Menjiao took out another note from the box and opened it gently. The riddle is, once you have seen the sea, all other waters are but puddles. Except for Mount Wushan, all other clouds are but mounds. Li Menjiao softly recited these 2 lines of poetry and then said, please guess a line that expresses the loyalty of love. After saying this, she covered her left face with one of her little hands. After hearing this, Lin Xuan still smiled slightly and looked at Li Menjiao affectionately. I wish to find a person who loves me and we will be together till old age. Then he leaned over again and pecked her delicate right cheek gently. Stinky husband, why do you have to kiss me for every answer? Li Menjiao's face turned red with shame and she stomped her feet in anger. She looked so adorable. Didn't I say there would be a reward? Lin Xuan said shamelessly with a sly smile on his lips. You have answered the second question correctly. Please continue answering questions. The young lady in Hanfu smiled, but there was a hint of helplessness in her eyes. At this moment, she just wanted to end the game quickly, because she really didn't want to continue eating the dog food spread by this young couple. Li Menjiao saw that there were many people around, and in order to avoid embarrassment, she decided not to bother with Lin Xuan. So she stretched out her little hand, took the last rice dumpling lantern, and gently opened it. Wife, what are the questions this time? There is nothing I can't answer, Lin Xuan said proudly. HMPH, this time it's your turn to test me. Li Menjiao stuffed the note into Lin Xuan's hand. When Lin Xuan opened the note, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. No wonder my wife asked me to test her. Then Lin Xuan cleared his throat and said to Li Menjiao, the riddle is, I ask the world, what is love that makes people pledge to be together through life and death? Please guess a line of poetry that shows the depth of love. After hearing this riddle, Li Menjiao showed a smile on her face. She walked forward, put her arms around Lin Xuan's waist, raised her head slightly, looked at him affectionately, and said softly, I only hope that your heart is like mine, and I will never let you down. At this time, the Hanfu girl next to her smiled and said, congratulations, you both got all the answers right. This is our special Dragon Boat Festival souvenir this year, a hand-woven colorful rope. I hope it will bring you good luck. Welcome next one. Li Menjiao knew that the Hanfu girl didn't want to eat dog food anymore, and a blush appeared on her face. Then she quickly picked up the colorful rope, took Lin Xuan's hand, and hurriedly left the Dragon Boat Festival Poetry Festival. They walked through the bustling crowd and came to the dragon head of the dragon boat, where there was a tea stall. The two found a seat near the river and sat down, ordering 2 cups of glutinous rice dumpling tea. Li Menjiao leaned on Lin Xuan's shoulder, feeling particularly happy, playing with the colorful rope she had just obtained from guessing the poem riddle. The patterns on this colorful rope are delicate and exquisite. Every knot is neat and orderly, small and exquisite, and every strand is as delicate as silk. The silk threads are closely attached to each other without any flaws. Red, yellow, green, blue, and purple. The 5 colors blend together, emitting charming brilliance. Lin Xuan turned his head, smiled at Li Menjiao, and said softly, Wife, a 10-yuan thing makes you so happy. You are really easy to support. Li Menjiao rolled her eyes at Lin Xuan, pouted her lips slightly, and retorted, I am just an ordinary girl, of course I am easy to support. Lin Xuan smiled, gently pinched Li Menjiao's nose, and said affectionately, You are not ordinary, you are my woman, Lin Xuan. Li Menjiao raised her head and looked at Lin Xuan, her eyes sparkling with happiness, and said with a smile, Domineering man, put it on me. As she spoke, she handed the colorful rope to Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan took the colorful rope slowly, then gently pointed to his left cheek with his other hand. Li Menjiao understood what he meant, and quickly raised her head and pecked him lightly on the face. Then Lin Xuan happily put a colorful rope on Li Menjiao's left hand. At this time, a cute little girl came over with 2 cups of exquisite tea and said with a smile, Here are the glutinous rice dumplings and tea. Please enjoy them slowly. Then she carefully placed the tea in front of them. So Li Menjiao snuggled up to Lin Xuan, tasting the soft, sweet, and fragrant tea with him, while quietly admiring the beautiful scenery on the river. Hubby, if I had known this place was so romantic, I would have come here in ancient costume. Lin Xuan hugged Li Menjiao and smiled. It's okay, there will be many opportunities in the future. Before going back, Li Menjiao went to the Dragon Boat Festival Poetry Festival and bought a colorful rope. After the two returned to Yunhai Villa, Li Menjiao came to Lin Sissy's room and knocked on the door gently. Lin Sissy's crisp voice came from the other side. "The door is not locked, come in." So Li Menjiao pushed the door open and walked in. As soon as she entered the room, Li Menjiao saw Lin Sissy sitting at the desk, reviewing her homework seriously. Lin Sissy looked up and saw that it was Li Menjiao, and a happy smile appeared on her face. "Sister-in-law, why are you here?" Li Menjiao walked to Lin Sissy with a smile and said softly, "Sissy, are you still reviewing?" Lin Sissy nodded and replied, "I just finished a set of questions." Li Menjiao gently patted Lin Sissy's shoulder and encouraged her. "Thank you for your hard work, Sissy. Make sure you get some rest." Then she took out the colorful rope from her pocket, handed it to Lin Sissy, and said, "Sissy, your brother and I bought this at the Dragon Boat Festival Poetry meeting tonight. I hope you can get a satisfactory result in the college entrance examination." When Lin Sissy saw this, she smiled happily. "Wow, what beautiful, colorful ropes. Don't worry, sister-in-law, I will try my best." After saying that, Lin Sissy put the colorful rope on her left hand. Chapter 288. The head of the family is your mother. The sunlight shines into the room through the window, and a new day begins. Today is June 1st, a special day. For all children in junior high school and below, it is a joyful holiday, Children's Day. On this day, children tend to become extra naughty and playful, enjoying their happy time to the fullest. Some children will even take this opportunity to secretly show their parents their previous test papers in which they did not perform well. Normally, parents would hold back their temper on this special day and wait until the next day to deal with it. Of course, unless you really can't help it. And for Dabo and Zaya Abo, today is also a happy holiday. Early in the morning, Li Menjiao received a courier package at her doorstep. She returned to the master bedroom happily and couldn't wait to open it. "Wife, what did you buy?" Lin Xuan asked curiously. "You'll know when you see it later." Li Menjiao smiled mysteriously. Then Lin Xuan saw all kinds of cute baby clothes. There are pink one-piece pig pajamas, bodysuits with Donald Duck patterns, cartoon bear onesies, lace princess dress-style baby clothes, etc. "Honey, look how cute these clothes are." Li Menjiao excitedly picked up a piece of clothing and showed it to Lin Xuan. "It's cute, but babies nowadays may not like to wear such clothes," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Ah, just for a short while, I'll take a photo and then change back," Li Menjiao said coquettishly. Then she excitedly took Dabo and Zaya Abo out of the crib and gently placed them on the soft bed. At this time, Dabo and Zaya Abo were looking at their mother curiously with their big round eyes, as if they were guessing what would happen next. Then Li Menjiao took out a cartoon bear onesie and said to the two babies with a smile, "Big baby, little baby, who likes this dress?" Dabo and Zaya Abo took one look at the clothes and immediately felt that something was wrong. Zaya Abo was so excited that he tried to turn over, then lay there motionless, pretending that he was asleep. "Ha, Zaya Abo, you go first." Li Menjiao gently turned Zaya Abo over, then carefully took off his baby clothes and put on a cartoon bear onesie. At this time, Zaya Abo was frowning, looking just like a little bear cub. "Honey, look, the little baby is so cute." Li Menjiao pulled Lin Xuan over to admire him together with a look of surprise on her face. "Ha, Zaya Abo looks so aggrieved." Lin Xuan looked at Zaya Abo's big round eyes and pink little face and couldn't help laughing out loud. At this time, Zaya Abo saw his father coming and looked at him with pleading eyes, as if saying, "Dad, come and save me." Lin Xuan understood Zaya Abo's look and shook his head helplessly. "Dad can't help you either. The head of the family is your mother." After saying that, Lin Xuan gently touched Zaya Abo's head. "Honey, help me get the princess dress and baby clothes." At this time, Li Menjiao looked at Dabo. Dabo seemed to realize something and began to protest by flapping her limbs, but her mother still took off her clothes and put on a baby princess dress. "Look, doesn't our Dabo look like a little angel?" Li Menjiao said happily. She picked up the Nikon camera and started taking pictures of Dabo and Zaya Abo to record this beautiful moment. It wasn't until the babies started crying that they were changed back into comfortable baby clothes. Okay, Mom was wrong." Li Menjiao kissed Dabo and Zaya Abo gently and then fed them milk. The two little guys became happy then. The afternoon sun shone through the window onto the floor of the master bedroom. After waking up, Lin Xuan walked into the bathroom, turned on the faucet, and began to fill the bathtub with warm bath water. "Today, I plan to make a small swimming pool for the babies to swim in." "Honey, is the water ready?" Li Menjiao's voice came from the bedroom, and then she walked into the bathroom holding Dabo and Zaya Abo. "Hurry up and put them in place. First tie the babies' swimming collars around their necks." As Lin Xuan spoke, He picked up 2 cute baby swimming neck rings. This collar is cleverly designed to keep your baby's head above water without affecting their freedom of movement. Li Menjiao took the collar and skillfully took off Dabao and Xiaobao's clothes. However, the 2 little guys seemed to be somewhat resistant to the idea of taking off their clothes. They waved their little limbs and made humming sounds from their mouths, as if they were protesting against something. "Why are you holding a grudge like that? Mom will take you to play in the water," Li Menjiao consoled with a smile. Then she carefully put baby swimming neck rings on Dabao and Xiaobao, and after making sure everything was safe, she handed them to Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan carefully placed Dabao and Xiaobao gently into the bathtub. As soon as the babies touched the water, their short legs flapped around, splashing water towards Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao. But later, the babies found that it was very warm here, so they stopped resisting and swam slowly in the bathtub, making babbling sounds from time to time. Lin Xuan hugged Li Menjiao tightly and looked at them with a smile, his eyes full of happiness and satisfaction. Time flies, and several days have passed unknowingly, and this day is the annual college entrance examination. As soon as the sun rose, the people in Yunhai House began to get busy. Lin Xuan got up early and carefully prepared a delicious breakfast for Lin Sissy. After enjoying a delicious breakfast, Lin Sissy returned to her room and carefully packed her school bag, repeatedly checking whether all the necessary items were complete. After everything was ready, she walked out of the room. At the same time, Lin Xuan had already driven his honky Goya to the door of the villa. When Lin Sissy opened the car door and got in, she was surprised to find Li Menjiao was also sitting in the passenger seat. "Sister-in-law, are you also here to send me off to the college entrance examination?" Lin Sissy showed a happy smile on her face. "Yes, one more person means one more blessing," Li Menjiao said gently. "Sister, have you brought everything? Let me check it." Lin Xuan reached back and motioned for her to take it. "Really? You naughty old man still treats me like a child." Lin Sissy reluctantly handed the school bag to Lin Xuan. After Lin Xuan took the school bag, he checked it carefully to confirm whether he had brought his admission ticket, ID card, signature pen, ballpoint pen, eraser, triangle ruler, and other items. "I've brought everything, but," Lin Xuan said, trying hard to suppress his smile. "What is it?" Lin Sissy asked puzzledly. "Sister, the photo on your ID card is so stupid, ha ha ha." Lin Xuan couldn't help laughing. "Stinky old man." Chapter 289. As a person who has experienced this, I have some secrets to tell you. Lin Sissy was so angry that she stamped her feet. The tension caused by the college entrance examination disappeared in an instant. "Hubby, stop teasing Sissy." Li Menjiao gently pinched Lin Xuan's arm. "Don't I just want my sister to not be nervous? Okay, let's go," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Then he turned around and handed the school bag to Lin Sissy and said with a smile, "It's all ready, my sister is still very cute." Lin Sissy stuck out her tongue at him. Afterwards, Lin Xuan started the car and slowly drove towards Yunhai City No. 1 Middle School. Along the way, many parents were escorting their children to the examination room, and there were also many police officers maintaining traffic order. Not long after, Lin Xuan parked the car steadily in front of the gate of Yunhai No. 1 Middle School. "Sissy, come on." Li Menjiao made a cheering gesture to Lin Sissy encouragingly. "I will," Lin Sissy nodded firmly. Just as she was about to get off the car, Lin Xuan suddenly shouted, "Wait, sister, as someone who has been through this, I have some secrets to tell you." Lin Xuan smiled mysteriously. "What's the secret?" Lin Sissy asked curiously. "Come closer." Lin Xuan smiled slightly. Lin Sissy obediently stretched her little head to the front row of honky Goya and looked at Lin Xuan with anticipation. "That's it," Lin Xuan dragged out his voice. "What is it?" Lin Sissy asked anxiously. "No, I guess see," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "You get to say this." Lin Sissy was so angry that she swung her little pink fist at Lin Xuan. "Okay, Sissy, don't listen to your brother's bad advice. Just trust your own feelings." Li Menjiao suppressed a smile and comforted Lin Sissy. "My sister-in-law is still so nice to me. Now I'm leaving." Lin Sissy jumped out of the car happily and walked towards the school. She didn't feel nervous at this moment, but instead felt at ease. She had a smile on her face and walked briskly, in stark contrast to the other nervous candidates. After watching his sister enter the examination room safely, Lin Xuan turned around and went home. "As soon as I walked out, I saw a candidate crying and shouting to the police uncle. 'Uncle Police, I didn't bring my ID card.' This situation always occurs during the college entrance examination every year. Either I forgot to bring my ID card, or I lost my admission ticket." Afterwards, Lin Sissy spent the longest 3 days of her life. "Exam time is up. Please stop answering questions." The ruthless broadcast sounded like ripples throughout the entire campus. Lin Sissy finally breathed a sigh of relief and completed the last exam of her high school career. She sat quietly in her seat waiting for the invigilator to collect the papers. After handing in the papers, she calmly put on her small school bag. Then, the next second, she suddenly rushed towards the school gate like an arrow, at an astonishing speed. Lin Sissy's face was filled with a happy smile, and her ponytail swayed happily as she ran. When she arrived at the school gate, the security guard smiled and said, "Sissy, remember to come back often when you have time." "Okay, uncle, I will bye." Lin Sissy rushed out of the school gate without looking back, and immediately saw the honky Goya parked not far away. She walked quickly to the car, opened the door gently, and got in. "Brother, sister-in-law, I've finished the exam," Lin Sissy shouted excitedly. "Well, the exam is over. Now I can relax." Li Menjiao turned her head and smiled gently. "Hee, stinky brother, go home quickly. I'm going to fight you for 300 rounds in the game room. Also, I'll order the food tonight and you can cook it," Lin Sissy said with a smile. She has been preparing for the college entrance examination these days and has been eating a light diet. And most importantly, she can play games. "Haven't played for a long time. What, aren't you going to have a graduation party?" Lin Xuan asked with a smile as he started the car. "Oh yes, I was so happy just now that I almost forgot. I'll order food tomorrow," Lin Sissy said with a smile, supporting her chin. "Okay, brother will make you whatever you want to eat," Lin Xuan said lovingly. After the three of them returned home, Zhang Xulan saw Lin Sissy and asked with concern, "Sissy, how did you do on the exam?" "Play normally, Tilda." After leaving this sentence, Lin Sissy went straight to the elevator of the villa, took the elevator to the game room on the basement floor, and started the game feast. Lin Sissy played for 2 hours, and when it was almost time, she prepared to attend her high school graduation party. She held up 2 dresses, walked over to Li Menjiao, who was playing with the baby in the room, and asked with a smile, "Sister-in-law, which dress do you think looks good on me?" Li Menjiao looked at them and pointed at one of the white dresses and said, "They all look good, but I think this white dress suits you better." Lin Sissy nodded happily and said, "Okay." Then she prepared to go back to her room to change clothes. At this time, Li Menjiao gently called her, "Sissy, change your clothes later and show them to your sister-in-law." Lin Sissy smiled and agreed, "Yes." Then she went back to her room and started changing clothes. After a while, Lin Sissy appeared in front of Li Menjiao wearing a white dress. This is a simple white dress embellished with elements such as lace and ruffles. It is fresh and pure while highlighting the curves of the body. Li Menjiao looked at Lin Sissy, smiled and praised, "Sissy, you are very cute." Then she noticed that Lin Sissy still had her hair tied in a ponytail like she did in school, so she asked curiously, "Sissy, do you like ponytails very much?" When Lin Sissy heard this question, she smiled and answered, "Not really. It's just that I can't have long hair at school and teachers often check it, so I just tie it up. It's convenient and saves trouble, and I think ponytails look good too. Sissy is a prospective college student now, so you can let go. Come, let your sister-in-law dress you up and make you more beautiful," Li Menjiao said with a smile. "Okay, Tilda," Lin Sissy nodded happily. Then Li Menjiao took Lin Sissy to the dressing table and began to dress her up carefully. Which girl doesn't like to dress herself up beautifully? Night falls and the lights come on. Lin Sissy, wearing a simple yet elegant dress and carrying a cute shoulder bag, walked into the venue of her high school graduation party. Her steps were light and confident, as if carrying a breath of fresh air. "Sissy, you are late," said the squad leader with a smile. Sorry, I'm late." Lin Sissy walked in hurriedly with an apologetic tone. However, the moment she stepped into the room, the whole scene suddenly became quiet. Then the classmates in the class exclaimed one after another, their eyes full of surprise. Lin Sissy was startled by this sudden reaction. "What's wrong with you guys?" Lin Sissy asked puzzledly, feeling a little nervous. At this time, under the careful dressing of Li Menjiao, Lin Sissy let down her ponytail, revealing her soft and shiny long hair. Her hair was styled into fashionable cartoon bangs, with the ends falling just below her neck, making her look fresh and well-behaved. The light makeup added the icing on the cake, making her face glow like a blooming flower. At this time, Lin Sissy had become the focus of the whole audience. Chapter 290, My Sister Can't Be This Pretty. At Yunhai House, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao were lying on the bed teasing Dabo and Xiaobo. Li Menjiao gently placed the babies on the bed, while Lin Xuan placed a cute little mechanical doll right in front of them. The mechanical doll twists its body while playing music. "Let's learn to meow together, meow 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 meow." As the cheerful song sounded, Dabo and Xiaobo's 2 cute little heads swayed curiously to the music. They slowly tried to move their bodies forward, wanting to get closer to the mechanical doll, and made happy noises from their mouths. Yes, Tilda. Haha, these babies are so cute. Li Menjiao couldn't help laughing when she looked at Dabo and Xiaobo. Xiaobo even turned over excitedly, and then turned back over. Time passed quietly, and in the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. Lin Xuan walked downstairs, came to the refrigerator in the living room, and took out a bottle of happy water. Just then the door was pushed open and a cheerful voice came. "Brother, I'm back." Lin Sissy had just attended a graduation party with her high school classmates and was in a particularly good mood. Lin Xuan raised the Coke bottle in his hand and was enjoying a sip of the cool drink. But the moment he saw Lin Sissy, his eyes widened, and then he choked on the drink and started coughing violently. "Hee, who are you?" He looked at Lin Sissy's new image in disbelief. "I'm your lovely sister," Lin Sissy replied with a smile. "My sister can't be so pretty." Lin Xuan still couldn't accept the fact before him. This sentence made Lin Sissy so angry that her cheeks puffed up, just like a puffer fish. "Honey, do I dress Sissy nicely?" Just then Li Menjiao walked down from upstairs lightly, with a gentle smile on her lips, and asked softly, "Sister-in-law?" Lin Sissy excitedly threw herself into Li Menjiao's arms with a bright smile on her face. "How is it? Did your classmates praise you for being beautiful?" Li Menjiao asked, with a smile gently stroking Lin Sissy's hair. They were all dumbfounded. Lin Sissy smiled proudly. "When you come to Jinghai City, your sister-in-law will take you to see Teacher Tony for a more beautiful hairstyle," Li Menjiao said with a smile. "Great!" Lin Sissy was very happy. She held Li Menjiao's hand tightly, went upstairs together, and returned to the room to continue chatting. Originally, Lin Sissy had a good foundation, but she was busy with her studies in high school and had no time to take care of her appearance. Today, with Li Menjiao's careful dressing, her beauty was fully displayed. "I'm afraid that the position of the school bell of Yunhai No. 1 Middle School will be replaced." Late at night, Lin Xuan hugged Li Menjiao tightly and lay on the soft, big bed. He gently stroked Li Menjiao's hair, feeling her warm breath. "Wife, please do a hairstyle for me too." Lin Xuan looked at Li Menjiao and said with a smile, "I'm not Teacher Tony, and I don't know how to do what you boys do." Li Menjiao couldn't help laughing when she heard Lin Xuan's request. Lin Xuan lowered his head and kissed Li Menjiao, then showed a wronged look. "Biased, you only dress up Sissy and not your husband." Li Menjiao was amused by Lin Xuan's expression and laughed. Her little head worked quickly, and she suddenly came up with an idea. She smiled and said, "Don't cry, honey. I'll give you a hairstyle right now." After saying that, she sat up, went to the dressing table, picked up a comb, and secretly took 2 hair ties in her hand. Lin Xuan continued to lie on the bed, looking at her curiously, his heart full of anticipation. "Why are you still lying down? Sit up quickly." Li Menjiao prepared the tools, turned around and walked to the bed, pulling Lin Xuan to sit up. Then she began to pretend to comb Lin Xuan's hair seriously. Lin Xuan closed his eyes, smiled, and said, "Wife, give me a handsome hairstyle." After hearing this, Li Menjiao suppressed her laughter and responded softly, "It will definitely look good." While she was gently combing Lin Xuan's black hair, she couldn't help but smile secretly. Then she deftly grabbed a small bunch of hair and quickly tied it tightly with a hair tie, then repeated the same operation on the other side. In a short while, 2 playful and cute little braids were perfectly presented. Ha 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 ha. At this time, Lin Xuan keenly noticed that the atmosphere was a little strange, so he quickly opened his eyes. I saw Li Menjiao sitting in the front, holding her stomach and laughing wildly. Then Lin Xuan picked up the mirror and saw 2 cute little braids on his head. He couldn't help laughing and reached out to take off the 2 braids. However, Li Menjiao held his hand and said with a smile, "Hubby, wait, let me take a photo as a souvenir." As she spoke, she quickly raised her cell phone and pressed the shutter to record this interesting moment. As if it was not satisfying enough, Li Menjiao put her small cheek on Lin Xuan's shoulder and took a sweet photo. "Honey, have you finished filming?" Lin Xuan asked with a smile. "Ha ha ha, we're done taking the photos." Li Menjiao looked at the photos on her phone and laughed happily. "In that case, it's my husband's turn." After saying that, Lin Xuan took away Li Menjiao's cell phone, then hugged her tightly in his arms, followed by a barrage of kisses. The next morning, Lin Xuan got up early. After washing up, he went to the door of Lin Sissy's room. After knocking a few times without any response, Lin Xuan gently pushed the door open and went in. I saw Lin Sissy lying with her limbs spread out in a big letter shape, sleeping soundly. She had a sweet smile on her face and seemed to be having a sweet dream. "Sissy, Sissy, get up," Lin Xuan called softly. Lin Sissy's pretty eyebrows wrinkled slightly, but she chose to ignore it. She turned over, covered her little head with the quilt, and continued to sleep soundly. The sun is shining on your butt, Lin Xuan shouted louder and louder. At this time, Lin Sissy was finally woken up. Without even opening her eyes, she angrily shouted, "Stinky brother, am I your biological sister? I finally got a chance to sleep in after the college entrance examination, and you woke me up." Lin Xuan sighed helplessly and said, "Alas, it's my fault, brother. I was thinking of taking you to see the car later, but it seems that it's not necessary. Sleeping is more important." After saying that, Lin Xuan turned and left the room. Just as Lin Xuan stepped out of the room, he suddenly heard someone hurriedly getting up behind him. Then Lin Sissy's voice sounded, "Brother, I was wrong." Chapter 291. Brother is so awesome. I admire you so much. Lin Sissy jumped up from the bed, ran to Lin Xuan in small steps, grabbed his hand, and said with a smile, "Brother, I'm already up." Lin Xuan looked at her with a smile on his face and teased, "Oh, didn't you just say that you would stay in bed no matter what, and sleep is more important than anything else?" Lin Sissy blinked, pretending to be innocent, and said with a silly smile, "Hey, brother, what I just said was just a dream. You must not take it seriously." Lin Xuan shook his head and scolded with a smile, "Okay, hurry downstairs and prepare for breakfast. After breakfast, we still have to go to see the car." After saying that, he turned and walked downstairs. Lin Sissy hurriedly followed, still muttering, "Okay, brother, didn't you say that you can only buy me a car if I get good grades? I didn't expect you to be so arrogant. You've wanted to buy it for me for a long time, right? Humph, brother, I knew you loved this lovely sister of mine very much, right?" Lin Xuan couldn't help but stop when he heard her words. He turned around and glared at her. He gently pinched her cheeks with both hands and said threateningly, "Sister, can you be quiet? Why do you talk so much?" Lin Sissy muttered, "Brother, stop pinching me. You're almost making my face bigger." Lin Xuan then let go of his hand and urged, "Okay, go wash up and get ready for breakfast." Lin Sissy saluted playfully and shouted, "Yes, Commander Lin." Seeing his stupid sister, Lin Xuan helplessly held his forehead. After breakfast, Lin Xuan, Li Menjiao, and Lin Sissy went to the parking lot of the villa together and got into Honky Goya's car. Lin Xuan sat in the driver's seat, while Li Menjiao and Lin Sissy sat in the back seat. "Sissy, what kind of car do you like?" Li Menjiao asked curiously. Hee, it's the same model as my brother's, this car, called Honky or something," Lin Sissy said excitedly, with anticipation glittering in her eyes. "Hey, sister, girls generally like cars like Maserati, so why would they like Honky, a car that is more suitable for boys to drive?" Lin Xuan couldn't help but teased. "Maybe you admire me too much, so you want to choose the same thing as me." Lin Xuan continued with a smile. Lin Sissy rolled her eyes at Lin Xuan speechlessly, but she had no way to refute. After all, her brother would have to pay the bill later. She could only say helplessly, "Yes, yes, brother is so awesome, I admire you so much. Sister, keep a low profile and don't talk nonsense everywhere." Lin Xuan smiled heartily, then started the car and slowly drove out of the parking lot. The car drove steadily along the road and headed towards the Honky 4S store in Yunhai City. Along the way, Lin Xuan and Lin Sissy bickered from time to time, while Li Menjiao looked at the two siblings, covering her mouth and laughing. Soon, the three of them arrived at the door of Honky 4S store. Before they entered the store, the salesman at the door greeted them warmly. "Welcome, all three. Are you here to see cars?" One of the young male salesmen took the lead and said to them with a smile. Lin Xuan nodded and smiled. "Yes, do you have the Honky Goya model for sale?" Upon hearing this question, the young male salesperson's eyes lit up instantly, and he secretly rejoiced in his heart. A big customer came so early, he quickly replied, "Yes, yes, please follow me over here." After saying that, he took Lin Xuan and the other two to the Honky Goya area in the store. After entering the special area, Lin Xuan and Lin Sissy saw a row of neatly arranged cars in front of them. The bodies of these vehicles are smooth and imposing. The car body colors are also varied, including gentian purple, aqua gold, phantom black, dream blue, etc. Each color exudes a unique charm. These are our latest models of Honky Goya. They not only have fashionable and atmospheric appearance design, but also first-class performance and configuration. The young male salesperson began to explain hard. There was no need for Lin Xuan to listen carefully. After all, he was already driving, so he let Lin Sissy listen carefully to the salesperson's explanation. Under the guidance of the salesperson, Lin Sissy observed each car one by one. Finally, her eyes fell on a dreamy blue Honky Goya car. The young male salesperson keenly captured the change in Lin Sissy's eyes and immediately realized that this might be a potential buying signal. "Miss, you have a really good eye. This dreamy blue is very popular among us recently. It is like a bright star and a deep ocean, full of mystery and tranquility. Man, I like this one. Lin Sissy pointed at the dreamy blue and red flag Goya in front of her, with a bright smile on her face. Lin Xuan looked at his sister and asked with a smile, "Sister, are you sure? You don't want to go to see the Maserati MC20? Lin Sissy shook her head and replied, "No, although it is also very beautiful, but there are only 2 seats." Halfway through her words, she suddenly noticed that Lin Xuan was winking at her. Lin Sissy immediately understood what he meant and continued, "Oh, right, I almost forgot that I should go and have a look at Maserati. After all, I have to compare prices from different stores." Lin Xuan smiled and said to the young male salesperson, "Sorry, we need to look at other ones." Then he turned around and prepared to leave with Lin Sissy. At this moment, the young male salesperson hurriedly said, "Wait, if you place an order now, you can enjoy our 20% discount and distinguished VIP service." Lin Xuan stopped and looked back at him. The young male salesperson continued to introduce, "Our VIP services include priority service, free maintenance, exclusive reception, gift-giving, and a series of other services." Lin Xuan smiled slightly after hearing this. So Lin Xuan bought a dreamy blue honky Goya for Lin Sissy, and specifically asked to deliver it 1 month later. Lin Xuan was afraid that Sissy would get carried away, so he couldn't help but drive out for a stroll before finishing his driving test. On the way back, Lin Sissy asked to learn how to drive. Then Lin Xuan found her a driving class at a driving school, a fast class. Chapter 292, Lin Zhengguo's Festival. Time flies, and a few days later, the babies welcomed the 5th month of their lives. These days, Lin Sissy went to the driving school to learn driving skills, while Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao stayed at home and took good care of Dabo and Zaya Abo. Now, the babies are able to roll over skillfully. One night, Zaya Abo saw Li Menjiao walking in from outside the door. The little body, which was originally lying on its back, struggled to turn over and became prone, with a happy smile on its face as it stared at its mother. "Hug," Zaya Abo uttered these 2 words with difficulty. Li Menjiao was overjoyed when she heard this. She stretched out her gentle hands, picked up Zaya Abo, and gave her a light kiss on her soft and tender little face. "What did Zaya Abo just say? Tell Mom again." "Hug." Zaya Abo looked at his mother with his big round and cute eyes, slightly opened his mouth, and said with a bright smile, "Husband, come here quickly." Li Menjiao shouted to Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan put down the phone in his hand and quickly walked to his wife. "Just now Zaya Abo asked for a hug." Li Menjiao smiled gently. "Really? Let me try." Lin Xuan said as he stretched out his hand and gently held Zaya Abo in his arms. Zaya Abo was originally immersed in his mother's warm embrace, but was suddenly picked up by his father. A hint of dissatisfaction and loss immediately appeared in his little eyes. His gaze shifted from his gentle mother to his annoying father's face, and his little mouth curled up as if he was about to cry. Seeing this, Lin Xuan smiled and said, "What's going on? Why does Dad frown when he hugs you?" Zaya Abo ignored him, turned his head and stared at his mother closely, his eyes full of desire. "Hug Tilda," Zaya Abo called in a baby voice with a hint of coquettishness in his voice. He tried hard to stretch out his little hands to his mother, trying to get her to hold him back. Li Menjiao couldn't help laughing when she saw this scene. She patted Lin Xuan's shoulder gently and said, "Ha, husband, it seems that Zaya Abo still likes Mommy more and doesn't want you to hold him." As she spoke, she carefully took Zaya Abo and held him back in her arms. After returning to his mother's arms, Zaya Abo immediately became quiet, with his little head resting on his mother's chest, feeling the familiar warmth. His little face was filled with a happy smile, and his eyes were curved with laughter. Lin Xuan was not convinced. "Dabo will definitely be closer to Daddy." After saying that, he reached out and held Dabo in his arms. As soon as Dabo saw his father, a bright smile immediately broke out on his face. He waved his limbs excitedly and reached out to pinch Lin Xuan's face. At night, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao fell asleep in each other's arms. Lin Xuan played with her fingers out of boredom and kissed her pink cheeks from time to time. Li Menjiao squinted her eyes and enjoyed Lin Xuan's kiss. Her soft lips felt itchy. "Honey, Father's Day is in a few days," Li Menjiao said softly. "Yeah, I know," Lin Xuan said as he continued to hug Li Menjiao and kiss her. "Stop kissing, what is your husband's plan?" Li Menjiao raised her head slightly and looked at Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan couldn't help but kiss her plump lips again and replied with a smile, "Father's Day is also my dad's birthday. I plan to give him a new watch. He has been wearing that watch for a long time." "Then I'll make a cake," Li Menjiao said gently. "Ding dong, congratulations to the host for completing 5 months of accompanying the babies since birth." Reward cash of 2 million yuan. Trigger 5 times critical strike. Total reward of 10 million yuan. It has been transferred to the host's bank card through formal and legal means. Please check it. Lin Xuan was secretly delighted that the system had rewarded him with cash again. Well, it's getting late. Let's go to bed. Lin Xuan gently put Li Menjiao's little head into his arms and said softly. The two felt each other's breath and soon fell into a sweet dream. So the next day, Lin Xuan went to the local Rolex store. Considering that Lin Zhenguo has not retired yet and cannot be too ostentatious, he bought a Rolex Universe Series watch worth about 600,000 as a birthday gift for his father. Time flies, and Father's Day is here in the blink of an eye. Lin Zhenguo went to work as usual, while the rest of the family began to prepare for this special day. Li Menjiao got up early and went to the kitchen, preparing to make today's birthday cake herself. She prepared all the materials and was about to start when Zhang Xuelin walked in. "Daughter-in-law, are you going to make a cake?" Zhang Xuelin asked softly. "Yes, Mom, what's the matter?" Li Menjiao replied with a smile. Can you teach me how to do it? I also want to make a cake for your dad by myself," Zhang Xuelin said a little embarrassedly. Li Menjiao couldn't help but smile and said, "Of course you can." So the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law started busying themselves in the kitchen. "I'm back." In the evening, Lin Zhenguo dragged his tired body back to the villa. As soon as he stepped into the house, he found the dining table filled with a variety of delicious dishes. Looking closely, there are fragrant grilled steak with vegetables, rich and mellow sauce-flavored spare ribs, tender and juicy pan-fried salmon, delicious chicken stewed with mushrooms, distinct shrimp fried rice, and the refreshing and greasy clams and winter melon soup. "Oh, son, you made such a sumptuous dinner again today," Lin Zhenguo said with a smile, his face filled with a happy smile. For someone who has worked hard all day, nothing can be more joyful and satisfying than coming home to enjoy a delicious dinner. Lin Xuan stood aside, saying nothing, but his eyes turned away quietly. Lin Zhenguo immediately understood what he meant and followed Lin Xuan's gaze. He saw Zhang Xuelin at the kitchen door with her hands on her hips, looking at him seriously. "No way, did your mother do all this?" Lin Zhenguo looked at Lin Xuan again in disbelief and asked him silently. "Yes," Lin Xuan also answered silently. This tacit understanding was cultivated between the father and son over the years. Then Lin Zhenguo suddenly shook his head. "No, son, your cooking skills are so poor. How can you make a table full of delicious dishes?" Then he smiled and said to Zhang Xuelin, "It must have been my wife who did it." Okay, stop flattering me. You've worked hard all day. Let's get ready for dinner," Zhang Xuelin said with a smile. "Today is Lao Lin's holiday. Don't bother with him. There will be plenty of opportunities to settle the score later." Afterwards, the family happily sat around the dining table and began to enjoy the delicious dinner. "Dad, this is your birthday present. Happy birthday." Lin Xuan took out an exquisite little box from his pocket and handed it to Lin Zhenguo. "My son understands me best. I was just thinking of changing my watch." Lin Zhenguo took the gift box with great joy, opened it, and saw an exquisite Rolex watch inside. "Son, how much did you spend on the watch you bought for your dad? He's still working at the company, so he has to keep a low profile," Zhang Xuelin asked with some concern. "Mom, don't worry. It's not expensive, only about 600,000, Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Isn't 600,000 too expensive?" Except for Lin Xuan, everyone looked confused. Chapter 293. No, my husband will catch it. I'm already very low-key. I originally had my eyes on one that costs over 1 million. Lin Xuan spread his hands helplessly. Zhang Xuelin glared at Lin Xuan after hearing this, and then said, "Old Lin, when the time comes, just say it's a high-end imitation." "Dad, I don't have anything to give you, so I'll just give you a big chicken drumstick." Lin Sissy picked up the chopsticks with a smile and put a big chicken leg into Lin Zhenguo's bowl. "Girl, for Daddy, seeing you two grow up healthy and happy is the greatest gift." Lin Zhenguo looked at his two children in front of him with a happy smile on his face. At this moment, Dabo, who had been lying quietly in Li Menjiao's arms, suddenly let out a crisp cry. "Hug Tilda." Everyone was attracted by Dabao's cry and turned to look at him. I saw Dabao looking at his grandfather seriously. Lin Zhenguo quickly put down the bowl and chopsticks in his hands, carefully held Dabao in his arms, and smiled happily. He gently stroked Dabao's face and said affectionately, "Oh, and of course you two little ones, my dear grandson and granddaughter." After a sumptuous dinner, the whole family sat in the living room drinking tea or watching TV. After a while, Zhang Xuelin came over from the kitchen with a cake and placed it on the table in the living room. Lin Zhenguo looked at the crooked cake, then looked at Zhang Xuelin with a puzzled look. Zhang Xuelin replied somewhat embarrassedly, This is my first attempt at making a cake. Although it doesn't look very good, I think it tastes okay. Do you like it? Lin Zhengguo quickly responded. I didn't say I don't want to eat it. What my wife cooks must be delicious. When Lin Xuan saw this, he couldn't help but laugh. He leaned close to Li Menjiao's ear and whispered, Wife, what's going on? After hearing this, Li Menjiao also whispered to Lin Xuan, Honey, I've tried my best. Then the two smiled at each other. At this time, Lin Zhengguo called everyone, Come and try the cake. He picked up the cake knife, cut the cake and shared it with everyone. Because everyone knew it was Zhang Xulan who did it, no one dared to say anything. When he took the first bite of the cake, Lin Zhengguo couldn't help but sigh. It tastes pretty good. The time came to the next day, after spending the holiday with Lin Zhengguo. That afternoon, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao prepared to return to Jinghai City. Do you need me to help look after the baby? Zhang Xulan asked with concern. No need, Mom. I'm already recruiting a nanny and a housekeeper. I should be able to find suitable candidates soon, Lin Xuan replied. Mom, just take a good rest at home. When you are free, you can come and see us with Dad, Lin Xuan continued. Well, have a safe trip, Zhang Xulan instructed. Then Lin Xuan drove the Honky Goya, took his wife and children away from Yunhai home, and headed towards Jinghai City. After a drive, they finally returned to Haitian Yijing. After traveling all the way, both of them were hungry. Lin Xuan walked into the kitchen and started preparing dinner. After a while, 2 servings of fragrant grilled eel bibimbap were placed on the table. Wow, hubby, we have bibimbap tonight, Li Menjiao shouted excitedly. Yes, come and have dinner, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Li Menjiao couldn't wait to come to the restaurant and sit down. She picked up the spoon and scooped a big mouthful into her mouth. The fresh and tender eel, paired with the special sauce and some seaweed shreds as garnish, makes the meal taste even richer. Every bite is filled with the taste of happiness. Lin Xuan held his chin and looked at Li Menjiao with a doting look as she was eating seriously. Honey, why aren't you eating? Li Menjiao couldn't help but ask as he kept staring at her. Feed me, Lin Xuan said with a mischievous smile, his mouth corners slightly raised. Honey, open your mouth. Li Menjiao burst into laughter, then scooped a spoonful of rice and put it to Lin Xuan's mouth. After dinner, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao pushed the crib to the garden of Haitian Yijing for a walk. The night air is fresh and pleasant, with the breeze bringing bursts of floral scent. The moonlight sprinkled on the ground, as if covering the entire garden with a layer of silver gauze. Honey, sometimes I want to go back to Jinwen Mansion and live for a while, Li Menjiao said softly, with a hint of nostalgia in her eyes. Why? Lin Xuan turned his head and asked curiously. Look, now there are only the 2 of us and the babies in the whole villa. It's too big and too quiet here, Li Menjiao explained with a smile. Sure, we can go back to Jinwen Mansion and stay for a while at any time. Lin Xuan nodded with a smile. Tilda, after hearing this, Li Menjiao held Lin Xuan's arm tightly, and a bright smile immediately broke out on her face. The 2 of them walked, and unknowingly arrived at the children's playground area. Li Menjiao saw the swing at a glance and was as excited as a child. She ran over impatiently, sat lightly on the swing, and started swinging happily. Lin Xuan looked at her innocent appearance and couldn't help but smile dotingly. Then he walked behind Li Menjiao and gently pushed the swing, making it fly higher and farther. Ha, my dad was like this when I was a child. When I was swinging on the swing, he always pushed me gently from behind, Li Menjiao said softly. Your husband will always be with you in the future, Lin Xuan said gently. Li Menjiao felt sweet in her heart. Honey, push hard a few times and then stand in front, she winked mischievously. Lin Xuan obediently pushed a few times, then quickly walked in front of Li Menjiao and looked at her expectantly. Hubby, catch me. When the swing reached its highest point, Li Menjiao suddenly jumped down, laughing and shouting. Lin Xuan was quick-witted and quick-handed. When he saw his wife falling from the sky, he immediately stretched out his arms, hugged Li Menjiao tightly, and turned around a few times on the spot. Their laughter filled the air, full of joy and happiness. Hubby, stop spinning. I'm going to feel dizzy. Li Menjiao's laughter was as clear and sweet as a silver bell. She pressed her little face against Lin Xuan's strong chest and showed a sweet smile. There was a hint of coquettishness in her voice, but more of it was trust and dependence on her husband. Who told you to do such a dangerous move? What if your husband can't catch it? Lin Xuan lowered his head and rubbed Li Menjiao's little face. Although there was some blame in his tone, his eyes revealed deep love. No, my husband will definitely catch it. Li Menjiao narrowed her beautiful eyes and said confidently. Are you so sure? What if your husband can't catch you and you fall down? Lin Xuan asked with a smile. Then I'll just sit there and cry. Li Menjiao made an expression of being aggrieved and wanting to cry. with messy hair, misty eyes, and her little hands tightly hugging herself. Lin Xuan was amused by her cute appearance and burst into laughter, his heart filled with joy. Ha ha ha, my wife is so cute, give me a kiss. Lin Xuan held Li Menjiao's face and kissed her tenderly, feeling her plump lips and soft hair. Chapter 294 Sister, don't come over. The sunlight poured into the room through the curtains. Lin Xuan woke up slowly and felt his arm was a little numb. He slowly opened his eyes and found Li Menjiao's little head resting on his arm, sleeping soundly. Her breathing was even and warm, lightly caressing Lin Xuan's cheek. Lin Xuan looked at her peaceful, sleeping face, and the corners of his mouth rose unconsciously. He couldn't help but stretch out his other hand and gently stroke Li Menjiao's delicate cheek, feeling her delicate skin. Lin Xuan couldn't help but gently stroke Li Menjiao's delicate cheek with his other hand. When his fingers touched her skin, Li Menjiao frowned slightly and her rosy little mouth muttered, "Hubby, don't bother me. I went to bed very late yesterday." Lin Xuan couldn't help but laugh out loud and said softly, "Okay, husband will go make breakfast for you." When Li Menjiao heard this, she nodded softly and continued to indulge in a sweet dream. Lin Xuan got up quietly, trying not to wake Li Menjiao. He went to the cribs first and changed the diapers of Dabao and Xiaobo, making sure they were comfortable and clean. Then he went downstairs to the kitchen and started preparing breakfast. Lin Xuan skillfully fried bacon, fried eggs, and toasted bread. He also did not forget to cut some fresh vegetables and mushrooms and add them to the delicious shrimp porridge. Soon after, he served a sumptuous breakfast, including delicious bacon and egg sandwiches, nutritious shrimp, vegetable and mushroom porridge, and rich red date soy milk. Then he returned to the master bedroom, but no matter how he called, the lazy little bugger couldn't be woken up. So Lin Xuan picked up Princess Li Menjiao and strode to the sink, ready to help her wash. "Stupid husband, can't you let me sleep a little longer?" Li Menjiao pouted, looking unhappy. "Be good, baby, breakfast is very important. We have to eat breakfast on time. You can go to sleep after eating, okay?" Lin Xuan coaxed her gently and stroked her hair softly. Li Menjiao nodded helplessly and had to let Lin Xuan do whatever he wanted. After washing up, the two went to the restaurant to enjoy a delicious breakfast. Lin Xuan carefully picked up food for Li Menjiao and watched her eat with relish, his heart filled with happiness. As a result, after breakfast, Li Menjiao was completely refreshed. Then she and Lin Xuan fed Dabao and Xiaobo together. At this moment, Lin Xuan's cell phone rang. He put down the bottle and picked up the phone. "Hello, who is this?" "Good morning, Mr. Lin." Zhou Siyu's clear and pleasant voice came from the other end of the phone. "Secretary Zhou, is there anything I can help you with?" Lin Xuan asked. "It's like this. Didn't you ask me to post a recruitment notice some time ago? After a period of screening, the first round has been completed, and the next interview can be arranged at any time," Zhou Siyu said. "Well, that's good. Then please send me a copy of their resumes so that I can do a preliminary screening." Lin Xuan nodded, satisfied with the news. "Okay, Mr. Lin," Zhou Siyu agreed. Then Lin Xuan hung up the phone. "Honey, who is it?" When Lin Xuan mentioned the name Secretary Zhou, Li Menjiao couldn't hold back her curiosity and leaned close to Lin Xuan's phone to eavesdrop. "She's our company's secretary," Lin Xuan said with a smile. When Li Menjiao heard this, her eyes widened in surprise and she said coquettishly, "Ah, so you have a female secretary. That's great. Wife, there is something behind your words. We are just colleagues." Lin Xuan stretched out his hands and hugged Li Menjiao tightly, saying with a smile. However, Li Menjiao refused to give in and pouted her lips and said, "No, it should be a superior-subordinate relationship. It's really nothing." Lin Xuan shook his head helplessly. Looking at Lin Xuan's innocent and helpless expression, Li Menjiao burst out laughing. "Okay, honey, I was just teasing you." After saying that, she looked up and pecked him lightly on the cheek. "Let's look at the resumes together later," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Yes, Tilda," Li Menjiao nodded obediently. After the babies finished drinking milk, Lin Xuan took Li Menjiao's hand and went to the computer together. He gently picked up Li Menjiao and let her sit steadily on his lap. Li Menjiao then put her arms around Lin Xuan's neck. The two of them began to look at the resume on the screen carefully. This one has 10 years of experience as a nanny, but the summary report says she's not very emotionally stable. Don't hire her. This review is okay, but the relevant nanny qualification certificates seem to be incomplete and not very reliable. And this housekeeper, his industry rating isn't very high. At this time, Li Menjiao was raising her little hand, pointing at the resumes on the computer and commenting on them one by one. Finally, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao selected 2 nannies who held professional qualification certificates for domestic service workers and childcare workers, as well as a housekeeper who held relevant certificates in housekeeping management to participate in the interview. They all have 5-star reviews in the industry and have clean backgrounds. Let's schedule the interview for tomorrow. It was afternoon, and after Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao woke up, they prepared to give the babies a swim and a bath. Lin Xuan filled the large bathtub at home with bath water of suitable temperature and mild water quality. Then he put cute baby swimming neck rings on Dabao and Xiaobao respectively and gently put them into the bathtub. The 2 little guys paddled happily in the water with their short legs, enjoying the comfortable water environment. Ha, husband, look, the babies can do breaststroke. Li Menjiao sat by the bathtub with a happy smile on her face. Lin Xuan also walked to the bathtub, brought a small stool and sat down, quietly watching the babies swimming in the water. At this time, Dabao swam to Li Menjiao, waving his little hands and feet, as if expressing his longing for his mother. Suddenly, Xiaobao rushed out from the side, slammed into Dabao and pushed her away. Then Xiaobao laughed triumphantly. Seeing his younger brother being so arrogant, Dabao was unwilling to be outdone. He waved his legs hard and swam quickly towards Xiaobao. Seeing that the situation was not good, Xiaobao ran away in a hurry, but was eventually forced into the corner of the bathtub by his sister. Iya tilde. A series of cries came out of Xiaobao's mouth, as if he was saying, "Sister, don't come over here." Chapter 295 Change of Plan. Just when Dabao was about to deliver the fatal blow, Xiaobao was picked up by his mother, and Dabao was also picked up by his father. Okay, children shouldn't fight," Li Menjiao said with a smile, her voice gentle and kind. She gently patted the little treasure in her arms, then glanced at the big treasure in Lin Xuan's arms, her eyes full of love. Then Li Menjiao picked up a soft towel from the table and carefully wiped the bodies of the 2 babies. She gently wiped the babies' little faces, hands, and feet, and every movement was full of motherly love. Dabao pouted and looked at Xiaobao with an unconvinced look, as if to say, "Humph, you're lucky this time. I won't let you off so easily next time." Xiaobao blinked his big eyes and looked at his parents with gratitude. Afterwards, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao put Dabao and Xiaobao back into the crib. They carefully arranged the babies' little quilts, making sure they were lying comfortably in them. Then they sat quietly by the bed and watched the babies fall asleep peacefully. At night, Li Menjiao talked to her mother Huang Shifeng on the phone. "Yao, you and Lin Xuan are the only ones at home now. Can you take care of the child?" Huang Shifeng asked with concern. "Yes, we can take care of her, and we are planning to hire a nanny and a housekeeper, which will make things much easier," Li Menjiao replied with a smile. "Oh, so how much do you plan to pay per month for a nanny and a housekeeper?" Huang Shifeng continued to ask. "Let me ask." Li Menjiao put down her phone and asked Lin Xuan, who was playing with the baby nearby. "Honey, how much do we plan to pay for a nanny and housekeeper per month?" "Well, a nanny is 20,000 yuan a month, and a housekeeper is about 30,000 yuan a month." Lin Xuan thought about it and replied with a smile. "Ah, so expensive." Li Menjiao opened her mouth in surprise. "Yes, excellent nannies and housekeepers on the market are basically priced at this price," Lin Xuan explained. Then Li Menjiao told Huang Shifeng the price truthfully. Unexpectedly, Huang Shifeng hurriedly said, "Yao, tell Lin Xuan not to hire a nanny and a housekeeper. I will come to take care of the babies tomorrow." Huang Shifeng calculated that it would be 70,000 a month, which would be 840,000 a year. This is not a small amount of money, and she couldn't help but sigh in her heart. "Mom, are you closing your store anymore?" Li Menjiao asked with a smile. Although she knew that her mother loved her very much, she was still worried that her store would be affected. "We have already hired 2 assistants to help look after the store. Besides, the monthly salary you earn from hiring a nanny and a housekeeper is almost enough to cover the store's profit for a year," Huang Shifeng explained. She felt that the money was wasted, and it would be better for her to come and take care of the children herself. "Won't you be bored here?" Li Menjiao asked with concern. "I can meet new people when I go there. Okay, listen to Mom and tell Lin Xuan not to hire a nanny," Huang Shifeng said firmly. She believes that this will not only save money, but also allow her to take better care of her children, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. "Okay, I'll talk to Lin Xuan later," Li Menjiao said with a smile. Then the mother and daughter continued to chat about family matters and share each other's daily lives. At night, everything was quiet. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao lay on the comfortable big bed, enjoying the quiet time. Li Menjiao snuggled in Lin Xuan's arms, watching a short video in her hand. Lin Xuan gently stroked her long hair, lowering his head from time to time and taking a deep breath of the faint fragrance. Hubby, are you born in the year of the dog? Why do you always suck me? Li Menjiao put down her phone, raised her head, and looked at Lin Xuan coquettishly. Yeah, has my wife discovered this? Lin Xuan answered with a shameless smile, then lowered his head, pressed his cheek against Li Menjiao's neck and sucked hard. Ha ha ha, husband, stop it, it's so itchy. Li Menjiao couldn't help but giggle. What did you talk about with your mother last night? Lin Xuan asked softly, still maintaining that intimate posture. His warm breath blew on Li Menjiao's neck, making her feel itchy. Oh, that's right, I was just about to tell you. Li Menjiao stretched out her hands and hugged Lin Xuan's head tightly, as if she was holding her own child. My mother told you not to hire a nanny or housekeeper anymore. She will come down tomorrow to help us take care of the baby. Why? Lin Xuan raised his head and asked in confusion after hearing it. Li Menjiao explained. Mom said that hiring a nanny and a housekeeper is too expensive. 1 month's salary is enough for her annual income from the store. It's not worth it. Lin Xuan smiled and asked, What do you say, wife? Li Menjiao smiled slightly and replied, Of course, I just asked for your opinion. Lin Xuan asked again, Does my wife want to hire a nanny and a housekeeper? Li Menjiao thought for a moment and said, Well, actually, I don't really want a few strangers to suddenly appear in our house. Besides, we are not a big family, so there is no need to hire a nanny or a housekeeper. Lin Xuan nodded and said, Okay, I'll listen to my wife. He originally hired a nanny and a housekeeper to help his wife share some of the housework, but since his wife didn't want it and his mother-in-law would come to help, there was no need to hire anyone. Then Lin Xuan took out his mobile phone and sent a message to Zhou Siyu. Plans have changed. Recruitment of nannies and housekeepers has been canceled. After sending the text message, he hugged Li Menjiao and fell asleep together. The next day at noon, the sun was shining brightly, and Huang Shifeng arrived in Jinghai City by car. She carried a big bag filled with Jingshui City's special local products and walked into the Haitian Yijing Villa in a happy mood. Mom is back. Li Menjiao jumped up from the sofa excitedly, took small steps forward, and hugged Huang Shifeng tightly. Yes, my dear daughter, Mommy is back. Huang Shifeng responded gently, her eyes full of doting. Mom, what delicious food did you bring for us? Li Menjiao asked curiously with an expectant smile on her lips. These are what you and Lin Xuan like to eat. Huang Shifeng replied with a smile, then put the bag on the table. Then the mother and daughter walked to the sofa in the living room and sat down. At this moment, Dabo and Xiaobo were lying beside them, occasionally making babbling sounds. Oh, my darlings, it's been a while since I last saw you. Huang Shifeng happily picked up Dabo and Xiaobo, her face filled with a happy smile. Dabo and Xiaobo opened their bright eyes, looked at their grandmother innocently, and soon they smiled brightly. Haha, it looks like they still miss Grandma very much. Huang Shifeng happily teased Dabo and Xiaobo, and her laughter echoed throughout the living room. After a while, Lin Xuan came out of the kitchen and said with a smile, Mom is back, let's get ready for dinner. Then the three of them went to the restaurant together and started to enjoy a delicious lunch. Chapter 296, Brother. I am the top scorer in the college entrance examination in Yunhai City this year. Time flies, and a few days have passed in the blink of an eye. Today is undoubtedly the most tense and critical moment for many college entrance examination candidates. However, there is a special person among this group of people, Lin Xuan's lovely sister, Lin Sissy. Just last night, she was so engrossed in the game room that she played until very late. Even today, when the sun was high in the sky and it was already past noon, she was still immersed in a dream and had not woken up yet. Sissy, get up quickly. Zhang Xuelin stood in front of the bed, shouting loudly. Mom, what's wrong? Lin Sissy was sleepy. She rubbed her eyes with her little hands and mumbled in response. Don't you know what day it is today? Zhang Xuelin couldn't help but feel angry when she saw her daughter like this. What day is it? Lin Sissy blinked her big eyes in confusion, as if she had not yet fully woken up. How dare you ask me this? Today is the day when the college entrance examination results are released. Is it also the day when I beat you up? Zhang Xuelin couldn't help but reach out and gently pinch Lin Sissy's cheek, and said with a little anger, Oh, Mom, I was just joking with you. Seeing this, Lin Sissy quickly begged for mercy. The results are about to be announced, and you are still sleeping here. Hurry up and check your results, Zhang Xuelin ordered sternly. Okay, I'll get up right away, Tilda. Lin Sissy didn't dare to delay any longer, so she quickly jumped out of the bed and hurried to brush her teeth and wash her face. At 11 o'clock in the morning, as time passed, it was finally time to officially announce the college entrance examination results. Lin Sissy sat in front of the computer, holding the mouse tightly with both hands and staring at the screen. But no matter how she clicked, she could not open the website to check her scores. Now college entrance examination candidates across the province are checking their scores and are flocking to the website, causing it to crash. In desperation, Lynn Sissy paced back and forth in the room, trying to relieve her tension. Just then, a crisp cell phone ring suddenly rang, interrupting her thoughts. Lynn Sissy was delighted, thinking that it was a call from a school teacher or someone from a university admissions office. She couldn't wait to pick up the phone, and when she looked closely, it was a call from her brother Lin Xuan. "Hey, brother, what's the matter?" Lin Sissy asked impatiently. "Can't I call you if everything is fine? Are the results out?" Lin Xuan heard the nervousness in her tone and asked with a smile. "No, I can't access the website at all. It's so frustrating," Lin Sissy said anxiously. "Not out yet? Then I'll ask you later." After saying that, Lin Xuan was about to hang up the phone. "Is there a brother like you? You don't even say something nice when you see your sister so nervous," Lin Sissy complained. Okay, wait a little longer and maybe a teacher from school will call you," Lin Xuan comforted with a smile. At this moment, Lin Sissy's cell phone beeped again. "Brother, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Someone really called me." Generally speaking, school teachers will take the initiative to call and congratulate students who have achieved excellent results in the college entrance examination. Not only that, some university admissions offices will also contact and communicate with students in advance in order to attract outstanding students. After Lin Sissy hung up the call with Lin Xuan, she quickly answered another call. "Lin Sissy, congratulations." A voice that was both familiar and unfamiliar came from the other end of the phone. "Excuse me, who are you?" Lin Sissy asked curiously. "Haha, I'm the principal of Yunhai No. 1 Middle School. I'm calling to congratulate you on becoming the top scorer in Yunhai City's college entrance examination this year." When Lin Sissy heard the news, her mind went blank and she stood there in a daze. When she came to her senses, she ran out of the room excitedly and shouted in the villa lobby, "Mom, I passed the exam. I'm the top scorer in Yunhai City's college entrance exam." "Really?" After hearing the news, Zhang Xulan instantly stood up from the sofa, her face full of excitement. "Yes, the principal called me personally," Lin Sissy said with a bright smile, holding up the phone. Only then did she realize that the principal seemed to have not hung up the phone yet. She was just too excited. So she handed the phone to Zhang Xulan. Zhang Xulan answered the phone. "Hello, principal, I am Lin Sissy's mother. Is my Sissy really the top scorer?" "Yes, she is this year's top scorer and is also ranked in the top 5 in the province," the principal replied with a smile. "Oh, that's great." Zhang Xulan was in a very happy mood. She exchanged a few polite words with the principal and then hung up the phone. At this moment, Lin Sissy happily took back her phone and was about to call her stinky brother Lin Xuan. The phone rang again. "Hello," Lin Sissy answered the phone. "Excuse me, is this Lin Sissy?" There was a gentle, middle-aged female voice on the phone. "Yes, who are you?" Lin Sissy asked curiously. "I am the director of admissions at Jinghai University. Congratulations on your good results in this year's college entrance examination. We sincerely invite you to apply for Jinghai University," the other party said. "If you agree to come to Jinghai University, we can promise to waive your tuition for 4 years. And we can also arrange for you to study for a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, of course. The premise is that you are willing to continue to pursue graduate studies. In addition, we will also provide a living allowance of 5,000 yuan per month." Then the director of the admissions office introduced in detail the preferential policies and good environment of Jinghai University. In the end, Lin Sissy agreed to apply to Jinghai University. As for what major to choose, she hasn't decided yet. Next, I received calls from people from university admissions offices one after another. The admissions office of one university was so persistent that he made several calls in a row. It wasn't until an hour later that the calls gradually stopped. Just then, Lin Sissy's phone rang again. She was already a little impatient with these calls, so she picked up the phone and said unhappily, "Hello, this is Lin Sissy. I have agreed to apply for Jinghai University. Thank you very much for calling. I have something else to do, so I'll hang up first." However, a familiar voice came from the other end of the phone. "Sister, who are you talking to like that? I give you 3 seconds to reorganize your words." "Hey, it's my brother, ha. Lin Sissy scratched her head and smiled foolishly. Then she said to Lin Xuan proudly, "Brother, I am the top scorer in Yunhai City's college entrance examination this year." Chapter 290, 7 Pure Gold Wedding Statue. "Sister, put away your arrogant expression. I can feel it even through the phone," Lin Xuan said helplessly. Hee, brother, you're just jealous," Lin Sissy said proudly. "Why should I be jealous of you? I was also the top scorer in the college entrance examination," Lin Xuan retorted. But I ranked higher than you in the province. I remember my brother was only ranked in the top 10, and I was ranked in the top 5, Lin Sissy said proudly. From childhood to adulthood, she has always been suppressed by Lin Xuan, and now she finally has the opportunity to be proud of herself. That must be because the people in my class were too strong. Lin Xuan would never admit that he was inferior to his sister. Brother, just accept it. I will go to Jinghai City after I pass the driving test, Lin Sissy said happily. Why did you come to Jinghai City? Lin Xuan asked with some disdain. Why do you use such a disdainful tone? Come to Jinghai City to have fun and see if there are any summer jobs available, Lin Sissy said coquettishly. That's perfect. Come to Jinghai City to take care of the baby, Lin Xuan said jokingly. Oh, Tilda, Lin Sissy replied in a long voice. Then Lin Xuan hung up the phone. Is Sissy also the top scorer in the college entrance examination? Li Menjiao asked with a smile while listening at the side. Yeah, its tail is about to reach the sky, Lin Xuan said with a smile. I just know Sissy can do it. Li Menjiao clapped her hands, a smile on her face. At this moment, Lin Xuan's cell phone rang again. He glanced at the screen and saw that it was a call from Chen Bin from Eternal Love Song Wedding Planner. Hello, Manager Chen. Lin Xuan answered the phone. Good morning, Mr. Lin. Are you at home now? Chen Bin's voice came from the other end of the phone. I'm here, what's the matter? Lin Xuan asked. The pure gold statue we customized for your wedding has been completed. Can we send it to you now? Chen Bin said. Sure, come over here, Lin Xuan said. So half an hour later, Lin Xuan received an exquisite gold-plated box. This box looks very gorgeous, as if it contains endless preciousness. Honey, what is this? Li Menjiao came forward curiously and asked gently. Wife, please open it and take a look. Lin Xuan handed the box to her with a smile. Li Menjiao carefully opened the box, and as the packaging peeled off, a golden glitter emanated from inside. The light was as dazzling as the sun, making it impossible to look away. A lifelike pure gold statue appeared in front of the two. This statue was made based on the appearance of Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao at their wedding. In the statue, they are looking at each other affectionately at the wedding ceremony, their hands clasped together, their faces filled with happiness and joy, and every detail is portrayed in exquisite detail. Lin Xuan wore an exquisite gown with fine textures at the neckline and cuffs, while Li Menjiao's wedding dress fell naturally with meticulously crafted lace and beads. It is particularly worth mentioning that the hand movements of the two people were emphasized, and their tightly clasped hands seemed to be announcing to the world their unwavering love. At the bottom of the statue, there is a circle of exquisite waves and shell patterns, which not only add a romantic atmosphere to the entire statue, but also symbolize this luxurious wedding held on the seaside. Seeing this scene, Li Menjiao couldn't help but exclaimed, "Wow, so cute." A huge smile spread across her face. Lin Xuan looked at her happy expression and also smiled with relief. He reached out and gently wrapped his arms around Li Menjiao's slender waist and said tenderly, "This statue is the witness of our love." As he said this, he kissed Li Menjiao's forehead deeply in front of the statue. Is it pure gold? Li Menjiao asked softly, her eyes sparkling with her arms around Lin Xuan's neck. Yeah, Lin Xuan raised the corners of his mouth and answered gently. That's very expensive, you have to keep it well. Li Menjiao frowned slightly, her eyes full of worry and cherishment. Put it in our master bedroom, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Okay, Tilda, Li Menjiao nodded obediently, then carefully picked up the statue and walked into the master bedroom. She gently placed the statue on the bedside table in the master bedroom and arranged it neatly. After finishing, Li Menjiao turned around happily and threw herself into Lin Xuan's arms. She hugged him tightly, feeling his warm embrace, her heart filled with happiness and satisfaction. Then she raised her head and looked at Lin Xuan affectionately with her bright big eyes, then kissed him lightly on the face, then kissed along his cheek to his lips, and finally left a deep kiss. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye it is the end of June. Early in the morning, the sun shines through the window onto the bed, and Lin Xuan is awakened by a crisp ringing of his cell phone. Hello, Mr. Lin, good morning. All the new employees who joined the company this year have arrived. Would you like to join us in the new employee induction meeting? Liu Wen's voice came from the other end of the phone. Lin Xuan smiled and replied, no problem. As the chairman of the company, he needs to personally encourage and motivate the new employees, while also painting a bright future for the company for them. Alas, it's time to start making big promises again. After hanging up the phone, Lin Xuan called softly, Wife, what's the matter? Li Menjiao poked her head out from the cloakroom next to her, revealing a cute little face. Her hair was a little messy, but it added a lazy beauty. "Honey, come here for a moment. I have something very important to tell you." Lin Xuan sat on the edge of the bed with a mysterious smile on his face. "What's the matter?" Li Menjiao put down the clothes she had just sorted out and walked over curiously. Lin Xuan suddenly hugged Li Menjiao, and after a dizzy moment, the two of them lay on the bed, hugging each other tightly. Lin Xuan looked at Li Menjiao's charming lips and couldn't help but kiss her. He said, "Of course I asked you to come here because I want to kiss you." Li Menjiao blinked her beautiful eyes, raised the corners of her mouth slightly, and said coquettishly, "So you called me here just for this?" "Yes, I didn't have time to give you a good morning kiss when I woke up in the morning," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Li Menjiao rolled her eyes at him in reproach. "Okay, now get out of here. I still have to sort out my clothes." "By the way, there is one more thing," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Li Menjiao first stared at Lin Xuan for a few seconds, then raised her head and kissed Lin Xuan heavily. "What's going on? Tomorrow I will go to the company to hold an induction meeting for new employees. My wife, come with me. It's a good opportunity for her to see my company." After saying that, Lin Xuan showed a confident smile. Chapter 298. Yes, I will be good. So that night after dinner, Lin Xuan no longer saw his wife. He looked around curiously, and finally came to the master bedroom, where he found Li Menjiao looking for and trying on clothes in the cloakroom. She looked through each piece of clothing intently, sometimes picking up a piece to try on, and sometimes putting it back and continuing to choose. Lin Xuan walked gently behind Li Menjiao, hugged her from behind, felt the warmth emanating from her body, and asked gently, "Wife, what are you looking for?" Li Menjiao was startled by Lin Xuan's sudden action at first, but she quickly regained her composure, and with a happy smile on her face, she replied, "I was thinking about what clothes to wear to your company tomorrow. Just wear it as usual." Lin Xuan gently kissed Li Menjiao's white shoulder and said with a smile, "No, that's too casual. We need to pay attention to our image." Li Menjiao gently broke free from Lin Xuan's embrace, then turned around and looked at him expectantly and said, "Honey, look at this dress. What do you think?" At this time, Li Menjiao was wearing the formal suit she had worn during the previous interview, a pure white shirt with a black long skirt, looking elegant and generous. Lin Xuan couldn't help laughing out loud and teased, "Ha ha ha, honey, you are the chairman's wife, not going for a job interview, so you don't need to dress so formally." Li Menjiao pouted, crossed her arms over her chest, and said unconvincedly, "Humph, then pick one for me." Then Lin Xuan turned his gaze to the cloakroom, only to see it filled with all kinds of clothes belonging to the two of them. He carefully selected a set of clothes, handed it to Li Menjiao, and said with a smile, "Take this one, I think it suits you very well." Then Li Menjiao couldn't wait to take the clothes and put them on quickly. After all, they are already an old couple now, so there is naturally no need to hide it anymore. Not long after, Li Menjiao changed her clothes, walked lightly to the mirror, and looked at herself carefully. She was wearing a snow-white shirt, a black college-style overalls skirt, and a cute white butterfly belt around her waist. She looked particularly fresh and cute, like a flower blooming in spring. "You are worthy of being my wife. You look so beautiful no matter what you wear." Seeing this, Lin Xuan gently hugged Li Menjiao from behind again, with a gentle smile on his lips. "You're so sweet, give me a kiss." Li Menjiao raised her head slightly, met Lin Xuan's eyes, and then took the initiative to offer her red lips. The two kissed passionately for a while, then gradually stopped. The sunlight shines through the window onto the bed, and a new day begins. Today is the first day of July, and it is also the first day of work for many college students after graduation. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao got up early, enjoyed a hearty breakfast, and then went to the parking lot downstairs of the villa together. They drove the luxurious Maybach towards Jinwen Technology Co., Limited. Half an hour later, Lin Xuan drove a Maybach to the company gate. The security guard greeted them warmly. "Good morning, Director Lin." Lin Xuan smiled and nodded, then parked the car at the designated location. He took Li Menjiao's hand and walked into the company lobby together. When they entered the hall, they just happened to see employees coming to work one after another. Everyone saw Lin Xuan holding the hand of a beautiful woman with a pure, graceful, and charming temperament. She is as beautiful as a fairy from heaven. Many people secretly speculated that this person should be the legendary chairman's wife. Some people who were quick to respond immediately shouted enthusiastically, "Good morning, Chairman." "Hello, Madam Chairman." Lin Xuan responded with a smile, "Good morning." Li Menjiao nodded shyly, with a faint blush on her face, making her look even more shy and cute. As more and more people noticed them, more greetings came. "Good morning, Chairman." "Good morning, Madam Chairman." Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao responded to everyone's greetings while walking towards the elevator. Soon, they arrived at the chairman's office on the 6th floor. As soon as she entered the door, Li Menjiao couldn't help but exclaimed, "Wow, husband, your office is so spacious." She looked around excitedly, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Well, it's okay. There are bigger ones that you haven't seen yet," Lin Xuan replied with a smile, a hint of pampering in his eyes. Li Menjiao looked at it for a while, and her eyes were quickly attracted by the majestic and dignified chairman's office chair. She walked forward involuntarily and sat on it gently. At this moment, Lin Xuan tactfully made a cup of tea and brought it to Li Menjiao. He smiled and said, "Madam President, please have some tea." Li Menjiao suppressed her smile and replied, "Put it here. Thank you for your hard work." Then she happily turned the chairman's office chair and played happily like a child. Lin Xuan looked at his wife tenderly from the side. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Li Menjiao was startled and quickly stood up from the chair. Lin Xuan comforted her and said, "It's okay, honey. Just sit still and relax." Li Menjiao said softly, "Husband, this is not good." Lin Xuan responded with a smile, "What's wrong with that? I have the final say here." This sentence was full of dominance and tenderness, which made Li Menjiao very happy. She stood on tiptoe, gently left a kiss on Lin Xuan's face, and then sat down again. "Please come in," Lin Xuan shouted at the door. As he finished speaking, the office door was gently pushed open, and a figure slowly walked in. "Director Lin, the new employee orientation meeting has been arranged. President Liu asked me to call you." Zhou Siyu walked in wearing a professional suit and high heels. Her eyes immediately fell on Li Menjiao, who was sitting in the chairman's office chair, and then she looked at Lin Xuan, who was standing beside her. She had seen Li Menjiao's photo on Lin Xuan's circle of friends and thought the girl was very beautiful at the time. But when she actually met Li Menjiao, she found that she was even more beautiful than in the photo. Her skin is as white as snow, her facial features are delicate and picturesque, especially her bright big eyes, which are as dazzling as stars. Zhou Siyu was stunned for a while, then came to her senses and greeted Li Menjiao with a smile. "Hello, you are Director Lin's wife, right?" Li Menjiao stood up and smiled politely. "Hello, I am Lin Xuan's wife Li Menjiao, nice to meet you." Zhou Siyu smiled and said, "Me too. I've heard that Chairman Lin's wife is very beautiful. Today I finally see her in person." Li Menjiao responded with a smile. "Thank you, you are very beautiful too." Lin Xuan stood by and watched the conversation between the two people come to a deadlock. He said, "Secretary Zhou, I'm going to the meeting room now." Then he turned his head, looked at Li Menjiao with gentle eyes and said softly, "Wife, I will be back after a meeting. You can stay here or walk around." "Okay, I'll be good." Li Menjiao nodded and smiled. "That's weird, Tilda." Chapter 299, Why is my wife here? Lin Xuan and Zhou Siyu came to the top floor conference room together. Before entering the conference room, Lin Xuan once again instructed the people around him, "Send some more refreshments to the chairman's office." After saying that, he walked into the meeting room. At this moment, Liu Wen and several department managers were already sitting in the front row waiting. Below is a group of slightly immature college graduates. They sit in an orderly manner, their eyes revealing their expectations and longings for the future. These newly graduated college students looked at Lin Xuan, and a hint of doubt arose in their hearts. Because Lin Xuan was wearing a very formal suit today and looked about the same age as them, they mistakenly thought that Lin Xuan was also a new employee this time. Many girls even had their eyes shining, secretly rejoicing that they had such handsome colleagues in this class. However, the next moment, they saw Lin Xuan smile slightly, then walked up to the podium and slowly sat down in the middle. It was only then that the college students noticed the sign on the podium, which clearly read the word chairman. Chairman, such a young chairman. She doesn't look much older than them. Suddenly, the college students in the audience began to whisper to each other. Seeing that all the people were present, Liu Wen gave Zhou Siyu a look. Then Zhou Siyu walked up to the podium and said with a smile, "Dear new colleagues, good morning. Welcome to Jinwen Technology Co., Limited. Now we officially start the new employee orientation meeting. The meeting agenda includes..." On the other side, Li Menjiao looked around Lin Xuan's office, observing every corner curiously. She first walked to the window and admired the scenery outside, then walked to the bookshelf and flipped through the books on it. However, after a while, she felt a little bored, so she sat in the chairman's office chair. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Li Menjiao suddenly became a little nervous. She took a deep breath and said, please come in." The door slowly opened, and in walked the company's receptionist. The receptionist smiled and saluted Li Menjiao, saying, You are the chairman's wife, right? This is the refreshment that the chairman specially ordered. Please enjoy it slowly. As she spoke, she placed a cup of coconut milk tea and a plate of lotus cakes on the table. Li Menjiao nodded with a smile and said, "Thank you." After the waiter left, Li Menjiao happily picked up a piece of lotus crisp and took a bite. The puff pastry made a crisp sound in her mouth, and the sweet filling instantly conquered her taste buds. Then she took another sip of the coconut milk tea. The smoothness of the coconut milk and the subtle fragrance of the tea intertwined to form an intoxicating and wonderful taste that made her unable to stop. Li Menjiao ate with gusto, a satisfied smile on her face, her beautiful eyes curved into crescent shapes. After eating and drinking, she decided to go out for a walk, so Li Menjiao left the chairman's office with brisk steps. She thought of her good friend Liu Yuxin, who also worked in this company, so she decided to go find her. Li Menjiao walked to the elevator entrance, pressed the button, and waited for the elevator to arrive. When the elevator doors slowly opened, she walked in and pressed the button for the first floor. After arriving at the lobby on the first floor, Li Menjiao walked straight to the front desk and asked the receptionist with a smile, "Hello, which floor is the Human Resources Department on?" The receptionist looked up and replied in a friendly manner, "In the Administration Department on the 5th floor. Are you a new employee?" Since she was not there when Lin Xuan brought Li Menjiao here in the morning, she did not recognize her. "Well, I guess so, thank you," Li Menjiao said with a smile. Then she turned and walked toward the elevator again, pressing the button for the 5th floor. When the elevator reached the administrative department on the 5th floor, Li Menjiao walked out and quickly glanced around. I soon found the sign for the Human Resources office. She carefully poked her little head out and observed the situation in the office curiously. People in the office were busy working, and no one noticed Li Menjiao at the door. So Li Menjiao clenched her hands, walked gently into the Human Resources office, and looked around. Finally, she found Liu Yuxin in a corner of the office. At this time, Liu Yuxin was sitting at her workstation, staring at the computer, looking very serious. Li Menjiao quietly came behind her, watched her quietly for a few minutes, then reached out and patted her gently. "Hey, Xingxin." Ah, Liu Yuxin was startled. When she turned around, she found Li Menjiao looking at her with a smile. "Yaya, why are you here?" Liu Yuxin said happily. "I came to play with you." Li Menjiao tucked her hair behind her ears and smiled quietly. "Come on, you can't even make up a good lie. How can you go out to play with others during work hours?" Liu Yuxin rolled her eyes. "Okay, my husband brought me here, and then he went to a meeting, so I had to look for you," Li Menjiao said with a smile. Come on, I'll take you to have some snacks. I tell you, the snacks here in the company are delicious." Liu Yuxin stood up and pulled Li Menjiao towards the staff lounge. "No, I just ate in my husband's office. You can eat by yourself." Li Menjiao touched her stomach and still felt a little bloated. "That's fine, let's have a good chat," Liu Yuxin said with a smile. "Xingxin, are you not going to work anymore?" Li Menjiao asked. "I won't do it for now. When the time comes, I will say that the chairman's wife dragged me out to eat. Let's see who dares to say anything to me." Liu Yuxin laughed. Li Menjiao. The two of them fished in the employee lounge for an hour. Finally, Li Menjiao asked, "Xingxin, do you know where my husband is having a meeting?" "I know, what's the matter?" Liu Yuxin said. "I want to go and take a look." Li Menjiao's mouth corners slightly raised. "Yaya, when did you become so bad? I like it, haha. Come on, I'll take you there now," Liu Yuxin said. So Liu Yuxin brought Li Menjiao to the top floor conference room. "Yaya, this is it. Go by yourself." Liu Yuxin stopped and said, looking at the door of the conference room in front of her. "Xingxin, let's do it together, ha. Li Menjiao said to her with a smile. No, I'm afraid that your husband will fire me." Liu Yuxin quickly shook her head. "HMPH, coward." Li Menjiao rolled her eyes at her, then gently pushed the door open, walked in quickly, and sat down in an empty seat in the last row. Lin Xuan witnessed the whole process in amazement. "Why is my wife here?" Li Menjiao sat there, gave Lin Xuan a sweet smile, and looked into his eyes. Then Zhou Siyu announced again, "Now we will proceed to the last item on the agenda. Please welcome Lin Xuan, the chairman of Jinwen Technology Co., Limited, to speak. Please give him a round of applause." As the words fell, warm applause broke out in the conference room. Li Menjiao followed everyone else and clapped her hands gently to applaud her husband. Chapter 300, Treat Others in Their Own Way. Lin Xuan came to the podium and first glanced at Li Menjiao, who was sitting in the last row, with a smile. Then he cleared his throat and began his speech. "Dear new colleagues, good morning, everyone." His voice was steady and powerful, echoing throughout the conference room. "I am Lin Xuan, your chairman. Today, I am delighted to see all your energetic and expectant faces. Welcome to join our company and become a member of this big family. At the same time, Li Menjiao was sitting in the last row. While trying hard to hold back her smile, she picked up her phone and quietly took a picture of Lin Xuan. She laughed secretly in her heart. Ha ha ha, husband, I didn't expect that this day would come. At the same time, she took out her notebook and recorded it carefully, as if it was a precious memory. After the meeting, Li Menjiao quickly followed the large group of freshmen out of the meeting room. It was then that many male colleagues noticed this extremely beautiful female colleague. They couldn't help but secretly take a few more glances. Some of them were good-looking, and some of them who were bolder even went up to Li Menjiao and asked for her WeChat. Sorry, I'm married. Li Menjiao smiled and waved, then decided not to take the elevator and go down the stairs next to her. Soon, she returned to the chairman's office first and sat there waiting obediently. Not long after, Lin Xuan also returned to his office. As soon as he entered, he saw Li Menjiao looking at him with a smile. Wife, why did you sneak into the meeting room just now? Lin Xuan said with a smile. Really, I've been here all the time. Li Menjiao blinked mischievously, pretending to be silly and cute. Really? Then who was that person I saw upstairs? Lin Xuan gave his signature smile, then gently closed the door and locked it. That's your illusion. Why did you lock the door, husband? Li Menjiao stood up in panic, ready to escape at any time, but it seemed there was nowhere to escape. Wife, don't run. Lin Xuan saw Li Menjiao trying to escape and immediately started chasing her. Ha ha ha, help! Li Menjiao also began to speed up her pace, trying to avoid Lin Xuan's pursuit. The two ran back and forth in the spacious office, as if playing a happy game. However, in the end, Li Menjiao was caught by Lin Xuan due to exhaustion. Lin Xuan picked up Li Menjiao by the waist without hesitation, then sat on the office chair and gently placed Li Menjiao on his lap and hugged her. My wife took a secret photo of me. She needs to be punished, Lin Xuan said as he leaned over and kissed Li Menjiao. Li Menjiao skillfully tilted her head, allowing Lin Xuan's kiss to fall on her delicate cheek. Why are you punishing me? Husband, didn't you treat me the same way before? I'm just giving him a taste of his own medicine, Li Menjiao said with a pout. When did this happen? Lin Xuan asked with a smile. You forgot when I was defending my graduation thesis, Li Menjiao replied coquettishly. Oh, really? I don't remember it at all. Lin Xuan pretended to be ignorant and said shamelessly. HMPH, I remember, and I listened to you carefully too. Look, Li Menjiao said, flipping open the notebook on the table. Look at what you said. It is difficult for a person to make a move alone, but it is easy for a group of people to move forward. The company will take note of your efforts. The future is yours. Li Menjiao deliberately repeated it in Lin Xuan's tone, then laughed happily. Lin Xuan couldn't help himself anymore when he saw his wife being so naughty and cute. He simply held her delicate little face and kissed her plump and tempting lips deeply. The two of them stayed in the room for a while, and when they came to their senses, it was already 12 noon. Honey, let's just go to the company cafeteria for dinner. Li Menjiao nestled in Lin Xuan's arms like a lazy kitten, with a sweet smile on her lips. Okay, Lin Xuan looked at the beauty in his arms, his eyes full of doting. Then he gently took Li Menjiao's hand, walked out of the office with her, and came to the company's cafeteria. Many employees in the company choose to stay in the cafeteria for lunch, so it is always bustling here. At this moment, everyone's attention was attracted by Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao. They were surprised to find that Lin Xuan was holding Li Menjiao's hand while queuing for food. It turns out that she is our chairman's wife. Wow, she's so pretty. It's over, I just asked her for her WeChat. After a while, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao prepared their meals respectively, then found a quiet corner and sat down to eat. Honey, the food in your company's cafeteria tastes pretty good. Li Menjiao picked up a piece of boiled fish fillet and put it into her mouth, saying with satisfaction, It's not bad. After all, only when employees eat well can they be more motivated. Lin Xuan answered with a smile and put his whole portion of braised fish into Li Menjiao's bowl. No, that would make me look greedy. Li Menjiao looked around a little embarrassedly and found that many people were looking at them. Her cheeks flushed slightly. Then give me some of the rice. It's okay to eat more vegetables. Lin Xuan coaxed her gently. Hee, okay then, I'll give you some. Li Menjiao happily gave half of her rice to Lin Xuan and picked up a fried chicken leg and put it into his bowl. At this moment, in the eyes of others, wow, look at that couple, they are so sweet. That's right, this couple is like a perfect couple. Alas, when can I have such a beautiful love? After having lunch in the company cafeteria at noon, Lin Xuan drove Li Menjiao back to Haitian Yijing Villa for a nap. Time flies, and it's afternoon in a blink of an eye. Lin Xuan rubbed his sleepy eyes and went downstairs in a daze. At this moment, a lovely figure was sitting on the sofa, staring at him intently. However, at this moment Lin Xuan was still half asleep and half awake. He walked towards the kitchen with some unsteady steps, opened the refrigerator, took out a bottle of Coke, and then walked out slowly. With a sizzle sound, Lin Xuan took several big gulps. In the hot summer, drinking a bottle of iced cola after waking up from a nap is an incomparable enjoyment. Just when he was feeling satisfied, he suddenly noticed a familiar figure sitting on the sofa. Yo, bro. Chapter 301, Q version couple woodcarving. At this time, Lin Sissy was sitting on the sofa in the living room with a spoonful of Haagen-Dazs ice cream in her mouth. Lin Xuan immediately sprayed out the happy water he had just drunk. Sister, when did you get here? Lin Xuan wiped his mouth and looked at his sister in surprise. I just arrived not long ago. Lin Sissy took the spoon out of her mouth and answered nonchalantly. How did it come? Lin Xuan frowned and asked in confusion. Yes, I came here by car. Lin Sissy pointed to the honky Goya car keys on the table and said proudly, Didn't you just get your driver's license a few days ago? How dare you drive on the highway? Lin Xuan widened his eyes, unable to believe his ears. And doesn't it say that you can't go on the highway alone during the internship period? Lin Xuan walked up to Lin Sissy and began to lecture her seriously. I'm not alone. The female instructor at the driving school is teaching me how to drive. She happened to be bringing her daughter to Jinghai City for a checkup so we could go together, Lin Sissy explained. Lin Sissy is very likable no matter where she is. Although the uncles at the driving school are very fierce, they are still very gentle to Lin Sissy. She also met a very good female coach, and the two got along very well. You're really carefree, sister? Lin Xuan reached out and pinched Lin Sissy's chubby little face. I am gifted, Lin Sissy protested with a dissatisfied pout. Lin Xuan sighed helplessly. This sister was really a worry. Do my parents know about this? Hee, of course, I don't know. Lin Sissy blinked mischievously. The corner of Lin Xuan's mouth suddenly twitched. An hour later, Mom, Sissy is here with me now, Lin Xuan said while holding the phone. This little bitch is lucky she's fine. Your dad and I will go back to Jinghai City one weekend and give her a good beating. Zhang Xulan was so angry. Lin Xuan now regretted buying a car for his sister so early. Okay, I'll give her a good beating first, Lin Xuan said. Then he ended the conversation with his mother. At this time, Lin Sissy was still sitting on the sofa, petting the cat and chatting with her sister-in-law Li Menjiao. Sissy, which major did you apply for at Jinghai University? Li Menjiao asked with a smile. I applied for the finance major. I heard it is the school's top major, Lin Sissy said softly. That's right, but the competition in the finance major is fierce, and the study pressure is quite high, Li Menjiao reminded. Don't worry, sister-in-law, I will try my best, Lin Sissy said confidently. With that little brain of yours, is it suitable for finance? Lin Xuan couldn't help but interrupt as he looked at the innocent and lovely sister in front of him. When Lin Sissy heard this, she was immediately unhappy and pouted her lips to retort. Humph, don't underestimate me. I got close to full marks in math, and I am particularly sensitive to numbers. By the way, brother, do you need any financial help? When I graduate, I can help you. After saying this, she raised her head proudly. My company doesn't accept lazy people. Lin Xuan gently rubbed Lin Sissy's little head. You stinky brother, let me go. Lin Sissy yelled and tried to break free. In the next few days, Li Menjiao began to teach Lin Sissy how to dress up, do her hair, and even asked her to learn dancing. Although Lin Sissy was very enthusiastic at first, when Li Menjiao stretched her legs, she felt so painful that she was almost in tears. Time passed quietly, and in the blink of an eye it was July 6, 2025, the day before Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao's wedding anniversary. As night fell, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao gently coaxed Dabao and Zaya Abao to sleep, and then lay together on the soft and comfortable big bed. Honey, what day is tomorrow? Li Menjiao rested her delicate little face lightly on Lin Xuan's solid chest and asked in a soft voice. Oh, there's no special day, Lin Xuan replied, pretending to know nothing. You really don't know? Li Menjiao puffed up her cheeks, turned over angrily and pressed tightly against Lin Xuan. A smile appeared on Lin Xuan's lips, and then he turned over flexibly and exchanged positions with Li Menjiao. He gave Li Menjiao's cute little pouting mouth a passionate kiss. Tomorrow is our first wedding anniversary. How could my husband forget it? Li Menjiao complained angrily and amusedly, feeling helpless about her husband's teasing, but she couldn't help but take a light bite as a punishment. Lin Xuan was not afraid of the pain, so he hugged Li Menjiao tightly, looked into her eyes affectionately, and asked gently, Wife, do you have any special gifts or activities you want tomorrow? Li Menjiao thought about it carefully. She now owned a car, necklace, earrings, bracelets, and other items. She even had 2 rings. It seemed that she really had everything she needed. But she still hopes to find something special to do tomorrow. So Li Menjiao pursed her lips and fell into deep thought. Suddenly, her eyes fell on the exquisite pure gold wedding statue on the bedside table. Got it, Li Menjiao suddenly shouted excitedly. Hearing his wife's voice, Lin Xuan reached out his hand in surprise, gently stroked Li Menjiao's soft belly, and asked excitedly, "What, wife, are you pregnant again?" Li Menjiao slapped his hand away in a stern voice and said, "What? I was talking about what I was going to do tomorrow." "Oh, what's that idea?" Lin Xuan said with a smile. Li Menjiao smiled brightly and said happily, "Let's go make a couple wood sculpture together tomorrow." "Okay," Lin Xuan agreed with a smile. Then he moved his lips forward and kissed Li Menjiao gently. The next morning, Li Menjiao woke up first. Looking at her husband who was still sleeping, she leaned forward and gave him a gentle kiss on the forehead, then woke him up softly. "Husband, get up." Lin Xuan was awakened by the kiss. He opened his eyes with a smile and smiled at his wife. After breakfast, the two drove a Lamborghini to a wood-carving studio in Jinghai City. As soon as I entered the door, the wood-carving master came up to me warmly and said, "Welcome, both of you." Lin Xuan smiled and responded, "Hello, we are here to learn wood carving, and we want to make a Q version of a couple wood carving of our own." The woodcarver nodded happily. "Sure, please follow me." After saying that, he brought the two of them to the wood carving workbench, on which were placed all kinds of wood carving tools and materials, which were dazzling and eye-catching. If you want to carve a Q version couple wood carving, I think this camphor wood is more suitable. Its color is very beautiful, and camphor wood itself has a unique texture and fragrance. It is also very durable and can be preserved for a long time, the wood carving master introduced in detail. "Then please teach us how to carve now, master," Li Menjiao said with a smile. Chapter 302, We Made This Together. Under the guidance of the wood carving master, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao first used a larger carving knife to roughly carve the general outline of the character, including the shape of the head, body, and limbs. Then, when it came to the detailed carving, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao selected smaller chisels and files and began to carefully carve the character's facial expressions, hairstyle, and clothing. Lin Xuan chose Li Menjiao as the prototype for the sculpture, while Li Menjiao used Lin Xuan as the template. During the carving process, Li Menjiao couldn't help but move closer out of curiosity, wanting to see how Lin Xuan's work was progressing. Lin Xuan said without even turning his head, "Don't peek at me, just be yourself." Li Menjiao puffed up her cheeks and said, "You stingy guy." But she still obediently returned to her seat and continued to focus on her own creation. After a period of hard work, their wood carvings finally took shape. Next, they carefully polished the wood carving with sandpaper to make its surface smooth and delicate, removing burrs and rough parts produced during the carving process. Finally, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao colored their works respectively and added some small decorations. "Wife, show me yours," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Bring yours here too." Li Menjiao smiled slightly. The two exchanged the wood carvings in their hands. Lin Xuan got the Q version of Lin Xuan, carved by Li Menjiao. The image of this small wooden sculpture is playful yet steady, as if it is a young boy with dreams. He raised his head slightly, his eyes full of longing and expectation for the future. His round face with a confident smile makes people feel his inner determination and courage. His hairstyle is simple and handsome, and every strand of hair dances smartly against the texture of the camphor wood, showing his vitality and youth. The folds of the clothes on her body were natural and flowing, as if they were fluttering in the breeze. What Li Menjiao got was the Q version of Li Menjiao carved by Lin Xuan. The Q version of Li Menjiao is cute and lovely, nodding and smiling, just like a blooming flower. Her rosy cheeks are as warm and charming as the spring sun. There is a star-like light twinkling in her big eyes, full of anticipation for love. Her long hair fell on her shoulders like a waterfall, and every strand exuded a gentle breath. The long skirt she wore had delicate carvings on the hem, like a dancing butterfly, perfectly showing her beauty and elegance. Both cute little wooden sculptures exude a faint scent of camphor wood, and that unique fragrance makes people feel comfortable and relaxed. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao were both very satisfied with the Q version wood carvings in their hands. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao were both very satisfied with the Q version wood carvings in their hands. They looked at them carefully with satisfied smiles on their faces. "You two are really skillful. It's amazing that you can make the wood carvings so lifelike on your first try." The wood carving master couldn't help but praise. "Thank you, please help us pack it," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Afterwards, the wood-carving master took out an exquisite camphorwood base and placed the two couple wood carvings on it. Then he placed some flowers, plants, trees, and other decorations around to make the whole scene more lively and interesting. Finally, he gently put on a transparent glass ball, and a Q-version couple wood sculpture carved by Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao was completed. Lin Xuan picked up the box, and Li Menjiao took his hand affectionately with a happy smile on her face and left the wood carving studio happily. The two returned to the Lamborghini parked on the side of the road. Li Menjiao looked at the time and said in surprise, "Wow, it's already 12 noon. Yes, I was so engrossed in the carving just now that I forgot how fast time passed." Lin Xuan replied with a smile. "Honey, I'm hungry, Tilda," Li Menjiao said coquettishly. "Then let's go to Xuanmeng restaurant for dinner. It's not far from here. If we go back now, we probably won't be able to eat until 1 o'clock in the afternoon," Lin Xuan suggested. "Okay," Li Menjiao nodded obediently. Then Lin Xuan started the car and drove towards Xuanmeng restaurant in Jinwen Plaza. Not long after, they arrived at their destination safely. "Brother Xuan, I haven't seen you for a long time." Zhou Quan had sharp eyes and immediately spotted Lin Xuan walking into Xuanmeng restaurant and hurriedly greeted him warmly. "Hello, sister-in-law," Zhou Quan greeted Li Menjiao with a smile. "Brother Xuan, you can rest assured that I'll be in charge. Xiao Wang, quickly arrange a private room for the boss and his wife," Zhou Quan ordered hurriedly. Then Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao walked into the private room together. After ordering the food, Zhou Quan brought Qiu Wise in. "Brother Xuan, you're here," Qiu Wise said with a smile, wearing a chef's hat. "Wei Zi, how are you doing studying here?" Lin Xuan asked with concern. "They're all good. I've basically learned all the dishes here," Qiu Wise said confidently. "That's great. You can cook the meal we ordered this time. I'll try it," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Okay, just wait. I guarantee you'll be shocked." After saying this, Qiu Wise strode out of the private room. "Zhou Quan, you should go and get busy too," Lin Xuan said with a smile. This sentence seems ordinary, but the implication is, do what you should do and don't get in the way here. "Hehe, Brother Xuan, call me anytime if you need anything." Zhou Quan naturally understood the meaning of Lin Xuan's words, then left the private room with a smile. Not long after, the dishes ordered by Lin Xuan were brought into the private room one by the waiter. These dishes include cod casserole with rich sauce, pan-fried salmon fillet, and baked sole with cheese. Seeing these her favorite fishes, Li Menjiao was as excited as a child. She couldn't wait to pick up the chopsticks and start devouring them. While eating, she would pick up the tender fish meat from time to time and gently put it into Lin Xuan's mouth. Lin Xuan tasted the 3 dishes carefully, and every bite made him feel the unique taste and rich flavor. Finally, he nodded with satisfaction and commented, "Qiu Wise did a good job." Li Menjiao also said, "Hubby, this delicacy will definitely be popular in Yunhai City." "Yeah," Lin Xuan replied softly. After filling their stomachs, the two drove back to the Haitian Yijing villa. As soon as she returned to the master bedroom, Li Menjiao couldn't wait to take out the Q-version wooden sculpture of the couple, gently placed it next to the pure gold wedding statue, and then squatted there quietly, looking at them carefully. Lin Xuan looked at her focused look, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but slightly raised. He asked softly, "Wife, which one do you like better?" Li Menjiao turned around, her eyes sparkling with happiness, and she smiled and replied, "I like both of them very much." Then she gently stroked the wood carving, and a sweet smile appeared on her face again. "But this is something we made together, so it has a different meaning." Chapter 303, Candlelight Dinner. After Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao finished admiring it together, they lay back on the bed and snuggled up to each other. "Hubby, I still feel like everything is a dream. In the blink of an eye, we have been married for a year and our 2 children are 6 months old." Li Menjiao gently poked Lin Xuan's chest, the corners of her mouth slightly raised, and a happy smile appeared on her face. "It's not a dream, everything is real." Lin Xuan lowered his head and gently kissed Li Menjiao's delicate lips, responding with a smile. "Really?" Li Menjiao blinked playfully, seeming a little unconvinced, then suddenly raised her head and lightly kissed Lin Xuan's chin. "Hiss, why is my wife biting me?" Lin Xuan said, holding Li Menjiao's little face. "My husband feels pain, which means it's not a dream, Tilda." Li Menjiao's brilliant smile made people's hearts tremble. Lin Xuan looked at her cute appearance, his heart full of doting, and asked softly, "Why don't you pinch yourself? That way you will know if it is a dream or not." Li Menjiao raised her little face proudly, stuck out her cute little tongue, and said coquettishly, "I'm afraid of pain." "My husband is afraid of pain too. No, I have to bite back." Lin Xuan grinned evilly and launched an attack. Li Menjiao held Lin Xuan with both hands to prevent him from succeeding. Husband, you can't bully your wife. Li Menjiao looked at him with her watery eyes, her voice soft and coquettish. How can this be considered bullying? This is called a loving caress. After saying that, Lin Xuan grabbed Li Menjiao's two small hands, making her unable to move, then used his other hand to tightly embrace her slender waist and kissed her affectionately. After playing around on the bed, both of them felt a little tired. Honey, what do you want to eat tonight? Do you want to cook at home or go out for dinner? Lin Xuan gently rubbed Li Menjiao's hair and asked softly. Li Menjiao narrowed her eyes slightly, as if she was still immersed in the sweetness just now, and replied softly, Eat at home. Food outside is not as delicious as my husband's cooking. Okay, let's take a nap first. Lin Xuan smiled slightly. Yet Tilda. Li Menjiao nodded obediently, then hugged Lin Xuan tightly and fell asleep with him. It was afternoon. After waking up, Lin Xuan went to the kitchen downstairs and began to prepare tonight's candlelight dinner himself. He carefully selects ingredients and cooks each dish with heart. Then Li Menjiao opened her beautiful eyes in a daze, and seeing that her husband was no longer around, she put on her slippers and walked to the kitchen with her calves clattering. She opened the kitchen door and showed a cute little head. Husband. When Lin Xuan heard the voice, he turned around and saw Li Menjiao wearing loose pajamas. Her hair was a little messy, but still beautiful. What's wrong? I'm preparing dinner. Lin Xuan replied with a smile. I want to help too. Li Menjiao walked into the kitchen lightly, then put her little hands around Lin Xuan's waist from behind and put her face against his back. Wife, do you want to sleep for a while? Lin Xuan asked gently, feeling the warmth of his wife. Li Menjiao shook her head gently, indicating that she didn't want to sleep anymore. Okay then, let's prepare a candlelight dinner together, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Okay, Tilda. Li Menjiao smiled sweetly. So the two began to divide the work and cooperate with each other. Lin Xuan was responsible for cooking, while Li Menjiao was responsible for cutting vegetables, washing vegetables, and other miscellaneous tasks. While they were busy, they exchanged their thoughts and feelings with each other, and laughter could be heard from time to time. Just like they carved wood together in the morning, they prepared a candlelight dinner of their own together in the afternoon. As time passed, night gradually fell. On the viewing terrace in front of the master bedroom of Haitian Yijing, Lin Xuan placed an exquisite dining table. He covered the dining table with a black tablecloth with gold patterns. This combination was both stylish and elegant, highlighting his noble temperament. Then he tied a bunch of pink tulips into a bouquet with a golden ribbon and placed it in the center of the dining table. Pink tulips symbolize beauty and love. Then Lin Xuan placed a row of small golden candles along the edge of the dining table and lit them one by one. The light of these candles flickers in the night, creating a warm and romantic atmosphere. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao brought the dishes to the table respectively. First up is the appetizer. The Italian ham slices are as thin as cicada wings and taste delicious. The fresh avocado and shrimp salad is refreshing and delicious, and the shrimp is tender and juicy. Next comes the soup. The rich and mellow cream of mushroom soup exudes an enticing aroma. The main course was placed in front of the two of them. The seared tomahawk steak, which was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, was mouth-watering. The foie gras and black truffle pasta was full of the unique flavor of high-quality ingredients. In addition, there are orange-scented Orleans grilled chicken wings as a side dish, with a golden and crispy skin and juicy inside. Because Li Menjiao was still breastfeeding and could not drink alcohol, the drinks were 2 bottles of freshly squeezed juice. Finally, add fruit tarts and durian pastry for dessert. Just like that, a sumptuous and exquisite candlelight dinner was finally ready. Li Menjiao happily took out a Nikon camera from the master bedroom and took pictures of the candlelight dinner in front of her. Lin Xuan looked at her quietly from the side, his eyes full of tenderness and love. Let's get started. After taking the photos, Li Menjiao put down the camera with satisfaction and pulled Lin Xuan to sit down. They sat together at the dining table and began to enjoy the carefully prepared dinner while appreciating the beautiful scenery before them. The waves in the distance beat against the rocks, creating layers of white foam. The night sky was dotted with twinkling stars, like bright gems inlaid in the black sky. The breeze brushed across the cheeks, bringing a hint of coolness and adding a bit of romance to the atmosphere. Wife, are you full? Lin Xuan saw that Li Menjiao had almost finished eating and showed a gentle smile. Yeah, I'm a little full from eating. Li Menjiao patted her stomach and said contentedly. Then let's go for a walk in the garden in front to help digest our food. Then Lin Xuan took Li Menjiao's hand and walked towards the back garden of Haitian Yijing. Along the way, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao talked and laughed, enjoying their own world. As they walked, they came to a sea of tulips. The colorful tulips bloom particularly brightly and emit bursts of charming fragrance. Lin Xuan suddenly stopped and gazed quietly at the beautiful sea of flowers. "Husband, why don't you leave?" Li Menjiao turned around and looked at Lin Xuan in confusion and asked. Lin Xuan smiled slightly, took out his phone and sent a voice message. "It's time to start." Following Lin Xuan's order, a buzzing sound suddenly came from the sky. Immediately afterwards, 999 drones took off at the same time, quickly forming a huge starry sky curtain in the air. Countless stars twinkled on the curtain, shining brightly, as if bringing the entire universe to a paradise on Earth. Chapter 304, Drone Show. The drones seemed to be endowed with life, changing their formations flexibly. First, the two big words Xuan and Meng were arranged, and then a heart pattern was surrounded outside. This pattern looked like a shining star, symbolizing the deep love between Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao. The drones then changed their formation again, forming a first anniversary slogan and adding many romantic roses and bows around it. "Hubby, this is." Li Menjiao was so surprised that her mouth couldn't close. She opened her eyes wide and looked at everything in front of her in disbelief. "Wife, take your time, this is just the beginning." Lin Xuan hugged Li Menjiao tightly and said with a smile. As the rhythm of the music gradually quickened, the drone show ushered in its first program, The Fate of Acquaintance. The drones quickly changed formation, showing a scene of a boy and a girl meeting in the hospital. The girl held the test report in her hand, tears streaming down her face, while the boy stood there blankly looking at her. The special effects of shooting stars around add a romantic and mysterious atmosphere. This was the first time Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao met. They were strangers to each other at that time, but fate brought them closely together. This was followed by the second drone show, Journey of Love. Countless drones began to change their formations constantly, dancing in the air. It successively formed scenes of the boy and girl holding hands for the first time, hugging for the first time, kissing for the first time, and sleeping in each other's arms for the first time. Each scene was accompanied by a gorgeous light show, making the whole scene more vivid. Then comes the proposal scene, which is the climax of the love story. The drones changed formation once again to recreate the moment of the proposal. There were flowers, candlelight, the ring was shining brightly, and there were falling rose petals around it. The boy was half kneeling, holding up the ring to propose to the girl, and the girl threw herself into the boy's arms. Next, the drone changed the scene back to the hospital, where the girl was lying on the bed, smiling weakly but happily, while the boy was sitting beside the bed, holding her hand, his eyes full of tenderness and love. They looked at the two adorable babies in the crib next to them, their faces filled with unspeakable joy. The birth of a new life brings them endless joy and hope, and also symbolizes that their family is more complete. Then the scene switched to a grand and dreamy wedding scene. The drone showed the gorgeous wedding dresses and gowns, the smiling faces of the guests, and the kiss between the two. These beautiful moments were frozen and became eternal memories. Afterwards, the drone showed a heartwarming scene of the couple's family life. The kitchen was filled with aromas as the boy and girl cooked dinner together. In the living room, they sat side by side on the sofa, sharing a good book. In the bedroom, they gently rocked the cradle to lull the baby to sleep. The whole picture is filled with warm lights, making people feel the peace and happiness of home. Finally, the drones converged into a beautiful seaside villa, and grand fireworks bloomed above the villa, lighting up the night sky. Against the backdrop of fireworks, the drone wrote the couple's love vows in the air with golden light. Unwavering commitment, love for a lifetime. These words are like the brightest stars in the night sky, shining with eternal light and witnessing their unwavering love. A half-hour drone show came to an end. This drone show perfectly depicted the entire process of Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao from meeting each other to falling in love, and then to forming a happy family. At this time, Li Menjiao was already moved to tears. Her eyes were red, and she hugged Lin Xuan tightly with both hands. "Wife, why are you losing your gold beans again?" Lin Xuan held Li Menjiao's fair cheeks and kept kissing the happy tears on her face, which tasted salty. "I am touched." Li Menjiao's face was filled with ripples of emotion, an emotion that could not be expressed in words. She stood on tiptoes, gently touched her forehead against Lin Xuan's, and then rubbed their faces back and forth, feeling each other's warmth. Her warm breath gently hit Lin Xuan's face, making his heart melt. "Okay, my face is now covered with your tears," Lin Xuan said with a smile, his eyes full of pampering. He reached out his hand and gently wiped away the tears from the corners of Li Menjiao's eyes, then hugged her tightly, as if he wanted to merge her into his body. HMPH, you dislike me, Li Menjiao pouted and said in pretending to be angry. How could that be? Lin Xuan was about to explain, but was interrupted by Li Menjiao. Li Menjiao suddenly raised her head and kissed him on the lips. The kiss lasted for a long time, as if time had stopped. Time passed quickly, and it was late night in the blink of an eye. After taking a shower, Lin Xuan walked out of the bathroom, but saw Li Menjiao curled up in the quilt, seeming a little shy. Lin Xuan didn't think much about it. He went to the dressing table, simply blew his wet hair, then climbed onto the bed, pulled open the quilt and got in. However, before he had time to see the situation around him clearly, Li Menjiao took the initiative to climb up and put herself softly into Lin Xuan's arms, covering Lin Xuan's eyes with her warm little hands. Wife, why are you covering my eyes? Lin Xuan was very curious and asked with a gentle smile on his lips. Li Menjiao gently leaned close to Lin Xuan's earlobe and replied shyly, because I changed into new pajamas today. When Lin Xuan heard this, his thoughts instantly became confused. In the following period of time, Lin Xuan's burden was suddenly lightened a lot because his mother-in-law Huang Shifeng helped take care of the two lovely babies at home. So he would go to the company from time to see if there was anything that needed to be dealt with. During this period, Lin Xuan left late several times, but every time he packed up and prepared to leave work, he would always notice that the dim light was still on in the marketing department's office upstairs. One night, Zhou Quan and Qiu Wise asked Lin Xuan to have a midnight snack together in Jinwen District. After the clock pointed to 11 o'clock, Lin Xuan had his midnight snack and drove home contentedly. On the way, he happened to pass by Jinwen Technology Co., Limited. Inadvertently, Lin Xuan discovered that only the sales department's lights were still dimly lit in the entire building. He couldn't help but feel a little curious. It's so late, why are there still people working overtime? Out of curiosity, Lin Xuan turned on the turn signal and drove the car into the company. Chapter 305, Guess What I'm Thinking Now. Hello, Mr. Lin? The security guard looked respectful, stood up straight and raised his right hand high. Thank you for your hard work. Lin Xuan lowered the car window and responded with a smile. After Lin Xuan entered the company lobby, the security guard couldn't help but sigh. Director Lin is really hardworking. He still comes to the company so late. Lin Xuan took the elevator to the marketing department on the 3rd floor. He walked into the department lobby and saw that the lights in the marketing manager's office were still bright. He walked towards the office, stood at the door, and looked over the glass wall. He saw Lu Hanwen staring intently at the computer screen in front of him, occasionally making some notes on his notebook. Lu Hanwen is tall and thin, with a refreshing short hair that is slightly parted to the side, showing a mature and steady temperament. Lin Xuan raised his hand and gently knocked on the office door. Boom, boom. The sudden knock on the door startled Lu Hanwen, who was originally concentrating, and he jumped up from his seat subconsciously. Mr. Lin. He opened his eyes wide with surprise. He had never expected to meet Lin Xuan in the company at this time. Lin Xuan walked forward slowly with a smile on his face and looked curiously at Lu Hanwen's computer screen, where he saw densely displayed information of various customers. Manager Lu, why are you still working overtime in the company so late? Lin Xuan looked at the man in front of him and asked with a smile. Lu Hanwen raised his head, with a trace of fatigue on his face, but still smiling. Director Lin, I came back late from the client today, so I am sorting out the customer information here and screening the customers who will come tomorrow. Lin Xuan nodded, then patted Lu Hanwen's shoulder gently. Wait a moment. After saying that, he turned and walked out of the office. After a while, Lin Xuan walked into the office again, holding 2 bottles of sugar-free cola in his hand, and said to Lu Hanwen with a smile, I won't drink tea this late, lest I can't sleep, so I'll grab 2 bottles of Diet Coke from the fridge and we can have a good chat. Lu Hanwen quickly stood up and took the Coke gratefully. Thank you, Director Lin. The two of them walked to the sofa in the office and sat down. Lin Xuan opened a bottle of Coke and took a sip. Mr. Lin, why are you still coming to the company so late? Lu Hanwen couldn't help but ask. I happened to pass by and saw that there was a light on in an office in the company building, so I came over to take a look out of curiosity, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Ha, Director Lin, I'll finish it quickly and go back right away, Lu Hanwen said with a smile. Manager Lu, what do you think of the current development of the company? Lin Xuan asked seriously. Currently, the company is developing very well under the leadership of President Lin, and the prospects are very broad. I think it can develop to a higher level, not just the current software development. Lu Hanwen replied after thinking for a moment. Be more specific, for example, in which aspects? Lin Xuan asked with interest. For example, we can enter the mobile phone industry, which currently has a large market space and huge potential. With our company's current strength, if we enter the mobile phone industry, we will definitely achieve something. After all, we are in the software business and have a certain foundation in technology and innovation. But Lu Hanwen hesitated. But what? It doesn't matter. Go on. Lin Xuan encouraged him to continue. If we enter the mobile phone industry, the hardware is far behind, which is a big problem. Lu Hanwen replied with difficulty. Ha ha ha, you have a lot of ideas, but don't think too far ahead. Let's talk about the future later. Let's stabilize our basic foundation first. Lin Xuan smiled slightly. Okay, by the way, Mr. Lin, I heard that we are planning to move to a new office building. Lu Hanwen asked curiously. Yes, we are already preparing to move there one after another. Lin Xuan replied with a smile. Then Lin Xuan continued to chat briefly with Lu Hanwen about the company's situation. Finally, he patted Lu Hanwen on the shoulder. Hanwen, are you familiar with Haitian district in Jinghai City? Lin Xuan suddenly asked. That's very familiar. I grew up there, Lu Hanwen said proudly. That's good. Don't work too late. Go back as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will get hurt and I will lose a capable person. Lin Xuan reminded with a smile. Okay, Mr. Lin, I'll go back right away. Lu Hanwen nodded gratefully. So the two of them walked out of the company building together and drove away separately. Lin Xuan was thinking while driving. Lu Hanwen not only has outstanding workability, but is also upright and strong-willed, which makes him very satisfied in all aspects. Half an hour later, Lin Xuan finally returned to the Haitian Yijing villa. He gently pushed open the door, and Li Menjiao, as always, took small steps and threw herself into his arms, saying gently, "Husband is back." "Well, I'm back." Lin Xuan gently stroked Li Menjiao's hair and said with a smile. At night, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao lay in bed hugging each other. Li Menjiao narrowed her beautiful eyes slightly and asked curiously, "Husband, why did you come back so late today?" "I went back to the company," Lin Xuan said. Li Menjiao was a little surprised when she heard this answer and asked quickly, "Ah, honey, didn't you go out for a midnight snack? Why did you go back to the company?" She suddenly thought of something, blinked mischievously, pretended to be surprised and covered her mouth with her hands, and said jokingly, "Could it be that he is with that female secretary?" When Lin Xuan heard this, he couldn't help laughing. He stretched out his fingers and gently pinched Li Menjiao's face and said with a smile, "Wife, what are you thinking about?" "Huh." Li Menjiao pouted and said coquettishly, "Hubby, I was just joking. Stop pinching my face." Seeing this, Lin Xuan let go of his hand and hugged Li Menjiao tightly in his arms. "Honey, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust others. Who made you have a beautiful secretary? What if she seduces my husband?" Li Menjiao pouted, looking aggrieved. "However, the last time I saw her in your office, I dispelled this suspicion." Li Menjiao gently rubbed her little face that had just been pinched and said in a tone that she was right. "Why?" Lin Xuan asked with a smile. "Because I can see from her eyes that her admiration for you is greater than her love for you," Li Menjiao said with a serious expression and a firm tone. "Can you tell from his eyes?" Lin Xuan asked with some doubt and surprise. "Of course, husband, don't underestimate women's intuition," Li Menjiao said proudly while lying on Lin Xuan's chest. "Ha ha ha, after all this talk, it turns out it was your intuition, my wife." Lin Xuan couldn't help but laugh out loud. "My husband doesn't believe it." Li Menjiao raised her head and pouting cutely. "Then look at your husband's eyes and guess what I'm thinking now." Lin Xuan showed his signature smile, with a cunning light flashing in his eyes. Li Menjiao took a closer look and thought to herself that something was wrong. "I'm going to sleep. Good night, husband Tilda." After saying that, she quickly moved to the other side of the bed, closed her eyes and pretended to be asleep. "Want to escape? No way." Lin Xuan chuckled, hugged Li Menjiao tightly from behind, used both hands to bend her soft body back, then lowered his head and gently kissed her tender red lips. Chapter 306, Babies Can Eat Complementary Food. Time passed quietly, and before we knew it, Dabo and Xiaobo have been in this world for 6 months. Early in the morning of that day, the sunlight shone through the curtains onto the bed. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao were enjoying a warm time with the babies. "Xiaobo, come here to Mommy Tilda." Li Menjiao sat on the edge of the bed, calling softly and clapping her hands gently. When Xiaobo heard his mother's familiar voice, he immediately became excited. Using his round belly as a support point, he twisted his body like a cute big insect. His little arms and legs kept moving on the bed, but after trying for a long time, he only moved a short distance. "Ha ha ha, hubby, look, Xiaobo is trying hard to learn how to crawl." Li Menjiao laughed out loud at Xiaobo's cute appearance. "Well, it seems that I'm not very good at it yet." Lin Xuan also sat on the bed, holding Dabo in his arms, and responded with a smile. At this moment, Dabo was sitting steadily on his father's lap with his back to Lin Xuan's belly. The little guy seemed to have discovered something new. His big eyes blinked, he waved his little hands, and his face was filled with a bright smile. Now Dabo and Xiaobo have learned to sit and stand, but crawling still needs some more practice. Soon it was 10 o'clock in the morning. Lin Xuan came down from upstairs and walked into the kitchen to prepare to count the ingredients for lunch. However, just as he reached the kitchen door, the door of the Haitian Yijing villa was suddenly opened. "Dad, Mom, why are you here?" Lin Xuan looked at his parents at the door in surprise. Lin Zhengguo and Zhang Xulan stood at the door, both with a serious look on their faces. Zhang Xulan, in particular, had a stern face. "Son, where is Sissy?" Zhang Xulan asked with a hint of dissatisfaction in her tone. Still sleeping upstairs," Lin Xuan answered truthfully. "Okay, she's still sleeping in. I'll wait for her to come down in the living room." As Zhang Xulan spoke, she walked straight into the living room and sat on the sofa waiting. Lin Xuan felt sorry for his sister silently for a second. Half an hour later, Lin Sissy finally came down from the stairs. She slowly took the villa elevator downstairs, rubbing her eyes, looking like she had not yet woken up. "Brother, what are we having for breakfast today?" Lin Sissy asked while yawning. "We're still having breakfast. Let's get ready for lunch." A familiar voice came from the living room. "That's fine, brother. Remember to make lunch early. I'm hungry." As Lin Sissy spoke, she opened her eyes and looked around, only to find two people sitting in the living room. They were Lin Zhengguo and Zhang Xulan, and they were looking at her angrily. Lin Sissy suddenly became much more sober and felt a little weak. "Dad, Mom, why did you come here suddenly?" Lin Sissy's calves moved back unconsciously. "Is it fun to run away from home?" Zhang Xulan looked at Lin Sissy with a fake smile, anger flashing in her eyes. "Mom, I was wrong." Lin Sissy realized that the situation was not good, so she turned around and ran. "Sissy, where are you running to? I'm going to teach you a lesson." Zhang Xulan also chased after him. Lin Sissy was running desperately in front, and Zhang Xulan was chasing closely behind. The two staged a chase in the villa of Haitian Yijing. In the end, the matter ended with Lin Sissy making a self-criticism on the sofa in front of the whole family. During lunch, Huang Shifeng and Zhang Xulan held Dabo and Xiaobo respectively, and the family gathered together happily. At this time, the babies can no longer suppress their desire for delicious food while we are eating. Ayaya Tilda, Dabo kept waving his arms at the delicious food in front of him, making unclear sounds with his mouth. "Dabo, do you want to eat? But you can't eat yet. You need to grow a little bigger," Zhang Xulan said gently. "Mom, can the baby eat some complimentary food at 6 months old?" Li Menjiao asked curiously. "Yes, you can first eat some simple and easy-to-digest complementary foods, such as pureed vegetables, mashed potatoes, and pureed yam," Zhang Xulan explained patiently. "I'll go make some mashed potatoes for the babies now," Lin Xuan said with a smile, then got up and went back to the kitchen. He took out a few fresh potatoes from the refrigerator, washed them carefully, peeled them skillfully, then cut the potatoes into small pieces and steamed them in a steamer over high heat. After a while, a faint aroma of potatoes filled the kitchen. Next, he placed the potatoes in a large bowl and used a masher to gently mash them into a fine paste. Finally, he added some soaked milk powder and stirred it evenly with a spoon. This way, the mashed potatoes will be of a consistency that is suitable for babies to swallow. Lin Xuan tasted the mashed potatoes he made. It was sweet and delicious, with a delicate and smooth texture. Then he brought out a bowl of mashed potatoes. Li Menjiao took the bowl with a smile, gently held Dabo in her arms, picked up a small spoon, scooped up a small mouthful of mashed potatoes, blew it gently, and then took a sip of it to her lips to ensure that the temperature was just right and would not scald the baby. She said to Dabo gently, "Dabo, come, try this." Dabo blinked his bright big eyes and opened his little mouth slightly. Li Menjiao carefully put the mashed potatoes into his little mouth. Dabo's little tongue moved tentatively, as if savoring the new taste. Li Menjiao stared at Dabo's expression nervously, her heart filled with uneasiness. Dabo's eyes suddenly lit up, and his little mouth moved as if to say, "Mom, it's delicious." At that moment, a happy and relieved smile appeared on Li Menjiao's face, and her eyes were shining with the light of maternal love. "Wow, yes, Tilda." At this time, the little treasure in Zhang Xulan's arms saw his sister eating with relish, while he could only stare blankly. He pouted his little mouth and let out a loud cry. "Oh, Xiaobo has food too. Mommy will feed you." Then Lin Xuan brought Xiaobo over and sat next to Li Menjiao. Li Menjiao gently scooped up a small mouthful of mashed potatoes and gently brought it to Xiaobo's mouth. The little treasure opened his mouth, held the spoon, and sucked it with his little mouth. His crying face, after tasting the delicious mashed potatoes, seemed to have discovered a new world and showed a happy smile. The whole family just watched this heartwarming scene quietly. Chapter 307, Sea Fishing Trip. In the afternoon, sunlight shone into the room through the gaps in the curtains, and Lin Xuan slowly woke up. He slowly opened his eyes, looked down at his wife who was hugging him tightly like an octopus, and a happy smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Lin Xuan gently tried to pry open Li Menjiao's hands that were tightly around him and prepared to get up from the bed. But as soon as he moved, the little hands quickly hugged him back. Li Menjiao's little mouth was still smacking and mumbling, "Don't leave." Seeing this, Lin Xuan leaned close to Li Menjiao's ear and blew gently, then said softly, "Hubby is not leaving, he just got up to go to the bathroom." After that, he took the opportunity to kiss her fair and smooth cheek. Li Menjiao felt itchy because of him, so she turned over and slept on the other side of the bed. Lin Xuan then stood up with a smile and walked into the bathroom. After going to the toilet, Lin Xuan strolled to the viewing terrace in front of the master bedroom, overlooking the entire villa garden and the charming coastline in front. At this moment, the sky is clear and blue, like a huge sapphire, with a few soft white clouds floating leisurely, like cotton candy. The sea breeze caresses your face, bringing the unique fresh scent of the ocean, as if gently touching your heartstrings. This kind of weather is very suitable for sea fishing. "Dad, do you want to go fishing?" Lin Xuan lay back on the bed, tapping his fingers quickly on the screen of his mobile phone to send the message. "Son, where are we going fishing?" Lin Zhengguo replied quickly. "Of course it's sea fishing." Lin Xuan raised the corners of his mouth slightly and continued typing on the keyboard. "What are you waiting for? Let's go." Lin Zhengguo's tone sounded very excited. Lin Xuan looked at his father's reply, and a smile appeared on his face. However, he did not realize that there was a lovely figure behind him, secretly looking at his mobile phone screen. Just as Lin Xuan was about to get up, Li Menjiao hugged him from behind. Lin Xuan turned his head and saw Li Menjiao's beautiful face with a hint of mischief. "Honey, do you want to go fishing?" Li Menjiao asked softly. "Well, let's go sea fishing with Dad." Lin Xuan came back to his senses and couldn't help but kiss Li Menjiao's beautiful lips. Li Menjiao groaned and said coquettishly, "Hubby, I want to go too." "That's great, let's go together," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Since buying his luxurious Riva 88 yacht, he has yet to take his family on a cruise. Afterwards, the two got up, changed their clothes, and went to the living room downstairs in the villa together. Zhang Xiulan and Huang Shifeng were both ready to go together, but Lin Sissy was not very willing. "What's so interesting about fishing? I won't go." Hearing this, Lin Xuan smiled slightly. "There is a yacht to sail." I'll go." When Lin Sissy heard there was a yacht available, she instantly changed her mind and shouted happily. So the family set out from the Haitian Yajing Villa and headed towards the bay ahead. From a distance, you can see a luxurious Riva 88 yacht quietly moored there. "Wow, brother, is this big yacht yours too?" Lin Sissy pointed at the yacht excitedly, with surprise flashing in her eyes. "Is it still yours?" Lin Xuan rubbed Lin Sissy's head and said with a smile. "Wow, son, your yacht is so majestic," Lin Zhengguo exclaimed. At this time, Zhang Xiulan and Huang Shifeng also had shocked looks on their faces. "Let's all go up," Lin Xuan said with a smile. He then led his family on board the luxurious Riva 88 yacht. The family was on the deck, enjoying the beautiful sea view and feeling the sea breeze, feeling particularly relaxed. The yacht has a living room and rooms where you can rest. Lin Xuan introduced the facilities of the yacht to his family. Then he took them to the yacht's spacious living room, which was fully equipped. Comfortable sofas, high-definition TVs, top-level sound systems, etc. all make people feel as comfortable as being in a warm home. Of course, Dabo and Zaya Abba were also brought on the yacht. At this moment, Dabo snuggled obediently in his grandmother's arms, looking around curiously at the new sights. In contrast, Zaya Abba was drowsy in his grandmother's arms. "My dad and I will go to the cockpit to drive the yacht," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Then he and his father Lin Zhengguo came to the cockpit of the luxurious Riva 88 yacht. After a careful inspection, he started the engine and slowly sailed towards the designated calm sea area. Lin Sissy excitedly ran out of the yacht's living room, lay on the fence, and admired the magnificent sea in front of her with joy. It was her first time to ride on such a luxurious yacht, and she was filled with excitement. The same was true for Huang Shifeng. She even went out to sea on a yacht for the first time in her life. She was particularly happy when she saw the clear blue sea around her. It didn't take long for Lin Xuan to drive the yacht to a calm and pleasant sea area. Then he and his father walked to the yacht's warehouse, carefully selected several suitable fishing rods and various baits prepared in advance, and then went to the stern to start the fishing trip. Meanwhile, the ladies sat at ease in the luxurious living room, savoring delicious snacks, sipping tea and chatting. The babies crawled happily on the sofa. An hour passed quietly. Li Menjiao and Lin Sissy walked out of the living room and went straight to the stern, observing their battle curiously. At this time, Lin Xuan brought a pair of sunglasses from somewhere, which looked quite handsome in them, while Lin Zhengguo was wearing a sun hat. Lin Sissy was the first to check her father's bucket and found a sea bass weighing 10 kilograms in it. Then she looked at her brother's bucket and couldn't help but exclaimed, "Oh, brother, you are too weak. You only caught a few small fish." Lin Xuan responded nonchalantly, "I call this playing the long game to catch a big fish." Lin Sissy was too lazy to listen to her brother's bragging, so she stepped back, took out her cell phone, and started taking pictures of the surroundings with great interest. "Hubby, come on." At this moment, Li Menjiao walked to Lin Xuan and encouraged him softly. "Don't worry, honey, I'll make you a fish feast tonight." Lin Xuan smiled, and while no one around was paying attention, he turned around and secretly kissed Li Menjiao, making her blush. Chapter 308, Secret Cake Making Recipe. In the following hours, Lin Xuan and Lin Zhengguo were fishing, from afternoon to evening. They sat leisurely in the yacht on the sea, holding the fishing rods lightly, their hearts following the waves. At this moment, the sky looked like an overturned palette, and the sunset glow was like a dreamy dance, wantonly coloring the boundless sky. The touches of orange, gold, and deep purple intertwined with each other, like burning flames or fluttering silk. The setting sun is like a huge golden ball, slowly sinking to the west, casting a brilliant golden light on the sea, sparkling and dreamy. Although Lin Xuan caught some fish in his fish bucket, they were all medium-sized, and there were no particularly big fish. Just as he was about to put away his fishing rod and finish fishing, suddenly, the rod in his hand began to shake violently. "Dad, it seems like a big guy has taken the bait," Lin Xuan shouted excitedly. At the same time, Lin Zhengguo was preparing to put away his fishing rod. After hearing his son's call, he immediately put down what he was doing and quickly walked to his son to help. Lin Xuan slowly reeled in the line and started a protracted war of attrition with the big fish. When the big fish gradually lost its strength, Lin Xuan and Lin Zhengguo seized the opportunity, exerted their strength suddenly, and finally succeeded in pulling a beautiful mackerel out of the sea. Lin Zhengguo was quick-witted and quickly caught the mackerel into the fishing net. "It's really big. I estimate it weighs about 15 kilograms, Lin Zhengguo said with a smile on his face. Lin Xuan turned around and looked at the two buckets that were already filled with various fish and said with a smile, "Ha ha, I can enjoy a sumptuous fish feast tonight." These fish include Spanish mackerel, sea bass, tiger fish, eel, grouper, etc., with a wide variety of species. All of them are species that comply with relevant regulations and are allowed for sea fishing. Lin Xuan and Lin Zhengguo happily returned to the living room of the yacht carrying their rich spoils. "Wow, you actually caught so many fish," Lin Sissy exclaimed in surprise. "It looks like we're in for a treat tonight," Huang Shifeng also said with a smile. "Are you all hungry? Dad and I will go to the kitchen and make a fish feast for everyone," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Then he and his father walked towards the kitchen and started to get busy. They skillfully handled the fresh fish that had just been caught from the sea, with their movements smooth and natural. For this kind of fresh seafood, except for eels which are suitable for grilling, other fish are directly steamed to preserve their freshness to the greatest extent. As time passed, night gradually fell, and the surroundings fell into complete darkness. From afar, all you can see is a luxury yacht rippling steadily in the inky black sea, like a shining pearl inlaid on this endless black canvas. After Lin Xuan and Lin Zhengguo carefully prepared the whole fish feast, they brought up a huge plate with great care. "Dinner is ready, dinner is ready," Lin Xuan shouted excitedly. The main course is the fragrant grilled eel rice, paired with a variety of steamed seafood, which is mouth-watering. When Li Menjiao saw that the table was filled with her favorite fish, a happy smile appeared on her face. Afterwards, the family sat together and happily enjoyed this sumptuous dinner. The whole atmosphere was filled with warmth and joy. This moment may be the most enjoyable and satisfying moment for every angler. After returning home at night, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao coaxed the babies to sleep, then lay back in bed and prepared to sleep. The two snuggled together, and just when Lin Xuan was about to fall asleep, the system's voice suddenly rang again. At this moment, the system's voice sounded again. "Ding dong, congratulations to the host on completing the 6th month of accompanying the babies. A cash reward of 10 million yuan, triggering a 2x critical strike. totaling 20 million yuan, has been transferred to the host's bank card through formal and legal means. Please check. At the same time, a hidden reward is triggered and a secret cake-making recipe is included. Please check it. Following the system's prompt, a stream of magical knowledge broke into Lin Xuan's mind. He was surprised to find that these cake recipes were not only unique in appearance, but also used some special ingredients to make the cakes taste richer, more delicate in texture, and more intense in aroma. Lin Xuan smiled slightly. An idea already came to his mind. In this case, you can open a cake shop. The cakes made with these secret recipes will definitely be very popular. The next day, Zhang Xuelin and Lin Zhengguo packed their luggage and prepared to return to Yunhai City. "Sissy, let's go back together," Zhang Xuelin said to her daughter Lin Sissy. "Mom, I won't go back," Lin Sissy said in a low voice, hiding behind Li Menjiao. Zhang Xuelin frowned and said seriously, "It's okay if you don't go back, but you can't stay at home all day long, sleeping and playing games. You have to find something meaningful to do." Lin Sissy nodded and responded obediently. "Okay, then I'll go out and find a part-time job." "That's fine, let's go back." Zhang Xuelin nodded with satisfaction at this answer. Lin Zhengguo drove to the gate of the villa, and Zhang Xuelin waved goodbye after getting in the car. Looking at her parents leaving backs, Lin Sissy breathed a sigh of relief, happily went to the game room downstairs, and couldn't wait to start playing. Seeing this, Lin Xuan shook his head helplessly and reminded, "Sister, didn't you say you wanted to find a part-time job?" While concentrating on the game, Lin Sissy casually replied, "Why are you in such a hurry? We'll talk about it tomorrow." As a result, the next day, Lin Sissy really drove out early in the morning. She came to a tutoring institution in Haitian district. The boss of this tutoring institution is an older sister with a gentle face and a sweet smile. She smiled and asked Lin Sissy, "Hello, which subject are you going to interview for?" Lin Sissy smiled slightly and replied politely, "It's all right. Here is my college entrance examination transcript and the admission letter from Jinghai University. Please take a look." As she said that, she handed the documents in her hand to the other party. Yili took the document, took a closer look, and was immediately stunned. It turns out that Lin Sissy is the top scorer in Yunhai City's college entrance examination, and is also among the top 5 in the entire province. "Hello," seeing Yili stunned, Lin Sissy gently stretched out her little hand and waved it in front of her eyes. "Ah, sorry, well, congratulations, let's talk about cooperation." Yili came back to her senses, and a surprised smile appeared on her face. "Well, don't I have to take a written test like them?" Lin Sissy asked curiously. She saw that everyone who came here for an interview before had to take a test. "No, you are so outstanding that you don't need to be tested again," Yili explained with a smile. "Then how do we calculate our salary?" Lin Sissy asked. "According to our highest offer, 300 yuan per hour, how about that?" Yili said. 300 yuan an hour is more than many people's daily salary. "Deal," Lin Sissy said happily. Chapter 309, Chubby People Are Cute. So Lin Sissy gloriously became a teacher in an institution. She was responsible for providing one-on-one tutoring services to high school students and only had to work about half a day every day. At lunch, when Lin Xuan learned that his sister would be working as a part-time teacher at a tutoring institution, he asked in surprise, "Sister, with your carefree personality, can you teach well?" While Lin Sissy was trying hard to eat, she confidently retorted, "HMPH, don't underestimate me. High school knowledge is so simple, I can teach you easily. Remember to share your first pot of gold with your brother." Lin Xuan joked with a smile. Lin Sissy stuck out her tongue at him mischievously and said, "No, I'm going to give my first pot of gold to my sister-in-law, not to you." Li Menjiao on the side smiled gently and said, "Sissy, your brother won't take your money." During lunch break, Lin Sissy lay on the bed thinking to herself, "Although my brother would play pranks on me occasionally, he was always nice to me in other aspects. When you make your first pot of gold in life, treat everyone to a meal to celebrate." Thinking of this, Lin Sissy felt extremely happy and soon fell into a sweet dream. Time flies, and a week has passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Lin Sissy finally earned her first income in her life. Her salary for tutoring is settled on a weekly basis, and this time she received a total of more than 8,000 yuan. For Lin Sissy, who had just earned her first pot of gold in her life, this money undoubtedly made her extremely excited. After get off work, she rushed to the nearby supermarket without hesitation and bought a large amount of ingredients that she and her sister-in-law liked. Then she happily drove the honky Goya back to the Haitian Yijing villa. "I'm back, brother, come and help me." As soon as she entered the door, Lin Sissy shouted loudly to Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan came over when he heard the sound, and seeing Lin Sissy holding a huge shopping bag in each hand, He hurried forward to help take them. You have so many things, what did you buy? Lin Xuan asked curiously. Hey, these are all the ingredients for tonight, and I bought them with my first week's salary. Brother, please go to the kitchen and cook a sumptuous dinner to reward us. Lin Sissy smiled and handed 2 heavy shopping bags to Lin Xuan. The sun rises from the west. Lin Xuan took a look and saw that they were all Lin Sissy's favorite foods, as well as his wife's favorite foods. So Lin Xuan walked into the kitchen with the shopping bag and started to get busy. Lin Sissy dragged her exhausted body to sit on the sofa in the living room, mumbling, I'm so tired. At this time, Li Menjiao was taking care of the babies on the sofa. When she saw Lin Sissy walk into the living room, she gently stood up, walked to the refrigerator, took out a bottle of fresh juice and handed it to Lin Sissy and asked with concern, Sissy, how do you feel about working part-time? Is it interesting? Lin Sissy took the juice and replied with a smile, Sister-in-law, part-time work is not bad. The students I teach have a good foundation, so most of the time they can understand it immediately. Just then, Dabo noticed that her aunt had come back, and she began to wriggle excitedly, crawling slowly towards Lin Sissy like a little bug. Come on, Dabo, come to your aunt. Lin Sissy clapped her hands encouragingly and watched Dabo crawling hard with a smile. After some effort, Dabo finally crawled to his aunt's side and showed a satisfied smile. Dabo is so amazing. Lin Sissy happily hugged Dabo and kissed her on the cheek affectionately. As night fell, Lin Xuan carefully prepared a sumptuous dinner based on the ingredients purchased by Lin Sissy. The table was filled with delicious dishes, including seafood fried rice, lobster bisque, grilled tomahawk steak, French baked cod, fried chicken and fries, and many other tempting delicacies. The family sat together, happily enjoying this sumptuous dinner, with laughter and warmth filling the whole room. For a period of time afterwards, Lin Xuan went to the company almost every day to deal with matters concerning the company's expansion and relocation. The babies are growing up under the careful care of Li Menjiao and Huang Shifeng. After half a month, you can try eating fruit as a complementary food. The sunlight poured into the room through the window, illuminating Li Menjiao's busy figure. She was in the kitchen carefully preparing a bowl of special food, mashed avocado, for her 2 little babies at home. Avocados are known as superfoods. They are rich in vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats, and have many benefits for your baby's growth and development. Li Menjiao peeled and cored the ripe avocado, mashed it into a fine paste with a spoon, then added an appropriate amount of formula milk and stirred evenly. When she brought the bowl to the living room, Dabo and Zaya Aba were lying on the sofa, looking around curiously. Li Menjiao sat on the edge of the bed, gently scooped up a spoonful of avocado puree, and handed it to the babies' mouths. Dabo was the first to taste this unusual flavor. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he showed an expression of surprise. Then Zaya Aba also felt this novel taste, and fluttered his limbs excitedly, wanting to have another bite. Don't worry, there's food for everyone, Li Menjiao said with a smile. She fed each baby patiently, and looking at their satisfied expressions, her heart was filled with happiness. Just then, Lin Xuan came home from get off work. The moment he opened the door, he was moved by the warm scene in front of him. He whispered, I'm back. Li Menjiao turned around, her eyes full of tenderness. Husband, you are back. Lin Xuan walked into the living room, looked at the cute babies, and asked with a smile, Are Dabo and Zaya Aba well behaved today? Li Menjiao smiled and replied, They are all very well behaved. I made avocado puree for them today, and they all rushed to eat it, especially Zaya Aba. He will definitely be a foodie when he grows up. Lin Xuan picked up Zaya Aba and looked at his chubby little face carefully. Zaya Aba also blinked his big eyes and looked at his father. Won't you grow up to be a little fat boy? Lin Xuan said jokingly. Li Menjiao patted Lin Xuan's shoulder gently and said softly, It's good that you can grow up healthy. Chubby ones are cute. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye it is a night in August. Lin Xuan held Li Menjiao in his arms, and they both lay quietly on the bed. Li Menjiao had fallen asleep exhausted, but Lin Xuan's mind was still active. Tomorrow is my wife's birthday, but all day long she didn't ask as usual. Honey, do you know what day tomorrow is? This made Lin Xuan feel a little confused. Could it be that his wife forgot his birthday? Lin Xuan felt that this might be a small test for his wife. No matter what, he was ready for tomorrow. He looked at Li Menjiao, who was lying in his arms. She had long eyelashes, a fair oval face, and a flawless appearance with a soft halo. Lin Xuan gently kissed Li Menjiao's forehead, and then fell into a sweet dream with her. Chapter 310, Xuanmeng Building. Time passes quietly, and after dawn a new day comes. The sunlight shines into the room through the curtains, creating a warm scene. Li Menjiao's long eyebrows trembled slightly. She slowly opened her beautiful eyes and saw Lin Xuan looking at her gently at first glance. His eyes were full of love and care, which made Li Menjiao feel warm in her heart. "Honey, why did you get up so early today?" Li Menjiao gently rubbed her eyes with her small and delicate hands, her voice soft and sweet. "Wife, I'm going to take you to the company today," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Why would I go to your company for no reason?" Li Menjiao blinked her beautiful eyes in confusion and said with a smile. Looking at his wife's cute and adorable appearance, Lin Xuan couldn't help but hug Li Menjiao tightly in his arms, then lowered his head and kissed her affectionately a few times, and said with a happy smile on his face, "Wife, do you really not know what day it is today?" "What day?" Li Menjiao frowned slightly and tried to recall, but no special memory emerged in her mind. So she reached for her phone on the bedside table. She usually recorded important days on the calendar on her phone to remind herself, but the little hand that was stretched out was caught by Lin Xuan. "Wife, think about it carefully," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Li Menjiao had no choice but to lie on Lin Xuan obediently, close her eyes, and recall the past with all her heart. "My husband's birthday? No, that's in November." Finally, she shook her head gently. "Honey, I can't remember." Lin Xuan looked at his lovely wife in front of him, his heart full of doting. He held her face, kissed her gently, and then said softly, "Baby, today is your birthday." Hearing these words, Li Menjiao's beautiful big eyes gradually widened, as if she had just woken up from a dream, and then a sweet smile appeared at the corners of her mouth. "My husband remembers it so clearly. Of course, which time have I not remembered? Huh!" Lin Xuan put his forehead against Li Menjiao's, feeling his wife's soft breath and faint fragrance. "Then why are we going to the company for?" Li Menjiao raised her head and asked curiously. "You'll know when you get there," Lin Xuan replied with a smile. "HMPH, so mysterious," Li Menjiao said coquettishly. Afterwards, the two got up, washed, and after breakfast, Lin Xuan drove the hunky Goya to the door of the villa. Li Menjiao elegantly opened the passenger door and got in. It was August in Jinghai City at this time, and the early autumn weather brought a hint of freshness. Li Menjiao is wearing a purple taro-colored knitted cardigan today, paired with an embroidered milky white dress. The purple taro color gives people a gentle and peaceful feeling. The cardigan was soft in texture and fitted the curves of her body, showing off her slender figure. The embroidered cream white dress underneath has delicate embroidery patterns that add a touch of elegance and romance. The overall outfit has harmonious color matching, which is both fresh and textured. When Lin Xuan saw this, he couldn't help but move forward and give her a kiss. "Oh, kissed you again, I just put on lipstick," Li Menjiao scolded angrily. "Honey, you look so good today. Put on lipstick in the car, I'll drive slowly," Lin Xuan said. Li Menjiao snorted, but still happily pulled down the passenger seat mirror and began to apply lipstick carefully. Which girl doesn't like to be praised, let alone by her beloved husband? Lin Xuan started the car and slowly drove away from the Haitian Yijing villa. "Hubby, didn't you say you were going to the company?" Li Menjiao looked at the scenery outside the car window and felt that this road was not heading towards Jinwen district. She turned her head in confusion and looked at Lin Xuan, who was driving beside her. "I'm going to a company, but not the one in Jinwen district." Lin Xuan smiled slightly. "Which one is that?" Li Menjiao asked. Lin Xuan did not answer directly, but stretched out his finger to point forward. Li Menjiao looked in the direction of his finger and saw a unique spiral business building standing in the distance. As the car got closer, the full picture of the building gradually appeared before them. When the car approached the building, Li Menjiao finally saw the sign above the gate, which clearly read, Xuanmeng Technology Co., Limited. This name gave her a sense of familiarity, because Xuanmeng was composed of her and Lin Xuan's names. "Hubby, did you really change the name of the company to Xuanmeng?" Li Menjiao exclaimed in surprise, and at the same time checked the map on her phone and found that this place was indeed marked as Xuanmeng Building. "Yeah, don't you like it?" Lin Xuan smiled and nodded, and the car drove into Xuanmeng Building and stopped steadily. "I like it." Li Menjiao came to Lin Xuan's legs and hugged him face to face. "My husband always gives me surprises, and I like it very much." Li Menjiao rubbed her little face against Lin Xuan and said gently, "Honey, will your employees protest? Like put up banners or something like that?" Li Menjiao suddenly remembered this question, raised her head and asked curiously. Lin Xuan laughed out loud when he saw how cute his wife was. Now that the company has moved into a new office building and the employees' salaries have increased several times compared to before, why are they holding banners in protest? Lin Xuan said with a smile. "That's true." Li Menjiao nodded and continued to stick close to Lin Xuan. Okay, let's go up and take a look. It would be embarrassing if someone saw us like this, Lin Xuan reminded. Now my husband knows how to be shy. Li Menjiao winked mischievously and said jokingly. Okay then, let's kiss for a while before going up. Lin Xuan gave a wicked smile. No, no. Li Menjiao quickly pushed Lin Xuan away, opened the car door and got out. Otherwise, she would have to reapply lipstick. Then Lin Xuan got out of the car, gently took Li Menjiao's hand, and walked into Xuanmeng building together. As soon as she entered the building, Li Menjiao was attracted by the magnificent hall in front of her, her face full of amazement. Good morning, Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin, the lady at the front desk said respectfully. Good morning, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao responded with a smile. Then the two of them walked towards the elevator, heading directly for the chairman's office on the 30th floor. People were entering and exiting the elevator one after another. Every time the door opened, someone would respectfully call out, Good morning, Director Lin and Mrs. Director Lin. Li Menjiao felt embarrassed after hearing this. Soon, the elevator arrived at the 30th floor. Lin Xuan took Li Menjiao out of the elevator and came to the door of the chairman's office. He gently pushed the door open and walked in with Li Menjiao. Wow, what a big office, Li Menjiao exclaimed. Chapter 311. This is my seat. Please move aside. This will be our office in the future, Lin Xuan said with a smile. He then took Li Menjiao to visit the chairman's office. After the tour, Li Menjiao stood by the window, looked at the spacious balcony outside, stretched out her slender fingers and tapped lightly. Honey, I want to go to the balcony and take a look. Lin Xuan frowned slightly and asked in confusion, Wife, aren't you afraid of heights? He still remembered the fear Li Menjiao showed when they went to climb Yunchen together last time. Li Menjiao blinked and smiled. It's okay, I'll just hold you tight. Lin Xuan smiled slightly, took Li Menjiao's hand and walked to the balcony outside together. They were on the 30th floor of a building with a wide view, overlooking the beautiful scenery of the Haitian district of Jinghai City and the intoxicating bay. As the sun shines, the sea surface sparkles and shines with golden light. The breeze in early autumn was not strong, but it was still a bit chilly at a height of 30 floors. Li Menjiao hugged Lin Xuan's waist tightly with both hands and pressed her cheek against his broad chest, feeling his warm body temperature and heartbeat. The wind blew gently, blowing Li Menjiao's hair onto Lin Xuan's face, bringing a hint of itchiness and a faint fragrance. It's so beautiful here. Li Menjiao squinted her eyes and admired the magnificent scenery before her. Lin Xuan hugged Li Menjiao tightly and smiled happily. Okay, I've seen enough, let's go back. Li Menjiao raised her head slightly, opened her red lips, kissed Lin Xuan's cheek, and showed a sweet smile. Okay, Lin Xuan responded softly, gently took Li Menjiao's hand and took her back to the office. Just as they walked into the office, the receptionist happened to bring over the carefully prepared snacks. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, please enjoy your meal, the waiter said respectfully. Thank you. Li Menjiao nodded politely and responded with a smile. Lin Xuan thought that since he was already here, he might as well go over the company documents. So he walked to the solemn and domineering chairman's desk, sat down slowly, and began to browse the documents on the table attentively. Li Menjiao sat quietly on the sofa beside her, savoring the delicious snacks in small bites. From time to time, she looked back at Lin Xuan, who was working hard, and couldn't help but take out her mobile phone to secretly take a few pictures. Lin Xuan seemed to have noticed something. He raised his head with a faint smile on his face and teased, My wife took a secret photo of me again. What, can't I take a picture of my own husband? Li Menjiao blinked and retorted coquettishly. Then she stood up, walked to Lin Xuan with some snacks, stretched out her fair little hand, and announced domineeringly, This is my seat, please move aside. When Lin Xuan heard this, he was stunned at first, and then he laughed heartily. Without any hesitation, he picked up Li Menjiao tightly and gently placed her across his legs. To satisfy you? Lin Xuan smiled indulgently and reached out to gently pinch Li Menjiao's pretty nose. Li Menjiao glared at Lin Xuan fiercely, then just lay on him, eating snacks while looking at the computer screen in front of her. She was curious about what file her husband was looking at, but found that she couldn't understand it at all. So he simply continued eating his snacks and fed Lin Xuan from time to time. Husband, your company has moved to Haitian district now. So what about the company in Jinwen district? Li Menjiao suddenly thought of something, stuffed a cherry into Lin Xuan's mouth, and then asked, To set up a branch. Lin Xuan answered while eating. Who cares? Li Menjiao asked. For the time being, Liu Yuxin's father, Liu Wend, is still in charge. As for the new candidate, I want to promote Zhang Zesheng, Lin Xuan said after thinking for a while. It seems that your good brothers are doing well with you, Li Menjiao said with emotion. One runs a popular chain restaurant in Jinghai City, and the other is now preparing to be promoted to general manager of a branch company. Of course, we are good brothers who have experienced ups and downs together. They are all capable people. I will naturally not treat them unfairly if they follow me, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Honey, it seems you have another good brother, Li Menjiao said with a smile. Jingaming, Lin Xuan smiled helplessly. He is still studying for a master's degree. We will make arrangements after he finishes his studies. At the same time, Chen Jingaming was being encouraged by his mentor in the laboratory. Lin Xuan continued to deal with the documents in his hand. Li Menjiao hugged his neck and fell asleep sweetly on him. Her gentle and quiet face looked particularly cute. After a while, Lin Xuan finally finished all the work. He gently picked up Li Menjiao and walked into the luxurious private lounge in the office. He opened the door and walked in cautiously. Li Menjiao, who was originally just sleeping lightly, gradually woke up when she heard the door open. "Honey, have you finished your work?" she asked softly, with a hint of laziness and tenderness in her voice. "We just finished, and I saw that you wanted to sleep, so I wanted to hold you in bed and sleep for a while," Lin Xuan said gently. Li Menjiao looked at the extra-large bed in front of her. The bed looked very comfortable. The soft mattress and warm quilt made her want to lie down on it and give it a try, but she was afraid that her husband had some bad intentions. So she quickly said, "Then let's go straight home." "Don't you want to take a break?" Lin Xuan said with a smile. "No need, you can rest at home." Li Menjiao shook her head gently. "Okay then." Then Lin Xuan carried Li Menjiao out of the lounge and prepared to leave the office. "Hubby, put me down." Li Menjiao shook her long legs and said coquettishly, "Although my husband is the chairman of the board, it would be embarrassing to carry him out like this. Honey, kiss me again and I'll let you go." Lin Xuan showed his signature smile. Li Menjiao glared at Lin Xuan fiercely. But seeing that Lin Xuan was unmoved, there was nothing he could do. She had no choice but to offer her delicate lips. He said he would give her a kiss, but every time he would kiss her until she was out of breath before letting her go. The two returned to the car. Lin Xuan started the car and drove towards the Haitian Yijing villa. Not long after the car started driving, Li Menjiao, who was sitting in the passenger seat, suddenly pointed excitedly at the food street next to her and said with a smile on her face, "Honey, that's the cake stand I mentioned to you last time. Her cakes are super delicious. I didn't expect that she would still be setting up a stall here at noon today." Lin Xuan looked in the direction of her finger and saw a small cake stall. He smiled and asked, "Should we go take a look?" He was also full of curiosity and expectation about the person who could make the cake that Li Menjiao praised so much. "Yeah," Li Menjiao said happily. Then Lin Xuan turned on the turn signal and slowly parked the car next to the food street. After the two got off the car, Li Menjiao affectionately took Lin Xuan's arm and walked towards the cake stand together. When they walked up to the stall owner Zhou Yike greeted them warmly. "Hello, both of you. What kind of cake would you like to order?" Li Menjiao smiled and replied, "Hello, last time I came you said the Black Forest cake was sold out. I wonder if it's available this time." Zhou Yike smiled and said, "It turns out to be you, beautiful lady. What a coincidence, I see you again." Li Menjiao asked in surprise, "Sister, do you still remember me?" Zhou Yike said with a smile, "Of course, my sister is so beautiful that it is hard to forget her once you see her." Li Menjiao smiled happily after hearing this. Chapter 312, Let's Compete. Lin Xuan watched from the side and thought that this little girl was quite sweet-talking and good at business. "We have Black Forest cake today. How many would you like?" Zhou Yike said with a smile. "Give me 2 servings and eat them here," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Okay, wait a moment. You can sit here for a while." Zhou Yike pointed to the small stools and table next to them and enthusiastically invited them to sit down. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao smiled and nodded, then slowly sat down. After a while, 2 exquisite and unique Black Forest cakes were carefully brought up. They lie quietly in the white porcelain plate, exuding an enticing aroma that makes people salivate. "Please enjoy your meal, Tilda," Zhou Yike said softly with a sincere smile on her face. Lin Xuan looked at the Black Forest cake in front of him. The appearance is small and delicate, dome-shaped. The cake body is made of specially made chocolate sponge cake, which has a soft and moist texture and exudes a rich cocoa aroma. In the middle of the cake, there is a layer of cherry jelly with plump and juicy cherry pulp embedded in the jelly. The outer layer of the cake is evenly coated with a layer of delicate chocolate cream frosting, and the surface is smooth and flat. Next, sprinkled chocolate chips all over the buttercream, like fallen leaves in a dark forest. On the top of the cake, there is a cherry carefully made with frosting, which looks lifelike. Finally, a thin, crispy chocolate chip is inserted on one side of the cake, like a mysterious path in the Black Forest. Li Menjiao couldn't wait to pick up the spoon, took a bite, and her eyes instantly curved with smile. Lin Xuan also took a bite, and immediately felt the rich and mellow cocoa flavor of the chocolate sponge cake. The silky, soft, and moist taste instantly spread on the tip of his tongue. Then the sweet and sour taste of cherry jelly jumped out. The juicy and tender cherry flesh and the smooth and chewy jelly set off each other, adding a freshness and liveliness to the rich chocolate. The delicate chocolate buttercream brings a sweet and smooth taste, perfectly blending with the cake and jelly. The sweetness is just right, not overly sweet, yet fully satisfying the desire for sweetness. The chocolate chips rustle in your mouth, releasing the pure chocolate aroma. Lin Xuan nodded with satisfaction, a hint of admiration flashing in his eyes. He looked around and found that it was early in the morning, and there were few people in front of the cake stall. So he turned around and called to Zhou Yike, "Little sister, are you free now?" Hearing Lin Xuan's call, Zhou Yike put down the work in her hands, walked over lightly, brought a small stool, and sat obediently in front of the two of them. She blinked her bright eyes and asked curiously, "Brother, what can I do for you?" Lin Xuan showed a gentle smile and praised, "This Black Forest cake is very delicious. Who did you learn it from?" Zhou Yike smiled slightly with a hint of pride in her eyes. "I learned all this from my mother. My mother used to be an excellent cake maker." Li Menjiao at the side couldn't help but ask, "Sister, why did you choose to set up a stall to sell cakes so early in the morning? Don't you need to go to school?" Zhou Yike's expression darkened slightly when she heard this, and she said in a low voice, "My parents divorced when I was very young. Later, my mother unfortunately suffered a serious car accident a few years ago, which left her lower body paralyzed. My family was in huge debt, so I couldn't continue my education after high school." After hearing this, Li Menjiao was stunned and felt a surge of guilt in her heart. She hurriedly apologized, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked so rashly." Zhou Yike shook her head gently, trying to force out a smile, and comforted her. "It's okay. I have gradually adapted to this kind of life. We all have to face reality bravely." "So that's why you're here selling cakes all day long?" Lin Xuan asked. "Well, the money owed must be repaid. I will try my best no matter what," Zhou Yike said with a firm face. At this time, Li Menjiao felt very sympathetic towards Zhou Yike, and she glanced at Lin Xuan gently. Lin Xuan understood what he meant, and he asked, "How much money can you make in a day by setting up a stall here?" "The income is pretty good, but there are still many people who think that roadside stalls are not very clean, so many customers are lost." Zhou Yike shook his head helplessly. "Have you ever thought about opening a store?" Lin Xuan asked with a smile. "Of course I want to, but the rent of shops here is too high. I can't afford it at all." Zhou Yike sighed, his eyes full of disappointment. "I can sponsor you," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Really, really?" Zhou Yike widened his eyes, his face full of surprise. "But there are conditions," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "What conditions?" Zhou Yike asked impatiently. "I can provide you with a shop, but you must use our signature cake," Lin Xuan said solemnly. "I don't want it," Zhou Yike answered without hesitation. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao were dumbfounded for a moment. They didn't expect Zhou Yike to refuse so firmly. "My mother is the best cake maker in the world. Your signature cake is definitely not as delicious as mine. I might as well just stay at this cake stall," Zhou Yike said proudly. Lin Xuan didn't expect that she had such a strong personality, not greedy for wealth and fame, and sticking to her original intention. This made him more interested in Zhou Yike. "How do you know that the cake I made is not as delicious as yours?" Lin Xuan smiled slightly and asked Zhou Yike. "I see you don't seem to be very good at cooking, and you drove a luxury car here. You must be a rich second generation." Zhou Yike looked Lin Xuan up and down, then said in a low voice. When Li Menjiao heard this, she couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. "In that case, let's have a competition," Lin Xuan suggested with a smile. Chapter 313, Awesome in Every Aspect. "How do you gesture?" Zhou Yike asked curiously. "I'll give you an address. Tomorrow afternoon we'll have a cake baking competition. Whoever makes the best cake will win," Lin Xuan replied with a smile. "If I win, you have to do as I ask and open a shop with our signature cakes." Lin Xuan looked at Zhou Yike firmly and said seriously. "What if you lose?" Zhou Yike asked back unwillingly. "If I lose, I will give you a luxury store for free," Lin Xuan answered without hesitation. "Okay, I can accept this condition." After thinking for a moment, Zhou Yike agreed decisively. "See you tomorrow then." Lin Xuan smiled, then turned and left taking Li Menjiao's hand. At noon, when the two of them finished lunch and were preparing to take a nap, Li Menjiao snuggled in Lin Xuan's arms, looked up at him and asked softly, "Husband, do you really want to compete with her?" "Yeah, what's the matter? Are you afraid your husband won't win?" Lin Xuan had a doting smile on his face and looked down at Li Menjiao tenderly. "No, my husband is the best," Li Menjiao said with admiration. "Oh, then tell me what aspect of your husband is best at?" Lin Xuan deliberately teased her. "Great in every aspect, especially." At this point, Li Menjiao's face turned slightly red, and her voice became smaller and smaller. "Him especially what?" Lin Xuan asked with a smile. "Especially about loving me." Li Menjiao blinked mischievously and said with a smile, "But aren't you destroying her reputation with your own hands?" Li Menjiao suddenly remembered something and asked worriedly, "I just let her use the Xuanmeng cake brand, but I didn't stop her from continuing to make cakes according to her own recipe. By then, it will definitely be as popular as Xuanmeng restaurant," Lin Xuan explained with a smile. "My husband is so great." Li Menjiao raised her head and kissed Lin Xuan lightly on the cheek. Then the two hugged each other tightly and fell into a sweet dream. After waking up from an afternoon nap, Lin Xuan stretched and exercised his body, then went to the kitchen to prepare today's dinner and his wife's birthday cake. He thought of the cake-making recipe that the system had sent him before, and his heart was filled with anticipation. Those recipes use secret ingredients to create top-quality butter and flour, making the cakes taste extremely rich and unique. While thinking, Lin Xuan started to busy himself in the kitchen. "Honey, let me help you." At this time, Li Menjiao walked into the kitchen and wanted to help. "No need, wife. Today is your birthday. Just have a good rest." Lin Xuan stood at the kitchen door and said with a smile, "Okay then." Li Menjiao nodded helplessly, then turned back to the living room and continued to take care of the babies with her mother Huang Shifeng. Time passed by minute, and night fell in the blink of an eye. Ding-dong tilde. Suddenly, the doorbell of the villa rang, breaking the tranquility of the night. Li Menjiao hurried to the door and looked through the camera at the villa's gate. She saw Liu Yuxin driving a car with Yang Lin and Chen Manman and stopping in front of the gate outside the villa. "Yiao, open the door quickly, our good sisters are here." Yang Lin got out of the car, walked to the doorbell and shouted into the intercom. "You are here, Tilda." Li Menjiao excitedly pressed the door opening button. After a while, the doorbell of the villa rang again. Li Menjiao opened the door and hugged him happily. "Ha ha ha, Yiao, do you think we forgot your birthday again?" Liu Yuxin said with a smile. "Yes, we have been holding it in since morning and have not come to see you until now." Yang Lin also echoed. "Yes, Yiao, this is the birthday present we three prepared for you." "Happy birthday, Tilda," Chen Manman said with a smile. "I almost forgot about it this morning. Come in." Li Menjiao smiled. "Hello, Auntie." As soon as they entered the villa, several girls politely greeted Huang Shifeng, who was sitting on the sofa. "Hello, you are all Yiao's college roommates, right?" Huang Shifeng responded with a smile. "Yes, we are Yiao's best friends," Yang Lin said. "Auntie, you look so young," said Chen Manman. Huang Shifeng couldn't help laughing when she heard this. "Auntie is not young at all, she already has 2 grandchildren." Although she said this, she was still very happy when others praised her youth. "Yes, Auntie, we really didn't deceive you," Yang Lin also said. Huang Shifeng looked at the girls in front of her and felt very relieved. She said, "Thank you, children. You young people enjoy yourselves. I will bring you some tea." "Thank you, Auntie." Afterwards, Li Menjiao chatted happily with her sisters in the living room. After a while, Lin Sissy opened the door and walked into the villa. She muttered, finally off work. When she looked up, she saw her sister-in-law and her sisters sitting in the living room. "Let me introduce you. This is my sister-in-law, my husband's younger sister, Lin Sissy," Li Menjiao introduced to everyone enthusiastically. "Wow, what a cute sister," Yang Lin exclaimed. After hearing the compliments, Lin Sissy showed a happy smile on her face and took the initiative to walk forward to greet everyone. "Hello, sisters." As a lively, cheerful, and fun-loving girl, Lin Sissy quickly became close friends with Li Menjiao's sisters. "Sissy, I heard that you are the top scorer in this year's college entrance examination." "That's amazing," Liu Yuxin said enviously. "Sissy, have you also enrolled in Jinghai University? In that case, we will be your senior sisters," Chen Manman said. After hearing this, Lin Sissy's eyes lit up, and she asked excitedly, "Seniors, are there many handsome guys in Jinghai University?" "Dinner is ready," Lin Xuan shouted loudly, and at the same time brought out the last dish and placed it on the table. Everyone came to the restaurant. They couldn't help drooling when they saw today's dinner. There was a big pot of steaming and fragrant mutton spine hot pot on the dining table. The soup in the pot was boiling, exuding a rich aroma, making people salivate. In addition, there are plates of tender and juicy marbled beef rolls, lamb rolls, and crispy and refreshing tripe, with some fresh vegetables on the side. Main dishes include supreme seafood pizza and tomato and shrimp spaghetti bolognese. Let's all sit down and prepare to eat, Huang Shifeng said with a smile. Afterwards, everyone sat together in the restaurant and enjoyed the food. For a moment, the restaurant was filled with laughter and praises. Chapter 314. I hope that the people who love me and the people I love can be happy. After dinner, Lin Xuan, Li Menjiao, Liu Yuxin, Yang Lin, and others sat in the spacious and bright living room to chat. But during this period, no one knew where Lin Sissy went. As time passed, Lin Xuan glanced at his watch, then smiled and said to everyone, "It's almost time, let's go to the yacht together." Hearing this, Li Menjiao couldn't help but squeeze Lin Xuan's hand curiously and asked in a low voice, "Husband, why did you suddenly think of going to the yacht?" Lin Xuan smiled gently and replied, "You will know in a moment." Liu Yuxin, who was standing by, said in surprise, "Boss Lin, I didn't expect you to buy a yacht." Yang Lin said excitedly, "Then we must go and have a good look." "Then let's go." Then Lin Xuan took Li Menjiao by the hand and led them to the luxury yacht Riva on the beach outside the Haitian Yijing villa. Li Menjiao's girlfriends were a little surprised when they saw the yacht, but when they thought that Lin Xuan had even bought a villa worth 200 million yuan, they no longer found it strange. The group went onto the deck, and Lin Xuan took the lead and walked into the living room of the yacht. Then Li Menjiao and her roommates followed in one after another. With a few bangs, colorful confetti fluttered down, like a dreamy rain of flowers. Lin Sissy held the salute in her hand and smiled brightly. "Sister-in-law, happy birthday." Li Menjiao was so surprised that her mouth couldn't close. She looked at the colorful paper flying in the sky above in disbelief. When she turned around and looked around, she saw that the entire yacht living room was beautifully decorated, with colorful balloons hanging on the walls and bright flowers covering the floor. It turned out that Lin Xuan had already carefully planned all of this on the yacht in advance, and prepared this warm and romantic birthday party specifically for Li Menjiao. Just now, he arranged for Lin Sissy to come to the yacht's living room, first to make full preparations for the upcoming surprise. Then Lin Xuan brought out a beautiful cake from the kitchen with a smile on his face. This cake is called Colorful and Romantic Sea of Flowers Cake. The overall design is unique and novel. It is divided into 5 layers and presents the shape of multiple layers of petals, like a blooming flower. The outer layer is light pink cherry blossom cream, and the surface is painted with various blooming flowers with colored chocolate, including roses, tulips, cherry blossoms, lavender, and osmanthus. Each flower represents a layer of the cake, making it a colorful sight. On the top of the cake is a huge bouquet made of top-grade cream and a happy birthday pattern, surrounded by butterflies and bees made of sugar art, which is lively and vivid. There is also a cute little princess doll wearing a Ziyu costume, which adds a bit of liveliness and playfulness. The sides of the cake are inlaid with petals and green leaves made of sugar slices, adding a natural touch. Lin Xuan came to Li Menjiao holding the cake and said with a smile, "Happy birthday, honey." Seeing this, Liu Yuxin and the others gathered around and began to sing the cheerful birthday song in unison. The singing echoed in the living room, filled with warmth and joy. Under the support of the crowd, Li Menjiao smiled, clasped her hands, slowly closed her eyes, and made a silent wish in her heart. "This is the second birthday my husband has celebrated for me. I hope that the people who love me and the people I love can all be happy." She opened her eyes with a gleam of happiness in them, and then she gently blew out the bright candlelight. Lin Xuan stood up, looked at Li Menjiao gently, then picked up the knife and carefully cut the cake. He first handed the piece of cake with the little princess doll on it to Li Menjiao, and then cut a few pieces of cake and distributed them to everyone present. Everyone tasted the cake, and for a moment the room was filled with exclamations and words of praise. "Wow, this cake is so delicious," Liu Yuxin exclaimed. "I declare that this is the most delicious cake I have ever eaten in my life," Chen Manman said excitedly. "Chef Lin, where did you buy this cake? It tastes so good," Yang Lin asked curiously. "You can't buy it, I made it myself." Lin Xuan smiled slightly. She took a light bite of the cake in her hand and was immediately conquered by its delicate taste and rich sweetness. Each layer of the cake has a different flavor. The sweetness of strawberry rose, the freshness of lemon jasmine, the uniqueness of mango cherry blossom, the distinctiveness of blueberry lavender, and the beauty of peach osmanthus. Paired with secret cream and flour, the fusion and collision of different flavors creates an unforgettable taste feast. Above the night sky, the stars are shining brightly, and the moonlight shines on the sea, making the waves sparkle. Everyone sat on the deck of the yacht, savoring the delicious cake and appreciating the beautiful night view of the seaside. The coastline in the distance was looming, and the waves hit the side of the boat, making crisp and pleasant sounds. The sea breeze gently blows on your cheeks, bringing a hint of coolness, making people feel extremely comfortable and pleasant. It was late at night. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao were lying on the soft bed. "Honey, today's cake is more delicious than ever before." Li Menjiao hung on Lin Xuan with a happy smile on her face. "Of course, that little sister will definitely lose in tomorrow's competition." Lin Xuan raised the corners of his mouth and revealed a confident smile. "You are so competitive." Li Menjiao smiled gently and reached out to pinch Lin Xuan's nose. "But I think she is quite pitiful. If possible, we should help her." There was a trace of pity in Li Menjiao's eyes. "Well, she is very strong. Even if we join forces, if she doesn't have her own skills, then no matter how much we help her, it will be useless," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "That's true," Li Menjiao nodded. "Okay, it's getting late. Get ready for bed." Lin Xuan patted Li Menjiao's shoulder gently, indicating that it was time to rest. "I don't want to sleep yet. I haven't rewarded my husband yet." Li Menjiao blinked her beautiful eyes and said with a smile. "Then how does my wife plan to reward me?" Lin Xuan asked curiously with a smile on his lips. "Like this." Li Menjiao suddenly raised her head and took the initiative to kiss Lin Xuan's lips. Lin Xuan felt Li Menjiao's enthusiasm and responded without hesitation. Time quickly came to the next afternoon. Zhou Yike came to the door of Haitian Yajing Villa with the address given by Lin Xuan. She looked up at the luxurious super villa in front of her that looked like a palace, and a look of shock appeared on her face. "I knew they were rich, but I didn't expect them to be so rich." This was beyond her imagination. Standing in front of the door of this extremely luxurious villa, Zhou Yike couldn't help feeling a little nervous and uneasy. Just as she was hesitating whether to ring the doorbell, a voice suddenly came from behind. "Little girl, who are you looking for?" Chapter 315, If you want to learn, I'll teach you. Zhou Yike was startled and turned around quickly, only to see a kind-faced woman looking at her with a smile. The woman was Huang Shifeng. She was wearing simple clothes and looked very amiable. Zhou Yike looked at Huang Shifeng with some surprise, secretly feeling lucky to have met such a friendly person. She took a deep breath and replied politely, "Hello, Auntie. I'm here to see Lin Xuan. He told me the address is here." Huang Shifeng nodded slightly, with a hint of curiosity in his eyes. She looked at Zhou Yike and found that the girl was pretty and very simple. Then she warmly invited Zhou Yike to come in and sit down, and took her into the villa. Along the way, Zhou Yike followed Huang Shifeng carefully, admiring the beautiful scenery of the villa garden and marveling at the luxury and exquisiteness of the villa. Soon, the two arrived at the door of the villa. Huang Shifeng opened the door and took Zhou Yike into the villa. As soon as she entered the villa, Huang Shifeng shouted to the living room, "Lin Xuan, someone is looking for you." Hearing the voice, Lin Xuan stood up from the sofa and said with a smile, "Little sister, you are finally here." Zhou Yike looked at Lin Xuan and asked nervously, "Brother, how are we going to compete?" Lin Xuan smiled and said, "Come with me." After saying that, he took Zhou Yike to the kitchen. After entering the kitchen, Zhou Yike was amazed. This kitchen was even bigger than her own home. Lin Xuan walked to the cooking table and said to Zhou Yike, "I have prepared all the ingredients. Let's have a cake-making competition this time. Whoever makes the best cake will be the winner." Zhou Yike nodded in agreement. Just like that, a wonderful cooking showdown officially kicked off. So the competition begins. Lin Xuan picked up the egg skillfully and tapped it gently. The eggshell broke instantly, and the egg liquid flowed into the bowl as smoothly as silk. Zhou Yike, on the other hand, was not in a hurry. She carefully sifted the flour into another bowl, and every movement seemed so meticulous. As the oven made a ding sound, they both opened the oven door at the same time, took out their cakes and placed them on the table to cool. Finally, in the evening, Lin Xuan and Zhou Yike came to the restaurant respectively carrying two exquisite cakes. The referee is Li Menjiao. First up is Zhou Yike's signature Black Forest cake. Different from the one she sells at her own cake stall, this one has obviously richer ingredients and decorations. Time passed minute by minute, and finally when the cake cooled down completely, the two began to decorate the cake. Lin Xuan carefully spread the fresh cream on the surface of the cake, then decorated it with fresh fruit slices, and finally sprinkled it with a layer of powdered sugar. Zhou Yi also skillfully used a piping bag to squeeze out beautiful cream flowers, and placed a few attractive strawberries on them. Finally, in the evening, Lin Xuan and Zhou Yike came to the restaurant respectively carrying two exquisite cakes. The referee was Li Menjiao, who was sitting at the dining table with a peaceful smile on her face. The first thing served was Zhou Yike's signature Black Forest cake. This cake was different from the ones she usually sold at the cake stall. It was not only bigger in size, but also had richer ingredients and decorations. Li Menjiao gently picked up the small fork, picked up a small piece of Black Forest cake, put it into her mouth, and tasted it carefully. I forked a piece of Black Forest cake and put it in my mouth, and immediately a rich, mellow, and rich chocolate cream, silky and sweet, filled my entire mouth in an instant. There are cherry pulp hidden in the middle of the cake, which brings a refreshing sweet and sour taste, and perfectly balances the richness of the chocolate. Beautiful sister, how does it taste? Zhou Yike asked nervously. Wow, it's delicious, Li Menjiao couldn't help but exclaimed. Hearing this, Zhou Yike's nervous heart finally relaxed a little, and she smiled happily. Hey, thank you for the compliment. Then Lin Xuan smiled and said to Li Menjiao, Wife, come and try the cake I made. He pushed the cake he had carefully made in front of Li Menjiao. Lin Xuan's cake is called Dream Forest Paradise Cake. The cake is cone-shaped and divided into 4 layers, like a mysterious hill. The top of the cake is a delicate cabin made of fondant, surrounded by small animals made of sugar art. The outer layer is a light green matcha cream, simulating the texture of grass. The surface is painted with chocolate to create trees, flowers, and plants in various shapes, making them lifelike. On the side of the cake, insert colorful mushrooms and butterflies made of sugar slices to add a fairy tale atmosphere. Finally, use colorful sugar beads to form a winding path at the bottom of the cake, as if leading to the depths of a mysterious forest. Judging from the appearance alone, the cake made by Lin Xuan has already won. But to really determine the winner, you need to taste it. Li Menjiao picked up another piece of cake with the fork and put it into her mouth. Her beautiful eyes instantly curved into crescents, and a sweet smile filled her face. She winked at Lin Xuan, then said solemnly to the two of them, Both cakes are very delicious, and I really can't tell which one is better. However, you can try each other's work, and maybe you can find the answer. After all, Li Menjiao was biased as a referee, so she decided to let Lin Xuan and Zhou Yike taste each other's cakes. Lin Xuan smiled and said to Zhou Yike, Little sister, you go first. Okay, I'll try it first. Zhou Yike picked up the fork without hesitation, picked up a piece of Dream Forest Paradise Cake, and put it into her mouth. In an instant, the perfect combination of various fruits and floral scents made her feel an unprecedented taste impact. First, the sweetness of strawberry rose, the freshness of lemon jasmine, the uniqueness of mango lily, the distinctiveness of blueberry lavender, and the beauty of peach osmanthus all stimulated her taste buds. In addition, the cream made by Lin Xuan is more rich and sweet, with a delicate and silky taste, giving people an intoxicated feeling. The wonderful feeling made her close her eyes involuntarily and enjoy the beauty of this moment. She opened her eyes wide, her eyes filled with shock and disbelief, as if she had seen the most magical thing in the world. Why does such a delicious cake exist? Zhou Yike couldn't help but pick up a piece of the cake she made and taste it again, but this time she was silent for a long time. After a long while, she sighed deeply, with a hint of helplessness and unwillingness in her tone. I lost. Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao smiled at each other. Brother, how did you do it? Zhou Yike asked curiously and excitedly. Want to learn? If you want to learn, I can teach you, Lin Xuan said with a smile. In the end, Zhou Yike accepted defeat and agreed to the conditions proposed by Lin Xuan. In the living room of the villa, Li Menjiao looked at the lovely girl in front of her with a smile and asked softly, Little sister, I don't know your name yet. Zhou Yike replied obediently, Beautiful sister, my name is Zhou Yike. It means pleasant and Qi means lovely. It's a nice name, don't call me beautiful sister. My name is Li Menjiao. You can call me Sister Menjiao, Li Menjiao said with a smile. Okay, Sister Menjiao, Zhou Yike smiled slightly. Chapter 316, Dabo can call Dad. Yike, it's so late, let's have dinner here. Li Menjiao invited enthusiastically. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Sister Menjiao, but I have to go home quickly. My mother is still waiting for me to go back home to cook. She is not very mobile, Zhou Yike said with some embarrassment. At this time, Lin Xuan came out of the kitchen and said to her with a smile, The food will be ready soon, Yike. You can stay and have dinner with us. After all, you will be my employee in the future. I will pack a portion for your mother later. After hearing what Lin Xuan said, Zhou Yike couldn't refuse anymore, so she nodded and agreed. Okay then, thank you so much for troubling you. Soon, Lin Xuan brought the prepared meal to the table, and everyone sat around it and began to enjoy dinner. After dinner, Lin Xuan drove and sent Zhou Yike back home with Li Menjiao. In the car, Lin Xuan said to Zhou Yike, Yike, I will help you find a suitable shop in a few days. You must run it carefully at that time. As long as the business is good, everyone can make money. Yes, okay, brother Lin Xuan, I will definitely work hard, Zhou Yike replied confidently. After a while, Lin Xuan drove the car to an old house. I'm here, thank you, Zhou Yike said. You're welcome, please contact me if you have any difficulties. Lin Xuan said with a smile. Okay, Zhou Yike replied gratefully. Afterwards, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao drove away. Next, Lin Xuan reserved a shop downstairs in Xuanmeng building to open Xuanmeng Cake Shop, which is expected to open in early September. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, several days have passed, and now it is the 7th month after the babies were born. This morning, the scent of autumn is getting stronger. After getting up in the morning, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao played with the babies on the bed. At this moment, Dabao and Zaya Abao have learned to sit up on their own. Their crawling skills have become more and more proficient, and they are full of strong curiosity and desire to explore the things around them. Dabao often climbed onto Lin Xuan, sat comfortably on his belly, and smiled happily. In comparison, Zaya Abao prefers to stick to Li Menjiao. This afternoon, Lin Xuan specially prepared chicken puree complimentary food for the babies. This is the first time the babies have tasted meat. I saw Dabao sitting obediently on the cute children's chair, with a small bowl of brightly colored, tender and juicy chicken puree in front of him. Her little hands danced with the spoon excitedly, and she couldn't wait to grab the tempting delicacy in her hands. Ha ha ha, don't worry, let Daddy help you. Lin Xuan took the small spoon from Dabao's hand with a smile, scooped up a small spoonful, blew gently, and then gently put it into her little mouth. Dabao had chicken paste in his mouth. His little face was chubby, like a little hamster, and he looked satisfied and happy. At the same time, she was babbling some cute sounds. Suddenly, a clear baba popped out of that little mouth. Lin Xuan was stunned for a moment. He widened his eyes and looked at Dabao in his arms with surprise. Dabao, what did you just say? Say it again. Lin Xuan was so excited that he picked up Dabao and couldn't wait to confirm it again. Daddy? Dabao opened his little mouth, revealing his gums which had not yet grown all the teeth, and continued to speak with a smile. Lin Xuan's heart melted instantly. He hugged Dabao and kissed her hard on her pink cheek. Wife, did you hear that? Dabao can call Daddy now. Lin Xuan turned around excitedly and shouted to Li Menjiao. Really? Li Menjiao put down what she was doing, walked quickly to Lin Xuan with joy flashing in her eyes. Dabao, can you call me Mommy? Mommy Tilda. Li Menjiao gently picked up Dabao and looked at her with gentle and expectant eyes. Mama. Dabao blinked his big eyes and called out in a baby voice, imitating Li Menjiao's pronunciation. Honey, Dabao can also call me Mommy now. Li Menjiao was so happy that her face was filled with a happy smile. They had waited for this day for too long. What about Zaya Abao? Can Zaya Abao do it? Lin Xuan asked. I'll go and get him. Li Menjiao first put the eldest child back on the child's chair, and then picked up the youngest child. Zaya Abao, come here and call Mommy Tilda. Li Menjiao guided Zaya Abao gently, her eyes full of expectation and care. However, Zaya Abao just stared at her stupidly, babbling non-stop. He could occasionally make his mother's lip movements, but no sound came out. Haha, it seems that Zaya Abao still needs some time to learn it. Li Menjiao smiled helplessly, her eyes still full of love. It's okay, maybe it will be possible soon, Lin Xuan said with a smile. At this moment, the system's voice sounded again in Lin Xuan's mind. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for completing 7 months of accompanying the babies. A set of golden autumn glorious amber jewelry as a reward. The system will deliver it in a week. Please check it. Lin Xuan felt a little curious. Why did the system send jewelry again? In addition, this set of jewelry is a unique treasure in the world, and its design, style, and color matching are very suitable for the autumn season, said the system. After hearing this, Lin Xuan quickly opened his phone and looked at the calendar, then smiled. The system is so sensible. That afternoon, Li Menjiao received a notice from the school that all new teachers would go to Haitian District, number 1 primary school for a meeting the next day. So the next morning, in order not to attract attention, she drove her Xiaomi SU7 to the school's conference room. Yao, here. Li Huiru stood up and waved vigorously towards Li Menjiao. Li Menjiao saw Li Huiru and Zhang Kiki sitting together with an empty seat in the middle. Huiru, Chi, good morning. Li Menjiao walked up to them, greeted them with a smile, and then sat in the empty seat. Yaya, we haven't seen each other for a while, Li Huiru said. Yes, what have you been doing recently? Zhang Kiki also asked. I went back to my husband's hometown and then stayed at home to take care of the kids. How about you guys? Is it fun to go out and travel? Li Menjiao said with a smile. Haha, it's really fun. It's a pity that you have to take care of the children, otherwise we would definitely ask you to go with us, Li Huiru said. It doesn't matter. There will be a chance when the child grows up. Li Menjiao smiled gently. Oh, I have to prepare for work when I get back. I really hope I can rest for a few more days. Zhang Kiki sighed. Hey, it looks like the meeting is about to start. Li Menjiao reminded everyone. Chapter 317. I'm going to leave my husband for a while. At this time, an elderly woman slowly walked up to the podium, holding a black microphone in her hand, and her eyes scanned everyone in the audience. Then she gently raised the receiver to her lips and said in a firm but gentle voice, "Everyone, please be quiet. We will now formally hold the induction meeting for the new teachers and staff of the first primary school in Haitian District, Jinghai City." The audience fell silent instantly, and everyone stared intently at the beautiful and elegant woman on the stage. "Hello, everyone. I am Wen Bixia, the principal of the first primary school of Haitian District, Jinghai City. I am very happy to meet you here, and I am also very happy to see so many new colleagues coming." Then, Principal Wen introduced in detail the basic information of the school's history, culture, and educational philosophy, and emphasized the school's emphasis on the professional development of teachers. Finally, she said, "In order to help you adapt to the school's teaching work more quickly, the school will arrange for you to go to Kangning City in the neighboring province for 2 weeks of school training. Please be prepared." Hearing this, Li Menjiao's heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Doesn't that mean I will be separated from my husband for half a month? Thinking of this, she couldn't help feeling a little lost. However, Li Huaru and Zheng Kiki, who were sitting next to them, seemed particularly excited. To them, this was just another journey. Li Huaru's eyes lit up, and she said excitedly, "Hey, I heard that the hot pot in Corning City is especially delicious." Zheng Kiki also echoed excitedly. "Also, I heard that the autumn in Corning is especially beautiful." After the meeting, the three of them went to the school parking lot together. "See you tomorrow, Yayayo." Li Huaru and Zheng Kiki waved. "Okay, see you tomorrow." Li Menjiao responded to them with a smile, then opened the car door and got in, started the car and slowly drove out of the campus towards Haitian Yijing. After a while, we arrived at our destination. When she got home, Li Menjiao smelled the fragrance of food as soon as she entered the door. After she changed into her slippers, she couldn't wait to go to the kitchen. Lin Xuan was busy cooking in the kitchen. He was wearing a loose home suit and his hair was a little messy, but he still looked handsome and charming. Hearing footsteps, he looked back and found that it was Li Menjiao who came in. A gentle smile appeared on his face. "Huh, my wife is back." "Yeah, just got back," Li Menjiao answered softly, then walked behind Lin Xuan, stretched out her arms and gently hugged his waist, put her face against his broad back, and felt his body temperature and breath. Lin Xuan felt the softness on his back, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. He put down the shovel in his hand, turned around and hugged Li Menjiao tightly in his arms, lowered his head and pecked her lips lightly, and asked softly, "What's wrong? Do you miss me?" Li Menjiao smiled and nodded and said, "Yes, I just miss you." After saying that, she stood on tiptoe and kissed Lin Xuan's lips again. This time, her kiss became passionate and lingering, and Lin Xuan couldn't help but indulge in it. After a while, Lin Xuan let go of Li Menjiao's lips, touched her head lovingly, and said with a smile, "My dear, you must be hungry. Let's wash our hands and eat." "Okay, Tilda." Li Menjiao smiled slightly. At this time, Lin Xuan vaguely felt that his wife seemed to be a little depressed. When he was about to ask, Li Menjiao had already washed her hands and brought out the lunch dishes one by one. After lunch, Lin Xuan and Li Menjiao returned to the big bed in the master bedroom to rest. Lin Xuan held Li Menjiao tightly in his arms, feeling her soft body, while Li Menjiao quietly rested her little head on Lin Xuan's chest. "Honey, I want to tell you something," Li Menjiao suddenly said. Lin Xuan gently stroked Li Menjiao's hair with a gentle smile on his face. What's the matter, baby?" "It's just," Li Menjiao paused for a moment, as if she was hesitating about how to express her thoughts. "It's just that I'm going to be away from my husband for a while." Hearing this, Lin Xuan couldn't help but be stunned for a moment, and then asked in surprise, "What's going on?" Li Menjiao lowered her head, fiddling with the corner of Lin Xuan's clothes with her hands, and whispered, "The school has organized us new teachers to go to Kangning City in another province for training. The time is about 2 weeks. Is my wife feeling a little depressed because of this?" Lin Xuan said gently. "Yes, this way I won't be able to see my husband for half a month." Li Menjiao raised her head with a look of grievance and looked into Lin Xuan's eyes. Lin Xuan couldn't help laughing, pinched Li Menjiao's nose, and said with a smile, "I thought it was something else." When Li Menjiao heard this, she was immediately unhappy. She pouted and protested, "It's a big deal. Doesn't my husband want to see me every day?" "Of course I do. How about this? My husband will study with you." Lin Xuan smiled softly. Hearing this, Li Menjiao couldn't help but burst out laughing. I've heard of parents accompanying their children to study, but I've never heard of husbands accompanying their children to study. When are we going? Lin Xuan hugged Li Menjiao tighter. Well, tomorrow morning, Li Menjiao said softly. Lin Xuan nodded, and he lowered his head again to kiss Li Menjiao's delicate cheek, feeling the softness and delicateness of her skin. Then I'll find time to come and see you then, Lin Xuan whispered. Li Menjiao squinted her eyes and enjoyed Lin Xuan's kiss. In the following time, Li Menjiao kept sticking to Lin Xuan. After waking up, the two of them took care of the cute baby together and took the baby for a walk in the villa garden. They also went to the game room on the basement floor of the villa to play together. In the evening, they took a leisurely walk hand in hand on the beach, enjoying the beautiful sunset. Soon night fell and it was time to go to bed. Li Menjiao started packing her luggage, and Lin Xuan helped. She folded her clothes one by one and put them into the suitcase, while Lin Xuan was responsible for organizing other items. The two of them had a perfect understanding of each other. How are we going to get to Corning City tomorrow? Lin Xuan asked. Let's take the high-speed train together tomorrow, Li Menjiao answered casually while packing her clothes. Won't that mean we have to sit for a long time? Lin Xuan said. I looked at the schedule. It will probably take about 6 hours. As Li Menjiao spoke, she continued to look for the clothes she needed in the closet. It takes so long, why don't we take a plane together? Lin Xuan suggested. No need. I can't ask for special treatment right away. Besides, Li Huaru and Zheng Kiki have been accompanying me along the way. Li Menjiao took out a pair of jeans from the closet and put it on the suitcase, then came to Lin Xuan, raised her head and kissed him. Honey, please help me fold the clothes, Li Menjiao said in a soft voice. Lin Xuan nodded lovingly, folding clothes while checking the weather conditions in Corning City on his phone. Wife, the weather in Corning seems to be colder than here. You must keep warm and remember to wear more clothes, Lin Xuan reminded with concern. I know, I brought a thick coat, Li Menjiao replied with a smile. When turning off the lights and going to bed at night, Li Menjiao hugged Lin Xuan tightly, with her soft body pressed against his. Lin Xuan felt her warmth and fragrance, but at the same time he also felt her little hands moving around on his body. Wife, what do you want to do? Lin Xuan grabbed her mischievous little hand, his voice low and magnetic. What do you think? Li Menjiao looked at him with a smile, her voice full of teasing. You have a business trip tomorrow, so go to bed early, Lin Xuan said. But I don't want to sleep, Li Menjiao said coquettishly. That's what you said. Then the man's hot lips pressed down. Chapter 318, I'm thinking of you. The next morning, Lin Xuan rubbed his eyes and opened them blearily. He saw Li Menjiao sitting in front of the dressing table and starting to put on simple makeup. He asked softly, Wife, what time do we leave? Li Menjiao smiled and replied, Hubby, you're awake. The high-speed train won't start running for another 2 hours. Lin Xuan nodded, then sat up from the bed, stretched and said, Then I'll get up too. After saying that, he quickly put on his clothes and went into the kitchen to prepare a loving breakfast for Li Menjiao. An hour later, Lin Xuan returned to the master bedroom and whispered, Wife, breakfast is ready. After hearing the sound, Li Menjiao turned around and showed a gentle smile, but then made a quiet gesture and said in a low voice, SHH till the babies are still sleeping. Lin Xuan immediately understood what she meant. He walked to the bedside with light steps and stood quietly beside Li Menjiao. Li Menjiao looked at Dabo and Xiaobo tenderly, her eyes full of love. She gently stroked the children's cheeks and murmured to herself, Mom is going to be out for a while, babies. You must listen to Daddy, and remember to think of me. At this time, the babies still have their eyes closed, quietly immersed in dreams. Li Menjiao picked up Dabo and Xiaobo respectively, and gently kissed their tender little faces. Finally, Li Menjiao took Lin Xuan's hand, slowly walked out of the room, and went downstairs to have breakfast together. Wife, you are dressed like a professional woman today. Lin Xuan looked at Li Menjiao and smiled. She looked completely different from her previous pure style, wearing a simple yet elegant white cotton slim long-sleeved t-shirt and a pair of light blue straight high-waist jeans. The trouser legs were slightly rolled up, revealing her white and slender ankles. She wore an exquisite brown leather belt around her waist, outlining her slim waist. Finally, put on a short beige coat, which is both warm and adds a touch of fashion. This outfit makes Li Menjiao look capable and neat, exuding a unique charm. Does it look good? I wore it this way on purpose. When Li Menjiao heard Lin Xuan's praise, a happy smile appeared on her face. My wife looks good in whatever she wears. Lin Xuan replied with love in his eyes. Men who praise their wives are the best. After hearing what Lin Xuan said, Li Menjiao felt happy and looked up and kissed Lin Xuan gently. Okay, let's have breakfast, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Then the two of them went to the living room to enjoy an exquisite, loving breakfast together. After breakfast, Lin Xuan carefully placed Li Menjiao's suitcase in the trunk of the Honky Goya, and then the two got into the car. Lin Xuan started the car, slowly drove out of the garage, and headed towards the Jinghai High-Speed Railway Station. About half an hour later, we arrived at Jinghai High-Speed Railway Station. "Honey, help me fasten my seat belt." Li Menjiao looked at Lin Xuan with a charming smile. Lin Xuan smiled slightly after hearing this. He moved closer, first unbuckled the passenger seat belt, then raised his head and stared deeply at Li Menjiao. Li Menjiao also looked at Lin Xuan with eyes full of love and attachment. Then, she gently stretched out her little hand, hugged the man's neck tightly, and took the initiative to offer her sweet lips. After kissing for an unknown amount of time, they both got out of the car. Lin Xuan opened the trunk of the car, took out the suitcase inside, and handed it to Li Menjiao. "Honey, I'm leaving. Remember to video call me every day." Li Menjiao hugged Lin Xuan tightly and said with a smile, "Yes, I will," Lin Xuan replied softly. Afterwards, Li Menjiao slowly loosened her hand, turned around, and walked towards the high-speed rail station with light steps. At this time, Li Huaru and Zheng Kiki were already waiting for her at the door. When they saw Li Menjiao, they excitedly waved and greeted her. "Yayao, over here." When she came closer, Li Huaru smiled and teased. "I saw you and your husband hugging from a distance." "Yeah, haha, it's only half a month, not half a year." Zheng Kiki also joked. "Hey, you two, stop making fun of me." Li Menjiao blushed. Lin Xuan saw Li Menjiao and her colleagues walk into the high-speed rail station, then returned to the car, started the car, and left. Li Menjiao, Li Huaru, and Zheng Kiki got on the high-speed train chatting and laughing, and found their seats and sat down. They sat next to each other and chattered about their plans for the trip all the way. Li Menjiao held her chin with one hand, looking at the scenery outside the window, her thoughts gradually drifting away. The sunlight shone through the car window onto her face, highlighting her beautiful outline. "Yiayo, is there any place you want to play?" Zheng Kiki saw that Li Menjiao seemed to be distracted, and couldn't help but pat her on the shoulder and asked softly. Li Menjiao came back to her senses and replied with a smile, "I'm fine with it. I'll just go with you guys when the time comes." "I see Yiayo is still thinking about your husband," Li Huaru suddenly interjected, with a teasing tone in her voice. "Of course I do," Li Menjiao admitted with a blushing face. "By the way, Yiayo, I calculated that you seemed to be pregnant before you graduated from college," Zheng Kiki said with a gossipy look on her face. Yes, tell us quickly, how did you meet your husband?" Li Huaru asked impatiently. "That is..." Li Menjiao then made up a romantic story for her two gossipy colleagues. The train continued to move forward. The scenery outside the window kept changing, and Li Menjiao took out her mobile phone and sent a message to her husband. "Honey, what are you doing?" Soon, there was a reply on her phone. "I was thinking about you." Chapter 319, checking on her shortly after leaving. After seeing this message, Li Menjiao's mouth corners slightly raised, revealing a faint smile. Her fingers danced lightly on the phone screen and she quickly typed a few words. "Where do you miss me?" The other party immediately replied, "I want everything, especially your little mouth." Li Menjiao's face flushed and she quickly sent another message, "Shameless." Then she asked, "What is your husband doing now?" The other party immediately replied, "I am in the office now." After leaving the high-speed rail station, Lin Xuan went directly to Xuanmeng Building. At this moment, he was lying comfortably in the comfortable and spacious chairman's office chair, playing with his mobile phone leisurely. Li Menjiao replied, "Then take a selfie and send it to me." Lin Xuan asked in confusion, "What is my wife doing? Are you checking up on me shortly after I left?" Li Menjiao said coquettishly, "Humph, I'm just checking up on you, send it quickly." Lin Xuan smiled helplessly and then sent a photo. Li Menjiao couldn't wait to click on the photo and was stunned for a moment. In the photo, Lin Xuan pressed his face tightly against the phone screen and took this funny photo. His face almost took up the entire screen of the phone, making people laugh. "My husband is so ugly." Li Menjiao looked at the photo sent by Lin Xuan and couldn't help laughing out loud, then sent this sentence out and attached a disgusted emoticon. When Lin Xuan saw the message, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. "Wife, send me a selfie too." Li Menjiao replied coquettishly, "What are you doing? It's always the wife who checks on the husband, never the husband who checks on the wife." At the same time, it was accompanied by a proud little expression. Seeing this, Lin Xuan quickly sent a voice message. "I just want to see a photo of my wife, is that not okay?" Then he made another pitiful expression. Not long after, Lin Xuan's cell phone beeped. He opened it and saw a photo on the screen. That was a selfie of Li Menjiao sitting on a high-speed rail chair. She leaned quietly against the window with a sweet smile on her face, and behind her was the scenery outside the train rapidly receding. Lin Xuan was so engrossed in the scene, his eyes full of love, that he immediately replied with an emoticon that said, "I love you, kiss you." Li Menjiao then shyly replied with a pa emoticon. At this moment, Li Huaru suddenly asked, "Yaya, what are you laughing at? You are laughing so happily." Li Menjiao came back to her senses, put away her phone in a panic, and said calmly, "Nothing, where were we just talking about?" Zheng Kiki was speechless. "Ah, it seems you didn't hear a word I just said, Yayo." Seeing that his wife stopped sending messages, Lin Xuan turned off his phone and began to browse files on his computer carefully. An hour passed in a flash, and at this moment there was a slight knock on the door. "Please come in." Lin Xuan raised his head and looked towards the door calmly. Liu Wend pushed open the door and walked into the office. "Mr. Lin." Liu Wend walked up to Lin Xuan and addressed him respectfully. "Mr. Liu, is there anything I can help you with?" Lin Xuan got up and went to the living room to entertain Liu Wend and made him a cup of tea. Liu Wend took the teacup, took a sip, then put it down and said solemnly, "Director Lin, I want to discuss with you the selection of company executives." Lin Xuan nodded slightly, then asked, "Are you talking about the candidates for general manager of the branches in Haitian District and Jinwen District?" Liu Wend nodded and responded, "Yes." Lin Xuan looked at Liu Wend and asked, "So who are the suitable candidates now?" Liu Wend introduced in detail. At present, Marketing Manager Lu Hanwen, R&D Manager Zhang Zesheng, General Affairs Manager Liu Xiang, and Finance Manager Wang Zhezhang are all likely to be qualified for this position. In addition, even Lin Xuan didn't have a very deep impression of the people mentioned later, so they could basically be passed over. "Mr. Liu, what do you think of Lu Hanwen and Zhang Zesheng?" Lin Xuan said with a smile. "I think they are the first choices. They are not only young and promising, but also full of courage." Liu Wend answered without hesitation. "Very good, then it has been preliminarily confirmed that it is these two. I will find time to meet with them in the next few days," Lin Xuan said with a smile. Time quickly came to the time to get off work at noon. Lin Xuan walked out of the office and took the elevator directly to the door of the R&D department office on the 10th floor. At this moment, the employees of the R&D department just walked out of the office and were preparing to go downstairs to the company's Sea View restaurant for lunch. However, when they saw Lin Xuan walking out of the elevator, they were stunned for a moment and dared not move forward. Lin Xuan looked at the surprised expressions of these employees and couldn't help feeling a little confused. The corners of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a warm smile, and he said softly, "Am I so scary? It's time to get off work now, you guys should go eat." After hearing Lin Xuan's gentle words, everyone came back to their senses as if awakened from a dream. They expressed their gratitude and greetings to Lin Xuan one after another, then carefully walked around Lin Xuan and entered the elevator. Some people even choose to go down the stairs next to it. Lin Xuan smiled helplessly, then walked into the R&D manager's office. Pushing open the door, Lin Xuan saw Zhang Zesheng still sitting in front of the computer, busy working with concentration. He whistled softly, then said with a smile, "It's time to get off work, Manager Zhang." Zhang Zesheng looked up after hearing the voice. The frown on his face instantly relaxed, and a bright smile appeared on his face. He responded enthusiastically, "Director Lin, why are you here? I still have some work to do." Lin Xuan walked up to him and put a hand on his shoulder, just like when they were in college, and smiled. "I came to have dinner with you." "Okay, let's go, Zhang Zesheng said happily. But the next moment he suddenly realized that something seemed wrong. He stopped immediately, stared at Lin Xuan suspiciously, and asked, "That's not right. Don't you usually go home to have dinner with your wife? Why today?" "My wife is on a business trip," Lin Xuan explained with a smile. Zhang Zesheng suddenly realized, curled his lips, and said dissatisfiedly, "See, I knew it, wasting my expression. Take your hands away, I won't go." Seeing this, Lin Xuan's face darkened and suddenly became serious. He said to Zhang Zesheng solemnly, "I now order you as the chairman of the board to come with me for dinner. Alas, till to a higher-ranking official can crush people to death." Zhang Zesheng couldn't help but sigh and shook his head helplessly. Lin Xuan also laughed and joked, "What do you mean by one grade higher? I am several grades higher than you. Stop talking nonsense and let's go find Quaner." Afterwards, the two drove to Xuanmeng restaurant separately. "Hey, Brother Xuan, Brother Sheng, why are you all here?" When Zhou Quan saw Lin Xuan and Zhang Zesheng, a surprised smile appeared on his face, and he hurried forward to greet them. "I'm here to take care of your business." Zhang Zesheng replied with a smile. That's right, why don't you come to my place less often? Don't I treat you every time? Of course, Brother Xuan is the boss and doesn't charge money, but Brother Sheng, you are not, Zhou Quan said jokingly. Stop talking nonsense and bring up the delicious dishes, Zhang Zesheng urged. Chapter 320, Xiaobo can also call Mom and Dad. So the three of them walked into the restaurant's private room together, ready to enjoy a sumptuous lunch. Brother Xuan, aren't you going home for lunch today? Zhou Quan asked Lin Xuan curiously. His sister-in-law went on a business trip, haha, Zhang Zesheng answered quickly. I was wondering why you suddenly thought of us, Zhou Quan said with sudden realization. Faced with his roommate's teasing, Lin Xuan could only roll his eyes speechlessly and continue eating. At this moment, Lin Xuan's cell phone rang. When he opened it, it was a message from his wife. Honey, have you eaten? Li Menjiao's profile picture flashed, accompanied by a warm greeting. I'm eating, Lin Xuan replied with a smile, then gently pressed the shutter button to take a photo of the sumptuous food in front of him and sent it to Li Menjiao, and then sent a message. Wife, have you eaten? Li Menjiao clicked on the picture, and what came into her eyes was the delicious food from her favorite Xuanmeng restaurant. Then, looking at my simple lunchbox on the high-speed train, I suddenly felt it was boring. I want to eat too. Li Menjiao sent a pitiful expression. We can eat when my wife comes back, Lin Xuan replied gently. At the same time, Zhou Quan suddenly asked, By the way, Brother Sheng, what is Brother Jingaming doing recently? Zhang Zesheng smiled and replied, What else can I do? I'll just work for my tutor at school. I haven't met him for a long time. Let's take a photo together and send it to him. Lin Xuan put down his phone and said with a smile. That's a good idea, Zhou Quan said excitedly. So the three of them got together, smiled brightly at the camera, and took a group photo. They posted this photo to the 622 roommate group and also tagged Chen Jingaming. Not long after, Chen Jingaming threw out an emoticon, an exploding bomb. Damn it, you three cheated on me without even calling me. In the afternoon, Lin Xuan returned to Haitian Yijing Villa for a nap. At this time, Zhang Xulan also rushed back from Yunhai City and took care of the babies with Huang Shifeng. After Lin Xuan woke up, he played with the babies on the sofa in the living room. At this moment, the phone rang suddenly. It was a message from Li Menjiao. Honey, I'm in Corning City. Then a photo came into view. She was standing elegantly at the entrance of Corning High-Speed Railway Station, smiling brightly. Lin Xuan started recording a video. In the picture, he was teasing Dabo and Xiaobo, making them laugh happily, and whispered, Wife, I am playing with the babies. Then he sent the video to Li Menjiao. Not long after, Li Menjiao replied with a voice message, her voice full of expectation. Did the babies miss me? Lin Xuan smiled and replied, Not yet. Li Menjiao said with some disappointment, why doesn't the baby miss mommy? Lin Xuan consoled him. Ha ha ha, the babies are still young and may not realize it yet. Okay then, I'll continue on the bus and video chat with my husband in the evening. After saying this, Li Menjiao boarded the bus to her destination. As night falls and the lights come on, it is evening in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Xiaobo suddenly realized that he hadn't seen his mother for the whole day. His little mouth pouted and he burst into tears. When Xiaobo started crying, Dabo was also infected and started crying too. Oh babies, don't cry. Daddy is still here with you. Lin Xuan picked up the two babies with heartache and coaxed them softly. But no matter how they were comforted, the two little ones still kept crying. Lin Xuan had no choice but to take out his cell phone and make a video call to Li Menjiao. Soon, Li Menjiao's beautiful face appeared on the phone screen. Honey, what's wrong? At this moment, Li Menjiao was enjoying dinner with her colleagues. Wife, the babies miss you, Lin Xuan said helplessly. Let me see my babies, Li Menjiao said anxiously. Then Lin Xuan turned the camera to Dabo and Xiaobo and saw two cute little faces each occupying half of the phone screen. Baby, why are you crying? I'm your mother Tilda, Li Menjiao comforted with a gentle smile. Dabo and Xiaobo stopped crying immediately when they saw their mother's kind and familiar face. They raised their hands to touch the phone, wanting Li Menjiao to hug them. Mama Tilda, Dabo called out first. Then Xiaobo, who originally couldn't yell, imitated his sister and yelled in a baby voice, Mama Tilda. Li Menjiao heard the children's tender cries through the screen, and her heart melted, as if all her fatigue was swept away. She responded gently, Baby, Mom will be back soon, you have to be good and obedient. From then on, Xiaobo also started to call Dad and Mom. When the babies are asleep at night, Li Menjiao would use the screen of her mobile phone to whisper to them and coax them to sleep. Lin Xuan looked at his wife on the phone screen, his eyes full of love. Wife, you have worked hard, take a good rest. Li Menjiao nodded slightly, showing a sweet smile, and responded, "Okay, husband, you have to take care of yourself too." Afterwards, the two ended the video call. Lin Xuan slowly walked into the bathroom, enjoying the comfort brought by the hot water. After taking a shower, he lay on the bed, but found that the familiar soft body was missing beside him, and he felt a little uncomfortable. At the same time, Li Menjiao, who was in another place, was in the same situation. She could not sleep comfortably without her husband's presence, so the two of them tossed and turned in bed. The next day, after getting up and having breakfast, Lin Xuan drove his honky Goya to Xuanmeng building. He went to the chairman's office on the top floor and began to process company documents. An hour later, the document was almost processed. Lin Xuan picked up his phone and made a call. "Zesheng, come to my office now, I have something to tell you." Not long after, there was a knock on the door, and Zhang Zesheng pushed the door open and walked in. Lin Xuan smiled and pointed to the sofa opposite him, saying, "Zesheng, come and sit down." Then he personally brewed a pot of tea, brought it to the coffee table, and poured out